Hey, what's up, everybody? We're gonna go ahead and dive into this panel. I was watching IRI. Somebody mentioned it. Sounded interesting, so I figure we'll give it a watch.
Let's go. Welcome.
Here we go.
Okay. Welcome, one and all, to yet another episode of WhickTV. It's a cross-ideological space where we come together to talk about issues both political and cultural, from the silly to the serious. And today we have a very special guest with us, Kraut, from the YouTube of the same name. Kraut the Parrot, I think it is. I have it in my fucking stream settings, so you can check it out. And you should. His essays are marvelous. He does a great rundown of history and politics in the European Union and Europe in general. And you should really go kind of give him a listen. But today, we're going to be talking about the far left. We're going to be talking about their effect on the discourse. We're going to be talking about their effect on liberalism in general, whether or not liberals should be allying ourselves with the left. To what extent? Where can we work with them, and where should we not work with them, if any place such exists? We got Dev coming a little bit, right? He'll be here in a second, and he'll add to the conversation. We may have a few other people stop by, as they will. I know Erudite said she might want to drop in, and we might have her. But we'll see, right? But Kraut, why don't you tell people about yourself a little bit, and who you are, and all that?
Thank you for that introduction, for the shout out. That was very nice of you. Very nice. I guess I'm a YouTuber. I make political science and history videos. Not always essays. Like recently, I haven't done a lot of essays, unfortunately. I haven't done a lot of content recently, actually. I've been kind of slacking. I got really sick. I needed to get surgery and had a really shitty recovery. What is important to know about me is that I used to be an anti-SJW YouTuber. So my thing is, like, I started out in that code in 2016. That stopped in 2017. Then I sort of went to making liberal content, political science and history content, basically. And I've been doing that ever since. Yeah, we talked about...
Go
Sorry,
on.
I interrupted you.
No,
Please.
no,
No,
I
it's your
interrupted you. I
show.
just had some questions on.
I'm going to mute myself when you talk. That's what I'm going to do.
You're fine. No, it's an open conversation. We're just talking, and Dev's having some technical issues, but he'll be here shortly. I guess, like you said, you started as an anti-SJW YouTuber. Can you tell us about that a little bit?
I was in, like, the Sargon of Akkad sphere. Sargon was one of the big YouTubers there. I used to work with him a lot. I was in there for roughly 1.5 years.
What caused you to kind of stop with all that?
That was a whole drama around this that a lot of people have forgotten about, so... Yeah,
I don't know. I'm going to be real with you. I don't follow the drama in the space that much, right? Unless it involves me. So.
What it was depends on who you ask. So I would say that I made videos on alt-writers, against alt-writers, and that was uncomfortable for that sphere, so they removed me. Others would say that I doxed alt-writers and got removed, or that I embarrassed myself making videos on alt-writers.
You doxed alt-writers. Is there truth to that?
No, I didn't dox anyone. I deny that accusation. Others say I did. But yeah, I got removed from that, and then I spent time rebuilding my channel. And Dev is here. Hey, Dev. We've known each other for 13 years, and this is the first time that we're on a live stream together. Which is kind of weird.
Has it been? I don't think it's been 13 years, has it? It's been more like 7 or 8.
No, it's certainly been a decade at the very least. I remember watching you in Gamergate, so I've known of you, and I think we first spoke in 2016 or late 2015. So yeah.
I've been listening again, by the way, while I've been fixing my stuff. I joined the Sargon sphere pretty much right after you left it. It was pretty like I knew Sargon, and I did a little bit of content with him during Gamergate in 2014, and then it was 2015 or 2016. I left the internet for a year due to some IRL stuff. And when I came back, the entire landscape had changed. Like, the old Skype group had broken apart. Shoe on Head wasn't around anymore. Armored Skeptic wasn't around anymore. Harmful Opinions wasn't around anymore. You were on your way out, because I do recall that drama, actually, where you started doing videos against the alt-right from a liberal point of view, and that made a lot of people angry, because there was kind of... It wasn't directly said, but there was this view that, like, the anti-SJWs, if they weren't explicitly right-wing, it was expected they would move right-wing over time. And a lot of them did, actually, in retrospect.
Yes.
But you didn't. You didn't, and I didn't.
So we got the boot, both of us.
Well, it took me a little bit longer. Like, I didn't get the boot until 2024. I remained friends with everyone, much as I could.
Yeah. Yeah, I got kicked out early. You asked me to talk about my experiences with the far left.
Yeah. So just to kind of like clue everyone in on what we're talking about today, right?
It kind of ties into that to a degree, because for the last like since 2018, so I had to completely rebuild my channel since then, because I peaked at 130,000 subscribers in the anti-SJW days. I lost 90,000 subscribers when I got removed from there. And I had to rebuild everything that I had from scratch. The 600k subscriber channel that I have now, everything rebuilt from scratch. And one of the weird things that happened to me in those, like, it's been like 8 years, I think, since I've been rebuilding my channel. I say, every YouTuber who I collabed with or publicly associated with in those 8 years received harassing messages, or got like brigaded by people telling them you shouldn't work with this guy because he used to be an anti-SJW YouTuber, etc., etc. Like, I had interactions like these. for like the last 8 years, which is one of the reasons why I don't network a lot and don't associate with other creators, because associating with me is basically a recipe now that these types of people will come and annoy you.
Well, don't worry too much about that. I already get a lot of hate for the people I associate with now, right? You can see some of it in chat, right?
Almost every year, I get some leftist creator who crawls out and is like, "You tweeted that racist thing in 2016. You must now come to my channel, bow before me, submit to me, become my servile orbiter." Basically, that's been going on for like the last 8 years. Like, this guy Bad Empanada said so. Actually, in fact, directly my first interaction with him was in 2019, where he basically told me, like, he slipped into my DMs and told me I have to go on a live stream with him. I have to apologize to him. Like, he scripted out the apology that I should read to him basically on his live stream.
Do you
in a
still have that?
humiliating way.
That would be amazing.
That
to know
account
what
is
you
gone.
wanted to
I
do.
deleted the account. I deleted that account unfortunately. But he asked me to do this, and his account is also banned, so there's no way to recover it. But he told me to do that and to stream it on my main channel, and then to, while I'm live, announce to my audience that I am handing over the password to my YouTube channel to Bad Empanada as an apology for being, and as an apology to him and to all leftists out there for once having been an anti-SJW YouTuber. And these are sort of the type of interactions that I've basically had mostly with leftists over the last 9 years, almost 10 years, 10 years actually at this point. Well, 8 years, sorry, since I got kicked out. But yeah,
well, I don't know if you know, just real quick here, because I can hop in on this because I also know who Bad Empanada is, and I figured you would as well,
does.
because
He's a
Destiny
fucking
had
I
it
do.
back and forth.
I'm aware,
Yeah,
right? He's
You know,
the
so-
one that
so you know what we're
doxed a
talking
bunch of us, and then Hassan read our doxes on stream, and
yes. Was that the
Lovely.
Progressive Victory stuff?
Yep.
Yeah. So, Bad Empanada got a hold of the Progressive Victory docs. So everyone who was involved with that back in, was it 2020? You guys did that?
nah,
2022?
2024.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it
more
was
recent.
the year before the election. It just had it was right before the election, like in the lead
Yeah,
up to
so
the election.
that would've been-
I believe.
That would have been you, Destiny, Lonerbox, Erudite, I think, and
There's
Pixie
a
was
bunch
in
of
there.
us.
Lonerbox was in there. Like all of sort of the streamer libs that kind of orbit Destiny. They all got doxed by him, and then Hassan read those doxes out on his fucking stream. Holy shit! What a, oh my god, what a wild time.
my first interaction with Hassan was also around that time, I think. I need to check up on when I made a video about Noam Chomsky years ago.
I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah, about him being a Bosnian genocide denier 4 years ago. So must have been like shortly before the Ukraine war. Let me check up the date. Where's the date? On the 26th of October 2021, I made that video. And it was a week in this video that I had my first interaction with Hassan, which was he called me, this guy, I'm not entirely sure what he said to him. I think he said that this guy used to be a leader of the alt-right. Or the leader of the alt-right. And that's all you need to know about him, is what he said about me. And that was sort of my first taste of his shit. And that's sort of like the blatant dishonesty, the willingness to just lie about people, smear people, and to send people after you on the basis of smears and all that. Yeah.
Well, firstly, like,
go ahead.
like
but,
Noam Chomsky is kind of considered like a what do you say, a golden cow, I guess, of the left. Like you can't, if you critique him, you will get dogpiled by fucking everyone. But he's kind of a hack, in my opinion.
Yeah.
More importantly, though, this really does, in a way, go back all the way back to Gamergate in 2014, because a lot of people who were in Gamergate in those initial months, like August to October of 2014, they were critiquing progressives within the games industry, specifically from a liberal point of view, because there was sort of this naive view amongst all of us who didn't really know politics that much. But we kind of knew a little bit. You know, we were like basic cultural libs because we kind of grew up in the culture that we did. And so we kind of like felt like, hey, isn't free speech a liberal value? Isn't it the conservatives who are against free speech? Isn't like the idea that we should be open and honest about these sort of things a liberal value? And then you had progressives in Gamergate on the other side of it who were anti-Gamergate, who were very much like, no, it's racist, it's sexist. Now, of course, there were also right-wingers sneaking into Gamergate and fucking the place up as well. It wasn't all just good stuff. But the initial argument of Gamergate was very much libs versus leftists. We would view it as that today in 2026. And the libs just lost. The libs lost that argument. The progressives, the leftists won that argument. And so a whole bunch of libs were kind of kicked out of the left. Like you saw in the wake of Gamergate, a bunch of people start doing the first How I Left the Left arc, right?
Yeah.
Because like that came out of Gamergate. And I mean, Sargon's very far right now. He was slandered as far right back then. He was not far right back then. He was like a center-left kind of normal.
That's the thing that we sometimes argue over, right? Because I, to this day, don't know if Sargon was always like this or if he became this. I can't
I think
wrap my
he
head
became
around
this. I think he became this. I mean, recently I rewatched a stream that you and him did in 2016. We were just talking about European history, just shooting the shit. And he's very clearly back then not what he is today. He has very clearly changed in the past 10 years.
I think we're also different, like, because I look back at that time very negatively. Like, I'm very critical of, I'm very critical of the, like, 2014 to 2016 era. I think that was...
What was your
the way
biggest criticism of that era, if I may ask, just to get some specifics?
It became just a right-wing harassment grift. Very quickly. Like, the moment we people who just obsessed with targeting enemies non-stop. Not, like, some bedroom feminist made a video, and you had, like, 20 guys run out to gangbang her, basically, in video form. Like, it was genuinely gross. And I really, like... There's this big difference as well that, like, when I left that sphere, like, when this engagement with the left that I've had, with these leftists that I had since the last 8 years began, where they said, where they kept doing this thing where they said, like, oh, you must apologize to us, you must delete your channel, you must become a servile arbiter, etc., all that shit. The first few years, I was very quiet because I thought, yeah, I kind of deserve this. I deserve this. It wasn't like I spent the last, like, since 2019, I spent years not doing any drama engagement. When people attacked me, I just took it. I remained quiet, and that's one of the reasons why. But for the last 2 years, I've basically just had enough of this shit. I can't take that fucking bullshit anymore.
What is it?
It's
Just
driving me
the
insane.
yeah? Is it just that it's been going on for so long and you're tired of it, or was there like an inciting
Oh,
incident
yeah.
where you were like, this
I
is too
basically
much?
realized that the General Hassan Piker, Baden Panada, Noah Samson, fear of the internet. If you
Fucking
ignore these
Noah
people when they attack
Samson.
you, and you
Ugh.
never clap back at them, they start to see you as a punching bag. They start to see you as something they can milk. So you have to stab back at them, unfortunately. Like I spent years ignoring these people, and they basically turned around, looked at me, and said, "You're a punching bag. We're going to use you. We're going to punch you harder if you don't punch back."
I can understand that. I think that one of the because I'm much newer to the space than either of you are, right? I wasn't online during the Gamergate era. I was in the military, right? I was going off doing my thing, right? I only have come into the kind of online politics space for the last 3 or 4 years, as I've been aware and kind of into it to varying degrees. One of the reasons that I wanted to talk today is related to what you just said, right? There is a question that is being asked within liberal circles, at least the circles that I run into, right? Is what to do about people like Hassan, right? About the far left and those types. They keep getting brought up. They have Slate's done, does articles on them. You have the New York Times putting out articles on them. You have them going in with AOC, with Bernie Sanders, right? So it's not like we don't see him, right? And so the question, I guess, that's being asked is, should we just ignore him and hope he goes away, right? Oh, he's pretty small,
No,
right? His
can't
influence isn't that
ignore
big right now, so we
fucking
should just kind of
Hassan.
ignore it. Or do we push back? I
I
tend
think
to
you have to
be
be very careful.
Oh, go ahead,
Sorry,
please.
please. I interrupt you. Please, you are from the opinion.
Yeah, I am of the opinion that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and we should push back strongly now to keep their influence from the larger party, because I think that they're skinwalkers, and I'll explain what I mean by that just very briefly. I saw what happened with the conservative movement in America, how it was basically subsumed by MAGA. No one thought Trump was going to win, right, when he came down that escalator, right, in, I think 2014. He was kind of a joke. He had almost no influence, but he had been in the alt spaces building up an audience, building up a network, building up kind of this like system of people, like with the Tea Party and things in 2012, and the birther attacks on Obama and all these things, right? And he kind of spearheaded these things, got his tentacles into them. And I saw these people basically parasite the conservative movement in America, basically skin them and wear their skins and walk around in their skins and pretend to be conservative, which they're not, to be clear. And MAGA has all the power in the Republican Party now, right? If Republicans early had excised them from their party, the Republicans would be in a much better space. I feel like the same thing is happening now on the left, that people like Hassan, and it's not just Hassan, right? But people like him are trying to parasite the Democratic Party. And if they get their way, they are going to basically hollow us out and destroy us like MAGA destroyed the Republicans. That's my view. I'm done. Long-winded, I know. Go ahead.
If you ignore these people, they get worse. That's just my personal experience over the last few years. If you ignore them, they become more vicious, they become more nasty, they do more and more horrible things to you. I mean, Baden Panada tried to have me swatted last year, which was one of the most humiliating fucking experiences I ever had. And you know, getting called into the police and having to explain this internet lunatic to them.
Oof.
Yeah, if you ignore them, they just try to do more horrible things. The thing is also that you have to do this balancing act, because I remember when I look back at the 2015, 2016, 2017 era, there are people who basically they dedicated themselves back then to attacking leftists. And it became everything they did was attacking leftists, attacking leftists, attacking leftists. And so slowly but surely, like frogs boiling in water, they became right wingers. I think if people in this space that you speak of dedicate themselves in their entirety to just going after leftists now, they also run the risk of slowly boiling themselves into the political right.
No, you're absolutely correct. There has to be kind of like a perspective. It's both. We have to chew gum and walk at the same time here. And if we ignore what Trump is doing with ICE, with foreign policy, with the Iran war, with all that shit, and we only attacked Hassan, yes, I think that it would be a problem. But one of the problems is that they use that as well. They use that fact as kind of like a shield, right? Because they will spend all day attacking Democrats, right? Hassan will spend all day being like, Democrats aren't doing enough. Democrats are corporate shills. Democrats are shills for Israel. Democrats are this. Democrats are that. Democrats are terrible. Democrats are weak. Democrats are feckless. Democrats are killing the working class. All these things, right? They'll do that all day. But as soon as you mention them, they'll be like, well, isn't Trump more important right now? Why are you punching left when we have Trump to worry about? It's a
That's the
thing
exact
that
same thing
only
the
goes one
alt-right did. That is the exact same thing that the alt-right did back in the day,
Yeah.
back in 2016, 2017. They would constantly rage at people who were to the left of them, to anti-MAGA conservatives, never Trumpers, but also at liberals, etc., etc. And if anyone took a stab back at them, they would say, hey, look at those SJWs. Hey, look at those SJWs. Those are more important than an issue. Da 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 da. And
Yep.
they actually had a meme back then. I think they called it Never Punch Right. Like they tweeted about this, didn't they, Dave?
It sounds familiar, yeah. Yeah. I mean, the reason why I went back as far as Gamergate is because you can even go back before Gamergate, because like Steve Bannon first got some of his ideas, and I think 2007, when, believe it or not, he wasn't involved in politics. He owned a company that farmed World of Warcraft gold and then sold it on like the in-game black market, where like Blizzard didn't allow you to buy World of Warcraft gold, but you had some websites that would sell it anyway, and hopefully you wouldn't get caught, right? Well, Steve Bannon, he actually owned one of those companies, and his experience kind of just seeing what lonely, alienated, dispossessed male gamers were like in 2007 inspired him, and he was like, oh, there's like untapped political potential here. And he sat on that for 7 years. 2014 comes around, you have Gamergate happens. Nobody, like, first of all, mainstream media won't talk about Gamergate because it's like an insular kind of subculture phenomenon, and gaming media won't talk about Gamergate because, well, it's full of progressives, and it's the people who are actually implicated as actually doing something wrong in Gamergate. They were like friends of all the people who actually ran, Kotaku and Polygon and these places. So what happens is Steve Bannon at that point is running Breitbart. And Steve Bannon says, you know what, we're going to give these gamers a platform. And so that's when Milo comes to prominence, and Mike Cernovich first comes to prominence. And these guys start first showing up in Gamergate because Steve Bannon saw an opportunity to basically take these people who were pretty apolitical, kind of liberal, and he saw the opportunity. And that's why a whole bunch of people did, in fact, move rightward after Gamergate. However, Kraut, you'll remember this for sure. Like, the anti-SJWs were, in a lot of ways, they were liberals. Like, I'm sure you remember, like, Sargon debating.
I do.
Yeah,
I do remember.
It was like,
there's lots of people who we both personally knew who were, like, really, not just liberals, but left-wing. And then now cheerleading MAGA.
Yep. Like I recall Sargon, he debated millennial woes like constantly. He was always going on stream. And millennial woes, if you don't know, Wick, he's like a European far right guy.
I've seen his meme go around that everyone misuses, but
but he was kind of a big deal in the alt right back in the day. He hasn't really done anything recently, except for that meme. There was the big famous debate on Warski Live where it was Sargon versus Richard Spencer, and it was liberal versus white nationalist, and that was the whole thing. And yet you had leftists during that time say, because Sargon was even willing to platform Richard Spencer in a debate, he was also alt-right himself, which is fucking retarded. But that's how the left operated in the mid-2010s. And so pretty much everyone, even if they were liberals, they got pushed rightward rhetorically from the point of view of the left. And then many of them actually moved rightward over time because for a lot of people, politics just is your friend group. So it definitely happened. Now, the reason I go back to all this stuff is because we are kind of seeing the same thing happen with new liberal creators as they interface with newer leftist creators from like 2020 onward. And this time, it really feels like the liberals are putting up a greater resistance to them because, for example, Destiny's not being moved right wing in response to like Hassan saying that he's right wing. Like it's not happening this time. So it really does seem like maybe like Gamergate 2 in a sense is happening.
Before, right? Like
Yeah.
We have a pattern to recognize. We have a model to kind of look at and see how it worked then and say, hey, they're doing the exact same now. One of the problems I have with like the far left, and well, I have a few problems, but we'll get to it. But in this context, is they do behave the same as MAGA. It's the same, or the alt-right, I should say.
I think there's a mutually belligerent, there's like this cooperative belligerency in a way here. Because
you know that,
like, I'm borrowing a term that I probably shouldn't borrow. Cooperative belligerency is what a French historian used to describe the relationship between the Soviet Union and Nazi Germany.
Would you think maybe reciprocal radicalization might be a good term as well? Or?
It's more so that they're constant raging at each other disguised as sort of cooperation in the destruction, in a mutually beneficial destruction of society.
Okay.
And well, he used it more in the context of the Second World War. And I see like these two groups, they do rage at each other, but they're also like mutually cooperative in the sense that the targets they both mainly picked are enemies of both of them.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, what would you say? I think I understand. Maybe I don't, but just to kind of like, could you give me an example of where you see the far left and the far right doing that now today?
Okay, one thing that has to be very clearly said, even though we're here just talking about far left places, is that the dominant force on political social media right now is MAGA. It's the right.
It is.
They still dominate. And if you look at MAGA content, like today, they do quip jokes that Hassan Piker frequently, right? But it's always like in jest. It's never outrage. It's just look at this idiot, ha 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 ha. And you get a sense of that to them. They dislike him. They don't like his politics, but they see him almost as an asset. They know he's useful to them because he's almost a parody. He's a parody of the sort of narcissistic, fucking socialist, champagne socialist idiot who you can use as a recruitment tool. So they laugh at him, but they never really go after him. They don't try to get him cancelled or whatever, anything like that. So there's a belligerence there, but it is to an extent mutually beneficial. And you have the similar thing with Hassan Piker, who constantly, as you said before, talks about how, opposing MAGA, but what does he spend most of his time on? Attacking libs, non-stop attacking libs.
No, I no notes on that one. I think that's exactly correct. They have kind of made this unspoken agreement. They don't like each other. I think you're correct in that. But there's this unspoken agreement that both of them want to see the liberal order destroyed, right? Both Hassan Piker and Tucker Carlson would love to see the liberal world order as it exists, not just in America, but worldwide, just gone, right? And they will work together to that end. They have different ideas of what happens next in mind, right? Like they want to go different. They'll part ways eventually, but they both will use each other to accomplish that end. Is that kind of a good
Yeah, to
guest
a degree. Like,
representation of this?
I need to look up the term again because. Sorry.
I know exactly what you're talking about though, because there was the history of before World War II, a whole bunch of German Communist Party members ended up joining like the Nazis, and what was the famous quote? Was it after Hitler, our turn? Was that what the guy said, Kraut?
Boy, they
I don't
love
remember that one.
to
Sorry,
forget
I'm
about
okay.
that
The,
or
Was it Thalman?
do some special
Telemann.
historical revisionism
Yeah,
on
so-
that.
Yeah.
He was the leader of the Communist Party of Germany, the KPD, from 1925 to 1933. Yeah, he famously said after Hitler, our turn, because he believed that if the communists supported the Nazis in overthrowing the liberal order, that basically people would get tired of Hitler and then the communists would get their shot. And so of course, he ends up getting killed by the Nazis after the Nazis take over because the Nazis didn't actually lose that conflict. So this is something that you do see historically. But yeah, in the modern era, there's definitely a trend of like both of these groups reserving their worst attacks for the libs, right? Like you mentioned before that Hassan had no problem with showing off all of those bad empanada docs of liberals.
Yes.
I mean, has he ever actually showed off?
That one was so fucking infuriating to me. Where not just Hassan Pike, I think one should name every single person who promoted bad empanada in those days, even if it goes down to people like fucking Noah Samson and what's his name, iDubbbz. Like
Fucking
promoting
Noah
this guy,
Samson.
promoting this guy while he was doxing people, harassing people, trying
Dude,
to have
I
people
can't
swatted. They
stand
knew
Noah
he was doing
Samson
this.
because like
Yeah, but they don't
knew he
care.
was doing
he's
this.
smug,
But they
care because-
promoted this.
but like
yeah, there's this one clip I
he's
watched of a
too
Noah Samson stream,
stupid
where they have
for
Bad
how
Banana
smug
on,
he
and Bad
is.
Banana
Like
gives
he's
them this lecture which basically
completely
points down to
retarded.
our enemies are evil and it is allowed, permitted to do
Ugh.
anything to them.
No
And they're
bad
just not alone.
tactics, just bad targets. That's their
Exactly. They
Yeah,
all
yeah,
nod
yeah.
along. And that is exactly what these people now, like, I think that culture, like, they may have now stabbed Bad Empanada in the back because he's an optics nightmare to them now as well. But his culture of engagement, the way he treats people, that has infested that fucking corner of the internet right now. It is, and I think it was even there before Hassan got a hold of Bad Empanada, because Hassan has been doing this shit since what? Since 2020? Lying about people, smearing people. His politics is purely a politics of personal grievances. That's all he
earlier, but
engages in. Annihilating enemies. That's all he cares about. The annihilation of those that are in his way, by any
Yeah.
means necessary. By the way, I looked it up. The historian is François Ferré. I'm sorry that I previously forgot the name, and he's the one who came up with the idea of mutual belligerence, is what he calls it. Two systems that openly rage at each other, but in quiet, their belligerence is sort of mutually cooperative. They empower each other through their belligerence against each other. Okay, I'll post
Right,
it in
yeah.
the chat if you
Thank
like.
you. Please do.
But yeah, I guess where I was going with it was that even though we saw Hassan do this with liberal creators, there is no chance in hell he would ever start like on his stream openly doxing far right people. It's not going to happen. He doesn't like them. He might like do a segment or two on them every once in a while, but Hassan's target is libs. It's not far right people.
Well, that's the enemy that can actually hurt him, right? That's his like we are competing. Liberals and Hassan are competing for the same space in a way that the right and Hassan are not, right? Like he does. Sorry, he does give kind of lip service to anti-Trump stuff, anti-ICE, all these things, right? I'll give him his flowers there. But where he, again, as you say, saves his knives for is the people who are directly in the path of what he wants, which is more influence within the Democratic circles. And it's not just him. Like, people do this thing where they retreat to, well, oh, he's only got so many million subscribers, and he's not that big. He's only got like 30,000 concurrent viewers. He's not that big. He's not going to overturn an election. He's not going to hurt anything. But it's not just him. It's people like Mehdi Hassan who are promoting him in this whole, in Progressive Victory now, who are just promoting him in this whole culture, right, of similar like-minded leftists that just want liberals out of the Democratic Party. They don't want
We
them
just
in.
sort of, the thing that they exploit about us is that we are bound by the fact that we believe in certain principles. Like, they're Marxist-Leninists. They don't believe in, they believe that reality is shaped in its entirety by material conditions, and the way people believe in certain ideals and principles, that's just delusions and a waste of time. That's why every single time you engage these people, they always resort to sort of emotional blackmail, as sort of trying to guilt you into submission. When you point out to a Hassan Piker fan that Hassan Piker streamed people's doxes, he streamed Dylan Burns' docs, he streamed your docs, the first response you always get is, well, mostly it's a denial, but then it's always followed up with, but what about this thing that happened? What about this thing that someone else did? Why do you support this genocide? Why do you this? It's always these whataboutisms. It's always attempts to try to guilt you into submission. It's complete field of non-accountability for them, which is why when we go after these people, right, when we say, hey, you did this horrible thing, why did you do this? They always get away with it because they have no principles to which you can hold them accountable to. They don't give a fuck that they dox people. They don't give a fuck about the harassment.
Let's see. I'll probably go live at 3 Pacific, so 6 Eastern.
Interesting.
Setting a reminder.
Yeah. Don't forget your worlds.
Yeah. Woo! Let's hope.
Hey.
She'll be joining us from Washington.
Yeah.
But yeah, within the next couple weeks, she will be here permanently.
They're afraid people. They don't give a fuck about any of the damage you do to anyone. They don't give a fuck how much they hurt you because they
Can't
only
wait.
they don't believe in any sort of
Can't
principle that includes people that
Mhm.
they disagree with. You're an enemy. The only thing that exists is your destruction. That's the only thing they pursue. Your annihilation. If you disagree with them, you're there to be annihilated.
Yes, you're the enemy, and because you are the enemy, any tactic is okay against you. And you see this in tons of clips that we see from Hassan. Like there was a clip that made the rounds
Yes, she
earlier
is.
of
She's
him
going to the moon.
just being horrific to this Asian lady.
Oh,
right?
I would.
Just going in on her with some of the most misogynistic kind of fucking language and things like that he would never tolerate to anyone. If anyone had done that, if Destiny had done that to a female creator on his side of the fence, he would call it out immediately. But because
It's funny
this
that you bring
person
him up.
had bad politics, because this person had politics that disagreed with him or that he disagreed with him, literally it's all okay. Literally anything is permissible. That's it.
It's funny that you bring Destiny up because I sort of disengaged from the Destiny community like a year or two ago.
Mhm.
And in part this was before the scandal.
Oh,
In part
I gotcha.
because
Mhm.
because the only thing back then that they were talking about over there was Hassan Piker and how horrible Hassan Piker was. And it annoyed me, and I kept telling them that you're wasting your time. Like every moment you spend talking about Hassan Piker is a moment of your life that you've wasted doing something completely unproductive and never will get back. This guy will flare out. He will burn out. He's a moron. He will burn himself to the ground. And if Hassan Piker does anything stupid, the thing to do is to ignore him and talk about policy. And now I'm sitting here, the idiot, all these years later, and saying, no, I'm completely wrong. Like this guy is now out. He's basically like everything he does is basically just dedicated to trampling liberals into the dirt, non-stop. It's infuriating at this point. It's enraging to me. The thing that really pissed me off, what really got me going into this, the reason why I got my ticket stamped to join the Hassan hate train
Okay, yeah, let's hear
is
it.
the shit on Ukraine. This drives me up the fucking wall because there's a really great, coherent organization of people online. Like there's lots of groups, lots of people who do fundraisers, a lot of people who do support. There's Dylan. Dylan flew literally out there and reshuffled his life entirely to be a supporter of Ukraine. There's people who've raised millions of dollars in aid, and you have in everything that we do online. One of the chief amplifiers of pro-Russian propaganda is that fuckhead in New Jersey. Oh, from New Jersey. He lives in California now, sorry. Yeah, just one thing, for example, that he does is he keeps saying that he is pro-peace because he
That
promotes
face,
the
though.
Minsk agreement, right?
Sure.
What he never mentions is that the Minsk agreement is a Russian proposal that requires Ukrainian disarmament and surrender to Russia in its entirety. And he never mentions that. He never says, oh, that this is a Ukrainian surrender agreement. He says, I support peace. I support the Minsk agreement. Everyone who disagrees with me is a warmonger. So he sets it up immediately that people go
All right.
after those who disagree with him, who might correct him, who might point out,
I'm
no, you're
down.
pushing this Russian shit. So he sets his audience immediately up to go, no, he's pro-Ukrainian. He supports this agreement. You're just a warmonger. Like these fucking tricks he does. These
Kraut-
little lies. And it drives me nuts. And the thing recently with the terrorist attack in the Czech Republic, what's funny, am I raging
No,
too
keep
much?
going. No, it's fine. It's
No,
fine.
it's
I'm
great.
enjoying
It's
this.
great. We got one more
Okay,
person who
the
wants to.
thing-
I'm gonna drag him in while you rage, so go ahead.
Okay, the reason there was a terrorist attack in the Czech Republic, during this terrorist attack, well, I shouldn't necessarily say terrorist attack. So the people who did it are charged as terrorists. What happened is a group of Free Palestine activists who were supported under the support of 6 other Palestine activists, they broke into a Czech factory that made drones for the not drones, thermal optics for drones used in Ukraine. So you can fly a drone at night.
Yeah,
right?
it was part of the
Yeah.
I guess logistics train to make the drone, right? It wasn't
Exactly,
directly
the
for-
thermal drones, the drones that you use during the night during combat operations. They burnt the factory down. because they believed apparently, or were misled, it's probably a Russian intelligence operation. They were told that it was a Israeli factory. It wasn't. It's a Czech factory, a Czech company. In 2003, they negotiated a potential deal with Israel, but that deal fell through, so they never worked for Israel in the first fucking place. It was a Czech factory that made arms for Ukraine. It's as simple as that. And it's fucking
Hey,
hilarious to me
I'm
that
eager.
one of the terror suspects who was arrested was a Hassanabi head. But the far more infuriating thing was that when Hassan Piker covered that shit, he repeated the fucking lie that it was an Israeli company. And that really infuriated me last week, because he repeated that shit and you immediately had these idiots all over the internet running around, oh, Israeli company, Israeli company, Israeli company. Fucking everywhere.
It's a very common tactic. There's a couple things that I want to touch on. Then we want
I'm
to
gonna calm down and go get cigarettes. I'll be back in 10 minutes. And I think I need to smoke. We'll see you.
Oh my god.
It's one of the most European things I've ever heard.
We're gonna Soypill's here. He's the resident leftist that we're gonna pick on a little bit today. But that's okay.
I'm a leftist? No,
Are you not?
but not in the sense that you guys are using it. I just came to talk about how, in the same way you're complaining about them complaining about the Democrats too much, you're complaining about the left too much. And then, ironically, I'm now complaining about you complaining about the left too much. But this is all to say that we're all not focusing on the right enough.
See, we just talked about this, right? It's this game.
I was listening.
That people do. That we can't ever talk about Hassan, because as soon as we do, it's like, well, why are you talking about Hassan when there's a genocide in Gaza? Why are you talking about
Yeah.
Hassan when there's ICE and sending all?
Oh,
these
how
states
dare
to
you
court
talk about
and
anything
bullshit.
while there's
This
a
is-
genocide
this is
going
right, when it comes to the lies and things like that. And I saw this on a tweet that Mehdi Hassan made earlier, and that I responded to. Kathy Young, one of my moots on Twitter, okay, gang. She writes for The Bulwark and a few other publications on occasion. She made a tweet talking about how the Hassan Piker left needed to just go away, to be crushed. I forget the exact wording. And Mehdi Hassan responded to that with like, I guess you guys just oppose peace and you oppose universal health care.
Is this the one where she made an equivalence between him and Nick Fuentes?
No, I don't
Okay,
believe
'cause
so.
I
But
saw
I can find it.
there was a big thread on that responding to Mehdi Hassan with like 8 million clips of Hassan calling Jews inbred, although he might specifically mean Israeli settlers, so it's not necessarily anti-Semitic, guys. But I thought I guess there's multiple Hassan discourse things, which goes back to the point of we're talking about Hassan too much, despite it kind of making sense.
Okay, I got.
Are you
I'll
back on
just
Twitter yet, by
bring
the
it
way?
up. I'll just bring it up.
I don't think you understand what permaban means, Dev.
I do. I'm also permabanned, but I'm still there.
What is that? Well, then you're not permabanned.
No, I've just
Okay.
dodged like 10 times.
There's
so I'm good.
ways to get around these things. Okay. So
I'll make the goy pill. He can't ban me because it's a Jewish-related joke. And
The
good
goy pill.
anti-Semitism.
So anyway, right? Here it is. If you guys want to look at the tweet, Kathy Young responding because Mehdi Hassan made a post. The campaign against Hassan Piker is about crushing the left. Centrist groups like Third Way are trying to cancel the popular progressive streamer as part of their campaign to reduce far left influence. I got a few issues with this
It
tweet
has
off the bat.
begun.
Why are top Democrats joining in? And it's a link to an article which I've read, or at least part of, from Zedio.com, which is a publication that I'm not sure if Hassan or if Mehdi runs or if he just works with. I'm not sure the relationship there, but I do know there is some relationship. Kathy Young responds, if there's anything that deserves to be crushed, it's the Hassan Piker left. And in response to that, Mehdi Hassan says this. Yeah, I mean, who wants an end to foreign wars and universal health care? Nobody. And kind of this, what I'm reading is a kind of like a sarcastic tone. But this kind of failure to engage with the actual criticism is, I think, one of the hallmarks of that side of politics.
And
No
Mehdi
one-
is so frustrating about that.
I am certainly not opposed to ending
Look,
foreign
he's
wars.
good at a lot of
Therefore,
things.
My criticisms of
but
Hassan Piker and those around him
He
do not involve those
is
things.
so quick
But they
to
retweet
dismiss
and
any
they will always
criticism
retweet these things.
of
You
the
make fun
far
Hassan or you
left
critical
or the
criticism of him in
pro-Palestine
general, they'll be like,
left.
oh, so you don't want universal health care? It's this kind of dishonest framing that I've seen consistently, which acts as a shield to what I feel Hassan actually is, which is a parasite that will hollow out the Democratic Party. And he's already begun, right? Look at how he's being described as a progressive. You're a progressive, right, Soypill?
Yeah.
Would you describe Hassan as a progressive? Do you think that's an honest
If I was
description?
uninformed and like, you know, it's funny enough, like my mom, who's not at all online, versus me, who's terminally online, actually brought Hassan Piker up, and I was like, how the fuck do you know who that is? And it's because of these kind of like random op-eds from Wall Street Journal, New York Times, and it's like, oh, this guy's a progressive. And I don't know if Mehdi Hassan is like prone to falling for that. I feel like he would be more tuned into the kind of things that Hassan has said, especially when he has direct, you know, people quote tweeting him and showing him the links on Twitter. But if you are that kind of like out of the loop person, you would think this. But that's kind of the only way I could possibly justify calling Hassan a progressive.
But that's his strategy, right? That is what he cloaks
Yeah, of course.
himself
I mean, he literally
as,
says this.
right? Yeah, and he's described this like this is a purposeful kind of campaign that they're doing. They want to subsume the label of progressive, wear it like a suit, and so when you criticize some of his very non-progressive positions, they're like, aren't you progressive too, buddy? I'm a progressive just like you, which is a lie because they're not, right? He is not anything like you, Soypill, right? Like I have my problems with some of your positions, but you are not in this kind of category of Hassan Piker at all.
Yeah, I'm not like an ML accelerationist subversion person.
No, you're just like a himbo progressive guy.
Hey, himbo implies stupid, which I actually accept. So.
Fair enough. But like, so
Himbo.
you mentioned that we're talking about him too much, and Kraut, I don't know if you were listening, had that same opinion a few years ago, right? Like, oh, we're talking about Hassan too much. We should just kind of let him be.
Yeah, I heard. No, he was talking about, oh, like you're focusing on this too much, and like I have this same criticism when I talk to Hodge, where I'm like, yeah, when something big pops up and it becomes this guy's not someone you can just ignore. If it is the mainstream political discourse to say, hey, look, this guy is voicing an opinion that a bunch of people agree with, which is we should look at JD Vance and Gavin Newsom, view them equally, and say fuck it and throw our hands up. That's the time where you go in and attack this guy. But when it's like, oh, let's spend like 8 weeks talking about him shocking his dog, and don't get me wrong, I think he did do that, but like, what are we doing here? Like, I have people in my life that are being materially like harmed and killed by the current admin, and people are talking about like a Twitch streamer's like drama because he doesn't have their politics and it's fun to make fun of them. It's like, great, cool. This is not nearly so important. And you can't have this dichotomy in your head of these people are powerless, they never win elections, their candidates always fail, and also they're so important that I'm going to dedicate 75% of all of my airtime to talking about them. It's just incongruent to me.
Sure, and I think that Kraut even mentioned this earlier. He actually did go to get cigarettes for about 10 minutes, didn't he? Okay,
No, yeah, I believe him.
Welcome back.
Hey, Kraut. Freut a lot of people told me to talk to you, and I've heard good things, so.
Oh, okay. Nice seeing you, new guy. Sorry, I had to go quickly.
Yeah, he was just talking about how we're talking about Hassan too much, and I wanted.
I didn't talk about
respond
Hassan
to
for
that.
4 years. I didn't talk about Hassan for 4 fucking years. Yeah, I didn't talk about him in years, and it just got worse. It just got worse. I think if you do not talk
anything
about
we're doing now is making it better, though? I mean, I understand providing a counter narrative. I'm fine with. That's what I said. But like the degree to which people shit on him, I think is just like not completely. 80% time is wasted.
it certainly feels good.
That's fair. But that's that's kind of my point. I mean, it does feel good to shit on people. Snarking is fun.
Yeah.
But like,
I'm not sure if
like,
it's
most people don't even
snarking.
know who this person is, and this is very like in our bubble sort of thing. Maybe I'm using the word snark wrong because like a legitimate criticism and not like, oh, I just want to go after this person. But like, I don't know.
Oh,
I'm
you
seeing
wanna
I'm seeing people in the
fight?
chat say this, and I totally agree. It's like,
Let's
hey, my
fight.
grocery prices are too high, my taxes are too high, my gas prices are skyrocketing, and I want to address and understand the problems that are happening and materially affecting me on the day to day.
Exactly.
Hey,
That is
you know what
why-
I want to talk
yeah.
about? I want to talk about this guy Hassan, his drama with fucking Gloop Glop or whatever other Twitch streamer he got in a fucking fight with today. Like, it's just so stupid to me when it's not something that affects the mainstream discourse, such as Hassan causing voter disaffection, which is very important and needs to be addressed.
Exactly. We must talk about the real issues. It's really important that we talk about the real issues. That is why it matters. That is why it's really important that Hassan has to take over a policy org and make it about fighting his internet enemies. You know, like, it's pots calling the kettle black. It really is. Like, what does he dedicate? Like, his understanding of policy focuses entirely on stupid fucking vendettas that he has with people he doesn't like. It's like fucking
Israel.
it's Albanian blood feuds. It's like, it's primitive, it's stupid, it's medieval. It's unbecoming of any sort of democratic environment. And I do not understand why people give him so much heat. Yeah, concerning the Israel thing, that is one of the other reasons why I'm stepping up raging at him, because if this fucker does to the topic of Russia-Ukraine, of the war in Ukraine, what he did to the Israel-Palestine topic, oh boy, will I be fucking furious.
Oh yeah.
Can you
Wait,
elaborate on
transitive-
that? Like, just so
Mhm.
so the audience knows and so we understand. Like, can you kind of draw a line? What do you think he did to the Israeli-Palestinian topic, and how do you think he's going to do that or risks doing that?
He turned it into a purity test to purge people. He and his ilk, they turned it into a purity test to purge and silence people. Well, when you look at the groups that support Ukraine, it's mostly Ukrainians in charge, and it's mostly about how do you actually help Ukrainians? Raise money to buy trucks to send over to the front line, volunteers, etc.
Well, to be
So, yeah, I
fair,
do think
I
this
mean,
is-
I'm not saying this in his defense, but like, there wasn't a lot of purity testing with the Ukrainian-Russia conflict because there weren't a bunch of people saying, you know what, actually, I don't support Ukraine because it is totally okay for Russia to do what they're doing because it was so obviously
of people
evil
like
and
that.
imperial. There are people like this, but like, it's not so much that you could cause this kind of purity test inside the left-wing movement that was like big enough to be the same as like, oh, you are supporting Israel, like I am excising you from everything. Not to defend the fact that he did this, but like, I don't know if you could have created the same purity test out of
But
the
it's also like
Russia-Ukraine conflict.
the Russia-Ukraine support communities, like the communities who raise money, etc., etc. It includes so many different people, conservatives, liberals, even left-wing people. And if you did something like this, if you started purity testing, etc., etc., like what would be left? It would do to the communities that support Ukraine the exact same things that he did to the communities that claim to support Palestine, turn them into incompetents that bring nothing to the table and are unable to actually change the situation as it is.
And I just want to make clear, there are some lefties who do that into the tankies, right?
Sure.
Non-smoker, I've talked to a few of them, right, who are very much
Anti-NATO, anti-Ukraine,
Yes.
Azov battalion type, like, you know, narrative stuff. Yeah, no, those people exist. I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying like that.
Are you a left-wing guy, Soypill?
I'm like progressive, like liberal progressive. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah,
Mostly
yeah. So
Democrat, I guess.
one thing that I should say from the start to you is like, I do not want to do that thing where like this is actually something that I'm really scared of, where people then, when people use the fact that a lot of people are increasingly just fed up with Hassan to bash left-wingers in general. That is not something that I would approve of. I know left-wingers who've had enough of Hassan themselves. Yeah. So I'm not using Hassan as a cudgel to beat you, if that is something that you were worried about.
I didn't feel like you were. Don't worry.
don't worry, like Soypill.
I'm not a fan of Hassan. I'm more pushing back on the like, hey, I already agree with you guys about the criticisms, but how much of this is worth talking about?
Well, the reason-
and the main thing I focus on is how much
that's
of
the
this
whole
is a
point,
more
dog.
pervasive wide stream thing. Like wide.
Sorry, that's the
Hassan
whole
didn't
point of
lead
why
the
we're
discussion
talking
about
about
that.
this.
He
It's
forbade it.
important to
He
talk
does it
about
himself.
because it
He's
makes
not
the
the
rest of
inventor
us look
Any
bad.
trend that I can think of.
It doesn't
And,
allow
when
us
use
to
him as, like, the
criticize
focal point for
things in the
criticism,
party
that's
that
fine,
need to
especially
be
his clips are the ones
criticized.
that are blowing
He's
up.
a
And, like, prime
problem.
examples of the worst things that we don't like. But to make it about
He's
Hassan is so ridiculous to me
used by
because
the
let's
right
say he gets banned
to
on Twitch.
paint
He's not
all
doing
of
it. Let's say he
us
did. And
like
he's
him,
not loses all of this platform. That's not going to stop the narrative. But what it will do is make it seem like, oh, all the problems that you were discussing and making this person the focal point of, oh, they must be not as bad now. And that's not what I want. I want those problems to be addressed absent of like stupid Twitch drama sports.
So I guess to kind of give you, and I'm not sure if you were here for the very beginning where I kind of laid this out, but it is a question that deserves an answer. Like, why are we talking about Hassan when so much is?
That's a great question. That like I threw at people. Like I feel like the Soypill is where it's kind of in the space where I was a few years ago, where I got into arguments with people where I kept telling them every moment that you talk about Hassan is wasted. Just ignore him and he'll go away. And the more you ignore him, the more worse he seems to get. To be honest with you.
Well, I don't think we should ignore him.
It's
like
also
said,
like
Well, let
Soypill,
Kraut finish. Go ahead, Kraut, please.
No, Soypill, can interrupt me. Go ahead, please.
Why? I interrupt. You can finish.
No, please. It's okay.
Well,
You guys are so nice. Okay, go ahead.
Look, all right, look, I live in Germany. I get it. He's just letting me step all over his feet because they're too kind. All right, they're like the Canadians of Europe. Basically, I don't think these things should be ignored. I'm saying there are very specific things that you do focus on, and those things are when a narrative or a clip of him speaking is more indicative of a widespread problematic thing that does come from the left that is harming the movement. Hassan himself could be that, by the way. Like if he gets big enough that he's subverting like congressional candidates, that is when you focus on it.
I
My problem
think
is that like
he's at that stage. Soypill, just real quick, just to let you know.
Yeah.
Like
I'm not
in
saying
my
he's not.
opinion,
I'm
he is at
saying-
the beginning stages of that. And I wish that the Republicans had nixed MAGA in the bud, right? Back in the day. I wish that had happened because it'd be nice to have like an actual two-party system with like people who believed in America and believed in the Constitution and things like that.
Sure,
And I
but
wasn't
my
worried
question
about
is-
if I lost this election, the country would go to hell, right?
My question is like how much of your time is wasted is indicative of how useful your criticisms are when you're pushing back against a mainstream narrative that is widespread and is going to be more harmful to the movement. I think that's very important to provide that counter. Like when Hassan goes on, I don't know, any show where they really push back on him. I do think that's really important. But what I'm worried about is like, okay, how effective are you actually being just by talking about this and saying it's bad? And how much of your time is wasted versus how much of your time is able to actually
You're
make
framing
that?
this as if I am wasting a significant amount of my time, but the thing that I
Well,
have
I
to
don't know you,
say
Kraut.
about
I don't know
that
how much you criticize.
Yeah,
I know Wick and
this is
Hutch
like
are
the
my like you
first-
guys do this too much.
This is the first time that I've gone on a stream to talk about Hassan and his general corner of the internet since the JX shit. Since the React.
That was like
thing.
2023, wasn't it? That was a while ago.
Yeah, that's the first time that I'm talking about him since then. No, that was even before the war in Ukraine. So, wait, someone's calling me. Sorry,
I'll take
I
that.
am on a stream. Yeah. Fuck,
Well,
no, I lost my train of thought.
Okay.
Jay,
Just real
see
quick,
2023.
we're ending the Twitch stream, and so Twitchers, go to the YouTube. Okay.
Okay.
Oh no, is Destiny's
I will
happening?
counter you. I am not wasting my time talking about Hassan
Destiny.
when I bring these things up. I am not wasting my time because this is literally the first time that I'm talking about Hassan in years.
Well,
and when I said years ago that talking about Hassan is a
Tiny.
waste of time, I was the one who now has to concede that I was fucking wrong. Because it got worse in these years. And another thing that you discount is that when it comes to liberal creators, generally on YouTube, like virtually everyone I've talked to has experienced some form of harassment and of having their lives made more miserable because of the direct involvement of people like Hassan. His promotion of people like Bad and Panada. Not just him, by the way, his entire fucking circus promoted this guy while he was doxing, harassing, and trying to have people spotted. Like these people actively go out of the way to make our lives fucking miserable.
Yep.
And I think it's you can't expect someone like me to just turn around and be like, nah, I'm not going to talk about this. I'm
Yeah,
going
well,
to just
yeah,
ignore this
just
forever.
before-
just to be
just
clear,
real
I'm
quick,
not where
Soypill,
you were
please.
back then.
Please,
It's
Soypill,
not
right.
about ignoring this.
Soypill.
I think there are
Soypill,
lots of
hold on.
different
Let me piggyback on that, and then you can respond to us both. Okay. It's again, I do not feel that Hassan and those like him are something that it is a waste of time to cover because they are always attacking liberals and they are trying currently, as we speak, to subvert
Literally,
the
they do
Democratic
what they
Party.
can
And if we
to
have
make
fight
it
two
harder
battles
for
at the
us
same
to
time.
win.
We have to fight against Trump and all his ilk, but we also have
They
to fight
serve
against
as
him. And it
nothing
is not a
more
waste of
than
time.
a disruptive force.
Destiny,
I'm not
welcome
saying
to
it's
the
a waste of
show.
time. I'm not saying this these should be ignored. This
They
is all
don't
real
help.
time
They don't
allocation, and
want to
it's like,
help.
I see
They
people doing,
want to.
like, 80-20 Hassan
They're
versus, like, MAGA
as
coverage.
far
I think people
You
as
think
do
their
that. I think 80-20 in the
effect
other direction.
on MAGA
I
coverage?
don't know
on
about
the
you specifically, although I
public
watch a lot of
on
videos,
the
but, like, when
political
it's like, okay, why are we
landscape,
talking about Hassan
they
every
are
week?
effectively
Because there's like a new drama slop thing
accelerationists.
going on. Versus, hey, here's Hassan promoting a candidate that is specifically like bad in comparison to the liberal candidate in this primary. Absolutely cover this. Talk about why your candidate's better. Promote that candidate over them. And then, you know, if you want to fucking talk about dog shit on your drama segment, maybe. But like, I just think there is a disproportionate amount of time spent to things that don't matter nearly as much. And when we're looking at like who has the power and who's actually like exerting that power over us, it's just not as logical to me to go after to the extent that people are. That doesn't mean that he's not worth criticizing.
Okay.
Go ahead. Did you have something to
No,
say?
I
Kraut, or-
just no. I just said okay. Yeah, I understand that point. I just disagree with that. I think that, I mean, especially us who do this thing online, we do have to concern ourselves with what people do online. It's very difficult to translate what we do online into offline activity. And what all of this overlooks is also the point that, like, what does Hassan Piker do online? What does he spend his time talking about? Is that spreading disinformation or his personal vendettas? That's literally all he does.
Usually
There's
against
no
the left
policy.
too, also, right? I feel like that's a thing. Like, I think it'd be weird if Hassan spent all of his time attacking conservatives and then people just spent all their time attacking Hassan. I think it'd be really strange. But I don't know. When I look at that movement, it feels like they're more concerned with attacking other Democrats than doing anything against Republicans.
No, I don't disagree. But my issue is this: is how much are they able to hurt the left versus the right is, and that's what I think the proportionality should be dedicated to. Like, don't get me wrong, these people are actively announcing their ideals to subvert the Democratic Party, subverting better candidates, like pushing someone like, in my opinion, a Plattner over Collins, which I don't think is good. Is it Collins? No, doesn't matter. Point is, like that sort of shit is bad. And
Plattner versus
Mills,
Mills.
excuse me, thank you. That sort of shit is bad and should be talked about. But when it's like, all right, and then let's focus on the fact that my day-to-day life is materially worse every day because of MAGA, that deserves a lot more energy right now, and how we can like fight back against that. That's all I'm saying. The proportionality is a little out of whack.
I think most people agree that MAGA is bad. That's not a disagreement. The disagreement is that the people in Hassan's camp are saying that Democrats won't do anything better for it, which I think is problematic when the right can cast them as our figures, which they do. They love to do that. Although they do it in a way to just damage us and never damage those people, right? There's a reason why when they bring Hassan up on Fox News, it's kind of like to laugh and make fun of him, and then to make fun of all of us, but they're never ever trying to cancel these guys because these guys are invaluable to the right. And then, meanwhile, when it comes to us evaluating our own movements, there's this huge, apparently genuine rift right now with some people in the party for like, should we welcome with open arms people into our movement that want to destroy the entire political party? Which is what Hassan and all them want to do, but nobody seems to understand or won't recognize, even though like Hassan has basically explicitly said this across multiple platforms. Which I don't understand.
Yeah, and it's not something that, this is what I want to try to get across to you, Soypill, right? And to the audience listening, and I see a lot of you guys who disagree in chat, and that's fine, right? But this is something that we can't just wait on. They are doing it now. And unless someone stands up and says, hey, this is a really bad idea to let these people in positions of influence in the Democratic Party because they're going to push us away from good policy, liberalism in general. And also, I personally think it's going to be a gift to MAGA, right? They're going to just run ads about how, look at the far left, and how they're cozying up with Hassan Piker, and they'll be able to put together some really, just like, of all his clips of him calling Jews all sorts of bullshit things, right? Of him going off on these misogynistic rants, of him doing all these, like, awful, awful things, and saying these awful, awful things. And they'll put pictures of him, right, hanging out with Ro Khanna and all these other kind of politicians, Bernie Sanders, AOC. I think we just don't, like, that's going to hurt us immediately. And part of fighting Trump is fighting Hassan, in my opinion. But go ahead.
That progressive victory thing is going to be one of the most ridiculous things that we've seen in years. I can guarantee you that. Like, he usurped that, like, he accused everyone who was in there, including, I think, 2 of you in here who have been part of that organization, right? And he accused you all of being, like, black money, Zionist, conspiracy, whatever the fuck bullshit. He usurped this organization. The first thing they do with its account is beef with people for his fucking personal vendetta. He subverted a fucking policy org just so he could use it for his personal vendettas. It's going to be ridiculous.
That's not the first thing they did with it. The first thing they did with it that I saw was they made an excuse for why Hassan openly doxed people that were part of that organization, which is something that Hassan, he was going over a Bad Banana video that had the public filings of the addresses of a bunch of people that were part of Progressive Victory. And Hassan went over it, and then the PV account came out, and they did like an apology tweet for Hassan saying that it was actually their fault or something. It was ridiculous. But,
well, let me clear that up. I don't want to defend what Hassan did because I think it's unexcusable to show all those doxes. But what PV did specifically was say, and this was their fault in the first place. This is the reason it was out. They paid out of the wrong org. It was supposed to be, I think it was the LLC instead of the PAC, and they paid out of the PAC. And because it was the PAC, you have to then disclose all of the addresses and names of all the people you paid out to. And that was someone in their org that fucked up. Now Hassan capitalized off that and then made it worse by broadcasting it. So it's like, oh, you can't just say, oh, it's public, therefore it's not a big deal that now I have a stream of 20,000 people
if I may.
But I'm saying that PV did fuck that up in the first place.
PV, wait, real quick. PV might have made a mistake, but Hassan was aggressively and maliciously using that information to silence other political voices.
And that's what I'm saying. That is obviously worse.
Like if Hassan's mistake was 100, PV's mistake was like 5 or 10. Like it wasn't that.
Oh yeah, sure. That's the thing is he was able to amplify that into a much worse thing because despite the fact that it's public, it's like, yeah, I can find someone's public information.
Oh my god!
Looking for that. Like,
I don't think you say yeah, but then you go on and excuse the person who did 95% of the work. So you're saying everybody has to be perfect, and if we're not perfect, then he's justified in doing whatever he wants with it. No, fuck you. Fuck you, Soypill. That's not how it should work.
So he's one of the reasons why Orban was in power so long.
Coalitions are important. Republicans protect each other from literally everything.
Independent of Russian gas. He made that deal back in the day. And one thing that empowered Orban more than anything else was in 2006, a year after an
the money talks.
Election in Hungary that he barely won. A secretly recorded recording of him surfaced with meeting with his government ministers where they talked about how worthless they are, kind of bragged about how corrupt they were and all the corruption that they had gotten away with. And despite all this, he refused to resign. So we're used in our timeline, right? We're used in our day and age of people doing horrible things and not resigning, no consequences, etc., and getting away with it. Trump is a prime example of this. But there's also other examples. Ferenc Krishani refused to resign. For 3 years he stood in office. Then his own party forced him out. And he's the main reason why Viktor Orban back then in 2010 had this enormous election victory, because of Ferenc Krishani. He did this horrible corrupt thing, refused to go, stuck around for several years, and then finally he got voted out of office. And the reason why he then continued to help Orban is he refused to go. Instead of going quietly into the night, Ferenc Krishani formed his own left-wing party, divided the left-wing vote in two. He basically is the responsible party destroying the Hungarian left as a viable opposition to Viktor Orban and thereby keeping him in power for nearly 2 decades. And this is also sort of a scenario that you have to keep in mind. With certain people who are just really nasty, really horrible, and cling on to power no matter what, right? But they're optically awful and horrible. You will, over the long term, just make things infinitely worse for you if you don't just confront them. That's the point that I wanted to make an analogy with that. Sorry.
Yeah, and just to kind of piggyback off on that, like the fact that even after Hassan had abused the people that Progressive Victory were working with, right? It's creators that they had worked with and had made contracts with and had promoted and had, the creators had promoted Progressive Victory as well. To excuse the abuse that Hassan did is a betrayal. It was a betrayal, right? It was a betrayal, and it is a betrayal. And that is something to watch, again, an organization that saw a man abuse its members, call it dark money shills for Israel, spread all sorts of malicious hate and lies about it, which we had to deal with every day, just to kind of crawl back on their knees and beg for a crumb of clout for him is, I don't know the word for it, but it's kind of disgusting.
Yeah, suck my dick. Suck my dick. Fuck off. That's the only thing you have to say to someone like that. He can fuck off. He can take his little pack of idiots and ride off into the fucking sunset. I have no doubt about the fact he's going to destroy that organization. That Progressive Victory group, that's done. He's going to burn it into the fucking ground to serve his personal vendettas. And the only lesson that people like me and others here may have to learn from it is next time around when people like that come around, you always say no. You tell them to fuck off right away. Don't engage them. Don't have any illusions about working like people like that with people like that.
Well, I'll say this, the reason I still work with them, and I'm not sure how long that will be, depending on where they go, especially considering I'm seeing more tanky and Hassan's type stuff coming from them, is that they do promote candidates that I like, and I have yet to encounter, and this might be naivety from me, better organizations that take what they're doing and move and mobilize people with audiences like me in ways that I'm okay with. Like, for example, when they do work in the past, and I do like the work they did in the past, and I do know people that have been in charge of that stuff and have left the organization since, for example, Destiny's canvassing events that helped flip Georgia, those are the things that I have been, like, screaming for, and as soon as a better alternative exists, I think I could absolutely snap up on that opportunity, but that doesn't mean I won't hold my nose and potentially do something that I think is for the greater good, unless it's going to hurt in the long run, and I'm open to hearing potential hypotheticals for that.
Go ahead, Dev. You wanted to say something?
Yeah. I don't want this to just be like a mean 4v1 against you, Soypill, but
it was against me.
Okay, no. My criticism is a little bit different. Even though liberals and socialists, they're not really ideologically aligned, liberals and socialists are more ideologically aligned than liberals and MAGA are. So I do think that even though MAGA is the greater threat, and more liberal time should be spent critiquing MAGA, the more that you interact with socialists on a friendly manner, I think it's more dangerous, it's more toxic, it's more corrosive to the Democrat Party long term.
I know leftists who really had enough of him. Like, I am friends with leftists who, they're mostly volunteers in Ukraine, who are just so fucking fed up with him. And one thing that I know from talking to them, the thing that they all universally tell me when I talk to them is there is fear in leftist circles of speaking up against the Sandpiker. That they're scared of talking up against him. That it's basically only us who are able to do that. That he has completely taken control of the online left and sort of wrapped it around his fingers and points it. Like, he purged the online left as well. Let's not forget his buddy Bad Empanada. What did he do for the first few years of his online career? Not only did he target liberals, let's not forget he targeted leftists viciously. Viciously. People who some of us here might not even like. From Vaush to Merrick DeVille. Like, we shouldn't forget that either.
I will say you kind of have to be careful. You're giving Hassan a lot of credit there. It's not necessarily Hassan that's done it. It's that Hassan has kind of been the recipient or the beneficiary of this huge, like, online weird lefty ecosystem that's been set up. That he's now just basically getting to enjoy the benefits of being a part of that.
Okay, it's also possible that he's just the smartest grifter. I'll give you that as well. Yeah.
Well,
I
not
think
sure.
he kind of pioneered the field of, like, politics and video games on Twitch, so, like, that was all on his own, right?
But I'm saying, like, all the weird, like, obsessive, like, snarky, dramatic, like, doxing, like, the people that are swatting me over and over again didn't necessarily come from just Hassan's community. It's like this weird peripheral online tanky movement that has, like, so much influence in so many different online places.
He does seem to be kind of like their figurehead, though, like their chosen avatar, if you will. At least from my perspective.
And yeah, it's like...
Go ahead. He's aware of them when he weaponizes them, for sure, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
People always cringe when I say that, but it's like a Stalinist personality cult, where you can justify anything you do. It's like a fucking parody of a Stalinist personality cult. The dear leader, like, how many times have you encountered people who say, but he's such a great symbol of the left, he's such a great representative of the left, the dear leader this, basically. And I'm
Himbo Stalin?
Yeah, he's Himbo Stalin.
I think we're mostly in alignment of the things that need to be fought against, especially with someone like this subverting a leftist movement. I guess maybe Destiny, you can speak on this, because I think you've even maybe said this before. Do you think, and I'm going to shit on Dan a little bit, but just because he's like a prime example of this, some people do have like Hassan derangement syndrome. You were talking about things that you just don't need to, and spending a disproportionate amount of time on things that are not, hey, this is an important pushback against this movement in the left wing, but like, oh boy, look at this silly little thing he did that we can call out for a week, right?
Yeah, a little bit, but whatever Dan went too far on, Hassan does that on a regular basis, and you guys will give him a pass for it. I'm not entirely sure.
I won't give him a pass for that, but
you do though, because you're willing to work with him.
When am I willing to work with him? In what capacity?
Was that a serious question?
Yeah, like, do you mean like being on the panel with him? If Hassan said, I will start an org to... Huh, sorry?
Yeah, just one day ago. I mean, what do you mean? All the progressive people were there.
When he was on that panel, and Mike was, and all those people that I didn't like, I'm shitting on them in chat. I'm like, I don't like these people, but I'm willing to... Like, if there's like an Operation Barbarossa fucking type thing, where Hassan says, I'll pour $2 million into a canvassing event for Senate Democrats and general races, absolutely I'd work with him. But like, the question is...
that's a one-way street, right?
I don't think he will pull $2 million for...
No, I'm not saying he will, obviously, because I told him why would I do that.
They would never be willing to work with you. Like, Hassan's never jumping on a liberal project, ever.
Yeah, if I thought that working with Hassan could get my goals done better than not, did I not do it? And I guess that's my question, actually. That's not a definitive position I'm holding.
Well, I mean, like, so the counter question would be, let's say that tomorrow, okay, Fuentes is really upset about everything that Trump has done. He's joked about or talked about voting Democrat. Let's say that Fuentes starts up like a pro-moderate Dem coalition or whatever, fundraiser or whatever. Would you be part of that panel thing, org thing, speaker thing?
it would vehemently be speaking out against him, but if he's giving us money, it would be hard to turn that down.
Really?
Yeah, like if Elon Musk wanted to donate to the Democratic Party right now, I would probably accept the money and work vehemently
Well,
against
we're not talking about donations.
right?
We're talking about, first of all, Hassan didn't donate anything, so I don't know where that comparison's coming from. I'm just saying, like, a panel.
Actually.
Yeah,
Well,
what
it's
if they
definitely true.
what
But
if they
I'm
have
saying, like, if Fuentes made like a speaker panel and he called it "Progressive Destroy Trump Victory" or whatever, would you join it and participate in the same manner?
I guess not, but also to be clear, Hassan didn't make this panel. Hassan was invited on that panel.
Okay. Well, if Groypers made the panel and then Fuentes went, in the same way that Tankies made this panel and then Hassan went.
See, that's my issue is like if you could sell me that PV was primarily made of tankies. First, when I joined PV before they had a lot of like regime change stuff, it was people that explicitly, when asking me about my politics, said, as long as you aren't anti-electoral, we'll work with you. And I'm like, what do you mean by that? And they're like, Hassan, right? So that was the previous like admin of this group. And now it seems to shift a little more Vashi, which I'm not as happy with. But if they're like partnering with Hassan on a panel to be anti-war versus Hassan is a primary and member figurehead of this group and we are endorsing all of his politics, I think those are two different things. So if it was Hassan's audience primarily making this panel, I would agree with you in the same way that that would be analogous to Groypers doing it. But when it's people that would like invite him on, I think that's a little different.
Well, Soypill, do you believe that your interaction with this group is better overall for the liberal project than it is for the socialist project?
Yes. I think the candidates that are being endorsed and given money to overall are people I'm happier with. Like I like Oliver Larkin, I like Rokana, but Oliver Larkin does go on Hassan's stream, right? And then they have people like Mike from PA and Hassan on this panel. I'm like not happy with this. They have some candidates on there that were saying some pretty wild shit that I'm like, not really happy about this. And that's why actually when people are posting that link that's like the hey, go donate, that stuff is distributed equally to those candidates. And I said, guys, if you like a candidate on here, don't donate to that. Go find that candidate and donate to that. Don't do it equally.
I don't know. I'm not sure that I can support a candidate willing to work with Hassan, frankly. So any of these people who are going on in stream and having
would you vote for Bernie Sanders? He's now had multiple appearances with Hassan.
I did actually vote for Bernie.
Now would you?
Probably not. No.
Okay.
It would depend who's running against. Like, I want to be very clear. Any of these motherfuckers opposing JD Vance, I'm voting for them, right? Like, because JD Vance
in
is
general,
such
sure, but in the primary,
bad...
let's say it's Bernie versus like the most like center left possible, probably farther away from your politics than Bernie would be, right? Like Bernie is worked with Hassan, he's buddied up with Hassan.
Yeah,
that's not enough for me to purity test and say I'm never going to vote for this person who aligns with me on all these other things.
Again, it really depends on you'd have to look. It's like fact-based question you're asking me, right? Because
right, but now you're introducing the nuance that I'm talking about, right? If
but in general, as a rule of
thumb, all his views, I'm not going to vote for them.
But just real quick, as a rule of thumb, I'm saying that if you are willing to work with Hassan Piker, then you are probably not on my team, right? You are probably more than likely going to be against a lot of the things that I stand for because you're willing to put up with a level of anti-Semitism, you're willing to put up with a level of harassment, you're willing to put up with a level of just communist brain rot that I think would, if we accept it in, it's like ingesting poison. It will eventually kill us. It may make you feel good at first, but it's eventually going to kill you.
This is to me, unfortunately, and I don't want to make all these things seem equal because they're not. I think that Hassan's politics are like really bad. But like this is to me like every time.
Wait, just real quick. It's not just Hassan's politics are really bad. His personal behavior and everything is deplorable. It is the worst.
I'm getting into that, but that's less bad for me than the politics, which are like I think are destructive to democracy.
I feel like Hassan's got more harassment in this sphere than almost any other.
I'm not saying they're good. I'm saying if I had
hold on, let Destiny go to Kraut. Let Destiny to Kraut, then Soypill. Go ahead.
I don't know where that's saying, but I'm not saying they're good, right? If I were to say, this guy went to murder your dog to cut his throat, would say, well, I wouldn't say that behavior. You're saying no, the behavior is deplorable. I think Hassan has probably been responsible for more harassment for anybody like in the center left sphere than probably maybe any other single individual on the internet.
The thing I was about to bring up was like whenever I appear on screen with you, I get so much shit for all of the accusations against you, the doc stuff, like any and all behavior you participated in the past. And like the thing is, I'm willing to say.
Wait, real quick, who do you think that comes from though?
It might be Hassan's community.
Yes,
sure,
it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, correct.
That's how much of this I don't know how much of this is legitimate criticism or not, but my issue is I value your politics and your movement far more than I do potential accusations and how true any of these things are. And so when I hear the stuff of like, oh, hey, Hassan is a deplorable person, it's like, yeah, in a lot of ways I agree with this. Like this is just obviously true. But how much am I willing to use this person in the same way he's trying to use us to promote my goals? And it's like if you could show me that this is more harmful to my movement, that's when I change my mind.
Well, hold on, wait,
I don't
think so much.
You want to out Hassan? Is that what you're saying?
It's not we're saying that like the personal behavior is bad insofar as like there might be some misgivings about how they conduct like whatever. It's that Hassan will directly attack people like in these communities. Like, would you still be willing to work with me if you found out that the mean messages you get when you come on my stream are me messaging my fan base in like another Discord saying like, hey, you guys need to go and harass the fuck out of the Soypill. Fuck this guy.
I honestly would. I honestly like that. Would honestly.
Wait, in this case, you have to acknowledge when you're having these conversations that you are way outside of the norm and that your opinion is not worthwhile. Most people will not tolerate that type of behavior. That's an insane thing for the average content creator, politician, or whatever to deal with. Is another huge content creator that is actively, and I don't mean like by way of having a disagreement or whatever else, but is directing their community to directly go and harass another person. That's a really out there behavior.
No, it is. But first of all, wait, I earlier address this. One,
Destiny,
I already get so many DGers in my fucking DMs telling me to fucking kill myself, and not because you told them to, by the way. I know that's not it, but just because of like just disagreements that you and I might have. But two, like, tell me if this is not true. Have you not doxed people on stream before?
Yeah, people related to Justical?
I don't know who or why. It doesn't matter what your justification is. My point is that like you've done things that I would say I don't think that's okay, and I'm sure you could find examples.
Okay, all right.
But I'm not trying to make these things equivalent. What I'm saying is like if you're saying, oh well, now I can never ever do anything with this person because it's a tacit endorsement of everything they've ever done.
No one even said that. No one was making it. It's not endorsed behavior. It's about collaborating with people that are actually trying to destroy the other people in your space.
Yes.
Like that's a very simple thing. It's not like somebody said a bad thing and now you're doing something. It's like Hassan will actively try to destroy people in this space. Like you were on, well, not at the same time, but Dylan Burns was on there, okay, a guy who we've all watched. I think we all are personally friends with, or at least I am friendly with, right?
Yeah.
Hassan called this guy a war tourist, okay, a war tourist, all right, and was regularly roasting him.
Okay, and why do you think Dylan was on it?
Probably because Dylan had he wanted to talk about the Ukraine issue, because I've seen
do you think it's better that Dylan went on there and promoted good messages despite the fact that Hassan was on that panel?
You just totally said what I brought up, though. I'm just saying that Hassan is will personally try to destroy using personal, and not like these are just political.
But the whole thing is you're criticizing me for potentially working with him, which was being on a panel that he was on as well. Dylan was as well. Dylan has even more personal beef because of what you just described, and yet said, you know what, I think I can do more good introducing a liberal pro-Ukraine message, especially with all the anti-Israel shit in that panel. It's like, hey, look, I'm actually talking about other anti-war things that matter. And I think he did more good doing that.
I want to make it clear.
Oh fuck, Hassan was really mean to me. I'm not going on this.
Yeah, I want to make it clear. Yeah, but just real quick. I don't know. Like maybe I'm separating myself from Destiny here, but I am not criticizing you or Dylan for still working with Progressive Victor. You do what you think is best for your goals and things like that.
And to be clear, if you can make me compelling argument of why this is ultimately more detrimental, I will stop doing it.
Just let me finish, right? That's not why I'm here today. I'm not here to deconvert you from Progressive Victor. That's not the point of what I'm talking about. I just want people to understand what is happening because, as Kraut said, Hassan has subverted that organization, right? Or Hassan fans, right? Maybe not him directly, but has subverted that organization.
Basing that off of Destiny, you know Jonah, right?
Yeah.
I'm very trustworthy of him and know that he knows the internals of this. And to my knowledge, there's not some tanky subversion pro-Hassan movement in this thing, despite some things you might see that do come out of Progressive Victory. And have you been led to believe that?
Grim? Ryan fucking Grim, the guy who's been cheering the Russian invasion from the start. He's not tanky adjacent.
Wait, just a second. Are you saying that Jonah has come out and publicly said that?
I don't know if he's publicly said that. I'm asking if you've talked to him about it.
Okay, I won't quote any individual person, but that entire organization has been completely and totally subverted. Yes, every center-left liberal has been excised from that org, and it is exclusively socialist and tankies now. Yes, I know that 100% true.
I've heard.
But I mean, I shouldn't even have to say that very obvious just by looking. No, you haven't.
I literally am talking to Jonah right now, in chat. So whether or not that's true, I'm not saying you're wrong or lying or something. I'm saying I have heard differently.
Yeah, Ryan Grim is on there. That guy, the night the fucking tanks rolled into Ukraine, his fucking nasty lectures and how all of this was the Americans' fault, that the Ukrainians won't last and should surrender, fucking seared into my memory. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy.
Well, I guess Soypill, the way that I would look at it is if you think you can do good by interfacing with these guys, go ahead. But if you turn around and suddenly your community is 80% tanky, you should probably double think it, you know?
I don't think.
And that's what's going to happen, too.
We'll see. Wait, Kylo, back me up here.
I'm not accusing you of that.
No, you don't have to.
Hey, not so hard.
Hey, Erudite.
Hi, what do I back up on what?
Primarily tanky right now?
I would say so.
If you have Ryan Grim.
Yeah. Did you see my beautiful spectrum of the left?
You're saying goes in your chat. I was just in a meeting with Jonah 3 hours ago. It is a primarily tanky org. Yes, I don't know what he's saying in your chat, but yes, 100%.
I'm going to read you Jonah's words verbatim.
Okay, read them, yeah.
You are conflating tankies and socialists. Socialists, yes. Tanky, no. It's pro-electoral socialist.
It's yes.
Democratic
there are
socialists.
definitely pro-electoral socialists, and there are definitely probably accelerationists that would love to co-opt the socialist space.
Sure, those people are in
Can you tell me what exactly the point of democratic socialism is? If the only thing you get to vote for is who's on your firing squad?
Two purposes. Number one, you can be a communist without having to outline your power level. Number two, it's for coward communists who don't really actually.
Hold on, just real quick.
Okay,
we have Jonah. We could bring Jonah on and ask him.
I keep telling him he should come on and clarify this,
Okay,
but I don't
Oh boy.
Okay.
Oh, hey, there we go, buddy. That was my favorite.
Okay, now that you're here in the hot seat.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to be here for very long, but yeah, basically, I describe tanky as pro Russia, pro China when it comes to China Taiwan. That is not the position of the leadership, as I understand it.
That's what
They're
tankies
socialists.
So you're not MLs then?
We're
You're not
talking
MLs?
about leadership. We're
talking
talking
about
about
Hold on. Yeah, one at a time. Go ahead, Destiny. We weren't talking about the
socialists.
leadership. We're talking
Yeah.
about the people they're working with.
No. We weren't talking about people working with. We were talking about the organization has been subverted by Hassan and his movement. That's what was said.
Yeah,
They're clearly working with tankies. They're working with
I think
Hassan.
it's Vosh's audience more than it's Hassan's audience in PV.
It's entirely Vosh's audience.
Yeah, I figured. But
Yeah.
Vosh is a tanky.
Or as close as you can be
I
without.
don't know. I haven't
Is he?
watched
I would
Rush in a
say.
long time.
I don't think
Pretty
he is.
close.
I don't
Does he
think
want to
is,
get rid
no.
of private property rights?
Well, yes, he does.
That's
Yeah.
not what a tanky is.
That's
I
what
would
I
say
think
it's
is
definitely moving. Well, I didn't say that's a tanky, but it's definitely moving you in the tanky direction.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, but that's
Wait,
social.
how are we
Which
defining
we've
tanky?
done
Then?
is-
Have we done this?
When I think
Like
tanky,
Marx
I think
Lenin's, yeah.
USSR apologists, communist
And
China
ML?
is great, MLs, Lenin is good, Stalin is good.
Let me give an
Marxism,
example.
Well,
Let me
there's
give
direct
an
examples here. There's Ryan Grim, who ever since
give
the
an
first
example.
Russian tanks rolled in, has been on Russia's side. Yes, please.
Ryan Grim does not run Progressive Victory. I'll give you an example.
But you
There's a
promote
point
him. You
that-
have him on.
Do you want me to speak or I don't work for
Okay,
PV.
yeah,
I got
sorry.
ousted. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay,
Anyway,
Go ahead,
Sorry,
John.
that was too basic.
so yeah, I got ousted from that word. But for example, they're supporting Kat Abu Ghazaleh, or however you pronounce it, in the Illinois 9th congressional race. She had some position paper come out that was in the
How do you
event of
spell that?
figure it out. In the event of a Chinese invasion of Taiwan, that the U.S. should actively support Taiwan with weapons and whatever, right? That pissed off a lot of tankies online. They were like including Ryan Grim, who I agree is much closer to tanky than the average socialist or whatever. But they supported that and they were like, fuck these tankies. This does not change our opinion of her at all. We agree with her position on Taiwan. That is what I would see as if they were a tanky organization from the leadership, they would not have that position.
I don't know.
And
If
I'm
I
not
say
gonna
that I'm
out specific
against
people,
something,
but the leadership I know, like, I'm not gonna out specific people, but I know the leadership is pro-electoral and anti-tanky very explicitly.
but what I'm
Oh,
They're
that's the
socialists,
person.
but
She lost her primary, and then Hassan Piker ripped into her because that's because you supported Taiwan.
Also, I feel
Did
like
you
in
say
terms
that?
of their, in
I would
terms of
also
their-
disagree with that.
go ahead,
in terms of
Jeffrey.
their big names, I feel like it's the Israel thing that they care more about, and she was quick to ID some APAC-funded dark money group that was against her as well. So I'm pretty sure Israel is the big motivating thing for a lot of these
Totally.
weird
Is
types of people.
Vosh?
But I see
he's
Tanky
an
as-
ANCOM, right? Like he's an
Yeah, he's like
anarchist
an anarchist
communist,
libertarian
right?
or whatever.
I don't quite know what to
He's
do with the
also an ANCOM.
ANCOMs, mostly because they've just
He's-
like abandoned reality in a way.
Here,
that, like,
instead of like
NL haven't.
fixating
all
on-
anarchists do, actually, yeah.
He's also,
I agree.
he's also
Instead of fixating-
pro-Ukraine, right?
Instead of fixating on the weird labels, like here's the thing: is will they support Democrats in the general? That's like the main
I think
motivation
Vosh
thing.
is, right? I mean, you
Well,
literally
I think
can just
Richard Vosh
because
literally.
2020, right?
Wow, that's how many years ago was that? I don't know why that's
Well,
relevant.
maybe he won't do it anymore. Well, the reason I keep bringing it up is because like that's
Hold
why.
on, hold on, hold on, one at a time, one at a time, one at a time.
Vosh just literally said, I think he wouldn't vote for Gavin Newsom in the general because of his position on Israel-Palestine.
Oh, okay, well, that's stupid.
This is like Trump stuff. Wait, do you not see the
Well, I think-
the minimizing language? Wait, like they're like, oh, this is
Well,
stupid.
okay,
Oh,
sorry,
this is
what
dumb.
words
Oh,
did you want
that's
me to
bad.
use
Oh,
there?
this is
I'll
dumb.
agree with
No. You're saying it's not words, but it's like it's indicative of your state of mind because you keep doing this over and over and over again. Where anytime there's a bad thing about it, you're like, oh, I guess that's kind of bad. Oh, yeah, that's not great. Oh, yeah, okay, I guess. Like it's not a thing that.
Yeah, because
motivates
I'm
you
more
to think about
aligned with people on this side, but it's like if you're going to be anti-electoral to say I'm not going to vote for Gavin Newsom in the general, it's like yeah, you're not really part of my movement then. Sure.
The point
Well, I
is
think one
that
of
wait and see if PV is going to do exactly that, and if they do, criticize them, call them tanky, call them no better than the DSA or whatever. But the idea is that you can shake your head, Wick, but the idea is that there is no proof that when there is a competitive race, which there will be this year, and you will see them support the Democrat in the election in a competitive Senate race, competitive House races, you will see that happen this year.
My
And if
worry.
you don't, then I'll join you in hating PV.
My
I
worry
have every reason to.
if I may
Yeah,
just
wait,
now let's go, Eric.
let me add one thing.
Shut up. Shut up. Okay, let me finish my thought, and then we got some people that also
Yes,
want
all
to
out. Go ahead, Wick.
My
Go
thought, right,
All out.
is I don't so much care what the leadership says they are. They are consistently promoting overwhelmingly a group of people who are anti-democrat, right? Who are
Wait, what do you know about that?
anti-liberal.
I just went to their account. They're literally retweeting Kato Fumador. What fucking reason do you have as a serious political organization to repost Kato Fumador out of all fucking?
Yeah.
California is so compromised.
Yes.
What the fuck is this? Only one U.S. Congress member does not take
No.
APAC money. That's like a blue
I don't
state.
want to hurt the
That's like
dog.
entirely going after what
Yeah,
the f-
and so they
like-
can say all they want. Oh, I support, like in the general, we'll support them. But if you spend the whole time just trashing Democrats all day, and then the day before the election or the week before the election, you're like, okay,
I
guys,
have
just
to.
vote for the Democrats. It's cool, right?
Wait,
We
this
have
is
to-
entirely to my point of why I'm willing to work with such an organization. If they do what they did, which this is literally the shit like that inspires me to like move stuff and criticize people like Hassan for not doing shit like this in the general, in runoff elections, in Georgia, and Senate races. Okay, let's go put money and people out there and make sure we win this. If they're not doing that this year, I'm fucking out. That's why I'm trying to do stuff like this. And so like the idea that
the
like if
knowers
there's
know.
one an alternative to this,
Yeah.
I would absolutely jump on that instead because they are half of these people they promote are people like you said, Kraut, and people are bringing them up. People I don't like, but half of them I do like. I do like Rakana. I do like Larkin. I like a lot of these people.
We
So
don't
it's
have
like,
to
all right,
guess. Soypill. We don't have to guess if they're gonna still advocate
know.
for the person they
They have
didn't like
plenty
because they did. No, they did this already. They advocated for someone else in the governor race in was it New Jersey. They really did not like was it Mikey Sherrill, and then they still made tons of calls for her after she won the primary. So, and that's not even in a competitive race. That's in a race that like we probably were going to win. So if they're doing
go
that in
ahead,
that race, like, they're going to do it in other races.
Okay, I think there's one thing. There's a couple things to keep in mind. Number one, the incentives, right? We need to be aware that anytime there's a progressive, more socialist camp within the Democrat Party, the main competitors that they will have in any type of election is in a blue state where they can run against Democrats. A progressive is almost never going to be running against a Republican. It's exceedingly rare. I think the only time we've seen states go from Republican to like socialist is Alberta with the NDP, and that was probably a fluke, right? So the incentive structure that we have to remember for progressives is their main competition is Democrats. It's us, right? And so I'm not opposed to people working with. I don't really care that much. I think one of the things that we need to be aware of when we're working with socialists is we have to be very clear that we're not in the same camp. If they want to take away private property rights and we don't, we can work with them on certain aligned goals, like getting a Democrat instead of a Republican. But we have to be aware at all times that when we're working with them, we are conferring them power, and there are certain powers that they would want to utilize that we are diametrically and vehemently opposed to, and most moderates that would vote for us are vehemently opposed to. So I think that this is something really, really important to keep in mind. I guess to speak to progressive victory, I think the biggest issue that's happened here is that it in the federal election was dominantly floated and supported by liberal content creators and social spaces, dominantly being Destiny's community, but a couple of other communities as well that were also liberal. And it's so quickly flipped hard on them and kind of denounced them and pushed away liberals in a way that I think is extremely distasteful. And it is exactly what we should expect from spaces that get captured by socialists, which is why you can work with them, but you need to be aware that you're basically in bed with the devil, and you need to be very cautious about it, because if you're fundamentally opposed to certain rights being removed, like property rights, they're opposed to you necessarily.
Any other questions for me before I leave?
Not for me.
All right, cool.
Bye.
Anything else?
Love
to say?
Love you.
How many Israeli shekels did you get paid for the showing? Ah, he's gone. I knew he would run away.
Of course he did.
Into the tunnel with he.
But yeah, I think Erudite kind of hit it on the nose. The socialists aren't competing
Uh-huh.
against MAGA.
Oh,
They're
no.
competing against Democrats for the same space. They want control of the apparatus, the institutions that Democrats have built and set up, and they can't get it from Republicans, but they can
think
get it
that-
from Democrats, and they will
I
absolutely.
think that might be true in some blue states, but I'm not convinced that this is true overall. I had conversations a while ago with someone who works in like a policy think tank. He probably hates to bring this up or him up. So he told me that there's a chance actually for the first time in decades to turn a substantial amount of Utah blue. because the Mormon community is at this point just completely disgusted with Trump. Just the complete moral debauchery and everything. And there's that more and more Mormons in Utah vote blue, and there's a chance that you could potentially even flip the state or something. But you're not going to flip that fucking state with someone like a Hassan Piker. So it's varies from region to region. You have to go from district to district, from state to state, look at what local voters want, etc., etc. If you run a Hassan Piker candidate in Texas, in Utah, you're just inviting yourself to lose. I mean, yeah, maybe there's a socialist who stands a chance in a place like Maine, Massachusetts, etc. But just they want everything or nothing. They don't strategize. Everything or nothing.
Here's my question, because obviously, Kyla, I agree with the idea that like these people's opponents are Democrats. They're running in mostly safe blue districts because they're never going to win in the competitive one.
Yeah.
Is there a liberal alternative group that excises people like this that is doing the same stuff that I am attracted to, which is mobilizing online audiences and communities?
No, because it's co-opted by people like you who always say we should work with tankies and socialists.
People like me, dude.
Well,
You
there's
did
two
it in
things.
2020.
There's
That's
two
what
things.
inspired me to join it, dude. Come on.
There's two things. Number one, liberals is dominantly, especially so like yes, Destiny, you're this like liberal alternative like dark space that's always been like woke and whatnot. But the dominant liberal actual like space has been filled with a lot of academic types who have been too afraid to stand up to socialists because they're very cowardly. Liberals just like want to stay in their institutions and be safe, and they've got the best policy. And I love liberals. They're very cowardly, right? And so what they did is they shook hands with the socialists because the socialists were cool, and then they said to everyone, "We're just like them," and they were fucking lying the whole time. And that's a really big problem. So they did get it co-opted, but in part it got co-opted because liberals are terrified of supporting each other and we're terrified of pissing off socialists.
Well,
we're afraid to lose that base.
Yeah, just to kind of, I see it just a smidge differently. Because before 2016, it wasn't like this as much. There was some. But what happened when Trump won the first time is that liberals legitimately got scared. They thought they had it in the bag, right? They thought Clinton was going to win, right? They thought, okay, we have a formula. Obama had already won twice. We know what to do. We know how to handle these things. We have a great pitch. The people love it. We are going to win. And when they didn't, it shocked them, and they made a deal with the devil in a lot of ways, because there was these socialists, these kind of tanky types in the wings who'd always been kind of trying to get power in the space, and they said, you know what,
branches will knock me off the horse. Good to know.
And we let them into positions of influence, and we started listening to them. But then, other than that, I agree with what you said. A lot of liberals became scared to kind of stand up to them, and now we have a problem. Right?
Huge problem. Okay. A huge problem, and the answer isn't clear. Like the answer isn't never working with them. Obviously,
it sounds like it is.
I think it is.
No,
it is.
There is no other world where anybody would be okay with a group of people who are explicitly saying, we want to come in, we want to co-opt and destroy your movement, we want to do everything we can to funnel more people to our extreme side, and we're not going to support you in the general. And then, like,
hold on. Let me clarify what I mean.
Candidates in the general for competitive districts. I'm not talking about Santos. I'm talking about Vox. He says the same thing about Governor Newsom. I'm talking about PV that is putting this money behind mobilizing people to get Democrats elected.
Liberals should abandon PV, if I'm being frank. Like that would be my position. Hassan,
please give me an alternative organization that's doing what they're doing.
I don't
like,
have.
I will join if you have a better one. That's what I'm saying. Like, what is your prescription for someone like me who is like, I don't like these people. I don't want to work with them. However,
what is the current PV doing, or what is the thing we're looking to emulate or whatever?
A collectivized group of
phone banking, canvassing, door knocking, and
wait, have they done that? Did they do that much? Did they do that much once they became like tankified?
I don't know what the milestone of when that happened was, but if they're not going to do it, but Jonas says there's already plans to do said thing. They just did this in a governor's race. That's what he brought up. Like, it sounds like they're still doing it.
They've been doing phone banking since before liberals joined and after liberals have been pushed away, just to be clear. And when I say don't, like, well, you have to work with them, I mean, you do have to work with some socialists. You just do. I'm not talking about tankies. I think the fact that people work with Hassan and Vosh, I think the fact that Democrat candidates are literally slobbering at the mouth to go on Hassan's stream is a huge part of the problem.
Well,
it just is. Well, there's a lot of Democrats who
I don't
want
think
to
this
go on
is
Hassan's
bad.
thing.
Yes, he worked with Vosh in 2020 in a project I agree with, right?
Yeah, but that was before. First of all, that was when Vosh was willing to like kind of be more electorally minded. Number one, number two. If you remember back in those days, remember when I did the panel with Vosh and Emma literally said, "This is all a waste of time. We have no influence anyway." And now she's super gung ho and excited because she's got a bunch of other tankies on panels with her, and now they're excited to drive like influence in that direction. So I mean, like we can go look at all the people invited. Like these are all like pretty hardcore, like single issue Gaza genocide, like both sides of the same type voters. Like
all of them.
I said most of them. We can look at all the people on the panel. Most of them are probably like that. We can go back and recount up all the people. But like 90% of that PV thing was like about Israel. Like that's almost the only.
Yeah, very Israel brain, and I agree with you there. But it's like, okay, if I'm gonna look at like the majority report and disagree with like not a lot, maybe like 30 to 40% of like Emma's takes, and still say, hey, these people are still electoral. These people are still promoting good policy. These people are still trying to get the general, like promoting Kamala. They're gonna promote Gavin even if it happens. Like I don't agree with Matt. Matt's like super tanky, but like Matt's the guy in the back who doesn't even have a camera. Like, do I just write these people off completely? And if so, where do I put my energy?
If you feel like
I'm not gonna tell you what to do.
If you feel like you agree with about like 50% of what Emma says, then you're probably on that team. That's like the side that you're on. But then I just don't know why you either don't recognize it or you're also not on. Or
do you think?
Emily is easily one of the most retarded people in media right now. If you're like agree with
that, true. Yeah, Emma Vickens. But I want to hear from Kraut because
the sword I fuck right out.
Kraut, please, I need to address this because like, okay, Destiny, I know you've moved further away. And I think Sam has moved a lot further left in ways that I don't like. But like Sam Cedar of Majority Report, like you respect, I respect definitely as someone who like I think is very well read and analyzes these things mostly with a pretty level head. And if it's like, all right, if this guy's promoting it, I usually agree with most of this person's takes, if not, you know, like
no, I don't feel about any of the Majority Report. No,
not at all. Like, completely flipped on Sam.
Yeah, 100%. You can't have that many bad people around here for that long, and then like have none of the
like
yeah, that's just insane. Yeah, there's a reason why.
Well, it's wild to me that like I think if anything, my view of this is similar to your your description of how this has gone, which is Sam has taken a bunch of positions I don't agree with over the years and has moved farther away from where I would agree with him back maybe 2018 time. But to say like, hey, I used to really respect you, and now I have 180, I don't agree with a single thing that you're talking about or promoting. I just think that's insane. Like that's not. I want to give
it to Kraut, and I gotta use the restroom real quick, so I'll be right back. So Kraut, go ahead.
And I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, don't worry.
Yeah, fucking
Fuck,
run,
where was it?
bro.
Since you brought up Sam Cedar, he also did this thing of blaming the Russian invasion of Ukraine on NATO expansion and blah 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 blah. He also did that thing.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
all
he also did
America. All of those people are like they hate the West, hate America.
Yeah.
Everything that is related to it is like evil and bad and terrible.
I think what I wanted to tell you is I see no obligation for people like the way all of this transpired, this takeover of Progressive Victory, and the first thing they did, right, was not like you keep talking about as if this was a policy organization, but one of the main reasons why we're talking here, certainly the reason why Wick invited me in here, was because the first thing these people did was turn around and attack their enemies. The first fucking thing they did was going after their personal vendettas, etc. It's the only thing they fucking do all the fucking time. And when you keep saying this thing where you say, oh, you need to work with people anyway, even if you have disagreements, this isn't just about disagreements. These are people who like talk about the way they engage with us is not a disagreement. It has the goal to have us annihilated. Their goal is to annihilate the center-left, to annihilate the center in general, to drive it out of the political conversation. And as someone who is in the center, I see no reason to engage with someone like that, no reason to work with someone with that, even if there is some sort of supposed common goal. And I can't even think of what the common goal supposedly is right now.
Okay,
Because I don't see many common goals.
And this is a question for you and Erudite.
Can I pose a question just because I barely underdog?
Men are talking. Go
And
ahead.
I know my mic is soft. I'm just genuinely curious your guys' thoughts because I don't think I actually know the answer, and I don't think it's obvious that there is a super clear answer. When you guys think about like how to party with, when I look at the right, for example, like MAGA, there's a lot of like unions that got built, even though we're now seeing they're actually very opposed to one another and they have a lot of issues, right? And I understand MAGA's super retarded, we all hate them, blah blah blah, all the things that you guys need to say, like yes, we fucking hate MAGA. The question that I would have is essentially, is there some level of like political unification on the left, of like activating the left, that has to happen where we do have to essentially break bread to some degree with people who are enemies? My question would be, but should you just keep in mind that there are enemies? Are there certain people that we can work with that are in like the retarded socialist hate America?
Look at the MAGA coalition. Look at the MAGA coalition. They never emphasize their disagreements.
Yes, and also they defend all of
experts.
themselves. They defend all of themselves no matter what. They're always got each other's backs, and they all support the candidate. That's the difference. On the left, these people do not support the candidate. Like you can't have like there's just no serious political commentator that was not like valiantly advocating to vote for Kamala Harris in 2024. Like anybody who's not on that page like shouldn't have a voice in any left-leaning movement unless we're like 12 or something, right? Unless we're a literal trial, like it's insane.
I agree with that. Now my question is, if I'm someone who's trying to emulate the type of stuff you did in 2020 and say, look, now I have an audience, now I have money, now I want to do something and actually get Democrats elected, and there's this organization that I should not work with because they have people like that in it, or work with people like that. What do I do with all that time, money, and energy if I can't form my own organization without the money?
I got
or
a
the time
potential
or the
answer for you.
logistics? Go ahead.
A buddy of mine says that there is a alternative to Progressive Victory, and he wants to give a quick pitch for it, right? So I'm going to bring him on, and he can maybe pitch it to you.
Sure.
Hello, Trace.
Oh boy.
Yeah, what's up, Wick?
Yeah, you got something to pitch to Buddy Soypill because he's asking for alternatives here. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I would say you should go to digitalgroundgame.org. It is an organization run by a lot of us who actually did the PV program in 2024, and we're looking for no shade or flame on PV necessarily, but looking for more of a center-left way to do similar kinds of that work, mobilize online communities, streamers, do canvassing, stuff like that. It's pretty awesome. If you want to check it out, digitalgroundgame.org. We've got a Discord where everything happens.
Is this a Z's thing?
No, it is not. It is, I know, a very unfortunate name. It is, it's completely different. It's very similar. Z's is a national ground game. Ours is a digital ground game. They're very similar names, and we love Z. We're great friends, but it is a totally different thing. We're all about organizing online communities, whether that's getting them to go show up to their local things, like we organize lots of people to go to No Kings, or get involved with local Democratic parties, or more big things like canvassing events, canvassing houses, things that you've seen from sort of this online space previously. So if anyone wants to get involved, we're always more than happy to have more people.
Add me on Discord, send me a message. Yeah, this is a better alternative. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I've been asking for. But
yeah. Thanks, Flo Trace. We're gonna let you go now.
Yeah, appreciate it. Have a good one.
Bye. Go ahead.
So should our only relationship with anyone, I guess, where's the line of where we would say, at this point, this person is shown to be so caustic that we can't? Is it not getting behind the dominant candidate?
I'm going to draw this line.
Does the candidate have to be Gavin Newsom, or are we?
It literally doesn't matter who the candidate is. None of that was a consideration for people on the right. Every single person, you cannot name, even the centrist people were supporting Donald Trump. Nobody was. Are
you talking about people on social media now? Or are you talking about candidates?
No, I'm saying.
No, you. I mean, right? Sorry.
I'm asking.
Drawn a line of association.
Yeah, I'm asking which social media creators, specifically, we should be associating that.
Okay, the line that I've drawn is that everyone who in any capacity promoted bad empanada can burn in hell.
Oh, sure. I think that's good. But the issue is that's probably not actually as far as Destiny is drawing it, because there's probably a lot of people that don't support bad empanada.
Yeah, but I also don't have a lot of space to carry shit right now.
That don't like bad empanada, that are somewhat like still masturbatory about like being anti-American, or like are very negative towards Gavin Newsom or any other strong like.
I still have to encounter that person. Another line I would draw is Ukraine. Everyone who is on, that's probably because it's more closer to me. Everyone on the wrong side of the Ukraine issue can go to hell. And basically, how you treat your opponents. I mean, one of the
what do you mean by that? Can you elaborate on that bit?
Well, one of the greatest things about being a liberal is that it's universalist. It's seeing the humanity in your opponent, seeing the humanity in those you disagree with, appreciating disagreement. And when you look at like the Hassan sphere and the general sort of vicious, toxic leftist sphere around him, they obsess only with enemies and how to annihilate their enemies. That's not like anyone who thinks in those ways, anyone who engages politics in these ways, who only draws the distinction between enemy and friend. Nah, Fuck
So
that.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I think that that's a really easy line, and I'm completely comfortable. The issue is that my suspicion is that there are more people that probably Destiny is suggesting that you don't work with, I could be wrong, that wouldn't fall into that category, that are maybe less caustic. But if you, like, for example, typically one of my biggest lines is, do they want the eventual erosion of private property? Then I don't really think that they're on my team. The issue is that
Why only private property? But you have this funny thing with that. What is it with you and private
it's a
property?
pretty good rule of thumb. It's usually a pretty good rule of thumb. Usually people who are going to be anti-private
Oh,
property just,
cryptic.
are going to be fundamentally like pretty open to tanky stuff. I just like find it's a good rule of thumb. That's all.
Okay.
And it's a policy I'm very opposed to.
I think we all have
Okay.
these. I might have even more kind of lines, but there's a different. I just also want to make a distinction between a difference between, like, anyone who wants to vote for my candidate, I will take your vote. It does not matter. If you want to vote for them, cool. But when it comes to working with you, I have a much higher bar than. Am I willing to collaborate with you? And I'm not just talking have you on the same stage as me, because I can have people I disagree with all the time, and I do have people I disagree with all the time that I would never work with, but I will engage with.
What's
But
going on?
if you want me to collaborate with you and to go to your event, to promote your event, to basically be a figurehead or be part of whatever thing you got going, you do have to be liberal in nature, right? At least for me. And yeah, that's my line. I don't know what everyone else. What about you, Mr. Soypill? What are your lines? Where would you say I'm not going to work with this organization anymore?
I think definitely one of the lines, I don't know if it's the threshold, but one of the lines is if you're unwilling to support the Democratic candidates in the general because it's not your preferred, sock dem sock candidate or whatever the fuck they're trying to push in the primary, then you don't support us. You're just using us to support your candidates and then dipping immediately. I think Hassan clearly has indicated that he would do that, clearly, like, based on all the rhetoric. So that's someone, like, if it was his org, then it's like, well, I know you're not going to help us when push comes to shove. But it seems like PV is going to do this, or at least has been doing it, and if they stop doing it, that's definitely a line.
What does it mean if PV is willing to do it, but if 80% of the people they work with aren't? Doesn't that just mean when it comes time for PV to rally support in the general, they're just not going to get any support for it?
If that's what I see happening, then yeah.
By then it's too late. Wait, when you keep saying if that's what is happening, by that point it's too late. You have to be able to evaluate. Well, like if you like,
if I had to choose between an org that could do something else, then yes.
No, I'm saying if it was 5 months working with PV, and then by the very end of, like, we're coming up to the general for the primary or for the midterms, and it's like, oh shit, these guys aren't backing anybody else. I made a mistake. At that point, it's too late.
What have I lost by contributing energy and time to them?
By contributing energy and support to people who are actually pushing for Democrats to win in the general.
Right, but if they didn't win, and if they're not going to help my candidate, and if there was no better alternative to me, ultimately it was a fruitless effort. But I haven't, like, made a choice that fucked me. It was just, oh, it turns out you're disingenuous. I'll never work with you again. But if it was I had to choose them over an org that was actually going to do what I wanted to accomplish, that would be the lost opportunity.
Okay, so it's the thing is that there's no other conceivable place where you can put your time right now besides an organization
Until this DG digital ground game thing was brought to my attention, there wasn't a clear path forward here. And now it seems like, okay, yeah, if it's a zero-sum game between dedicating my time and energy, I'm definitely picking the one where I'm 100% sure they'll vote for the Democrat and push for the Democrats and has an audience that'll promote that Democrat in the general. Then apparently this one, who you're skeptical of, but I've yet to see evidence that they won't do that.
What was the example that guy gave earlier about, what was it? Let me look at this race that Jonah gave.
Governor's race in...
I don't remember the which state it was the governor's race in. No, but he talked about phone banking, and to me, phone banking just isn't enough. I don't know. That's me, but whatever.
Well,
what
sure.
are you eating?
I'm curious, is there anything? Is there anything on, like, PV's, like, Twitter or anything about them promoting this at all? Like, is this anywhere? Did this actually happen in a meaningful way, or?
The
I'm
general?
double checking.
Yeah. This was an example that was brought up over and over again, like, oh, well, they supported this.
Sherrill.
Yeah, surely on their Twitter account they would have some support of her, correct?
I don't know. That's what I was asking. But I mean, I can check. It's okay. Continue.
Apparently you can't search on Twitter if you're permabanned, so sorry.
New Jersey governor. Their preferred person lost.
Yeah.
Who was the person that they were supporting
Cheryl
initially?
Still? I think
I don't know
Cheryl
who the
Still.
initial one was.
I don't know. Yeah, but
Look like
who
Mickey-
is-
Mickey-
hold on, let me
Mickey-
look.
Okay, so they had a I think I'm understanding this. They had a progressive candidate they preferred. That person lost, and then they made calls for the Cheryl Still. who
Mickey
I'm
Sherrill
assuming
is the New
one,
Jersey
right?
governor. Mickey Sherrill.
Mhm.
Yeah, do we see any promotion on their site? Do we see any promotion on their socials? Do we see any promotion of this?
Well, if they legitimately did phone banking, they might not have a ton of promotion. Unless we just think that they're
Yeah, but I
lying
can
about it.
point to you promotional material that they put out for the primary candidates, right? Like, so the primary candidates that were running recently in the election, I think in Chicago, I believe it was. Can we point to promotional material of a similar nature to Mickey Sherrill?
I can ask them.
Yeah, just
involved in this.
Diary.
I guess we're looking, we're searching, we're trolling the webs, gang. Okay.
I have no idea what any of you are talking about because I do not know any of these people.
Wait, you don't know Congress people like hockey guards and have all their stats memorized? How could you?
While we're looking for that, Kraut, did you have any other thoughts on what's been said so far, or the issues that have been brought up, or things like that?
What? What do you mean about, like, leftists, about tankies, about
working with
as a
them?
piker?
At what point would you? At what point
No,
won't
no
you, et
working.
cetera, all these things.
My reference point here entirely is history. Like, I think I told you before that my dad used to work with anti-communist dissidents in Czechoslovakia in the 1980s. So a lot of my views of who these people are and how they operate is shaped by, like, how like the way the communists came to power in Czechoslovakia was in 1948 through a coup in which they overthrew the government, and the way they gained the power to get into government was by consistently lying to the Social Democratic and the liberal parties in Czechoslovakia. They told them we're democratic, we're trying to achieve a liberal Marxism, we're trying to do this and that, we're moderating ourselves. They deliberately moderated themselves to get elected into power, to come into government, and then they quietly and secretly built up the secret police force, made lists of people, and then in February 1948 they did the coup and murdered everyone. And that's not just something that happened in Czechoslovakia, that's also something that happened in Hungary, where it was called salami tactics, and infamously conducted by Matyas Koshy, who then became the dictator of communist Hungary. Similar things also happened in Romania, in Bulgaria, in Poland. It's always the same. These people lie, subvert, and then as soon as they have power, they murder everyone. And that's literally what happened. As soon as they had power in Czechoslovakia, the first people they rounded up and had murdered were all the liberals and social democrats.
So I am seeing, just FYI, I am seeing them promote Mickey Sherrill.
I will say it's a little sarcastic. They literally say it's good enough after the preferred person lost. So it's definitely not a rousing support.
It's good enough.
I don't know.
Oh,
definitely would not have been how I promoted an event, but that's just me.
I mean, so it's there. We got to give them their flowers for that.
It is there.
What is it?
I'm curious.
I would criticize that as there were time limits on starting quests.
Did the TV people, did they ever? Now I understand that I'm persona non grata. Did they reach out to like Desire or BTC or?
I don't know anything about their workings. I have no idea. Do you want me to ask? The person I'm asking didn't even work with PV on any of these things. They just because almost everybody of that I think was like a recognizable like Democratic Party hater, super lefty person. Except for Mr. Beat. And
oh my gosh, is it a young Jordan?
What are your plans going forward? You're like Americans, except for
what up, buddy?
I can't pronounce your name. Sorry.
Nothing much. I'm about to throw my stream on.
That was Canadian too, actually.
Actually, I think I'm gonna troubleshoot kick. Finally, I need to do it. It's about dang time.
What to do with organization.
When it comes to the midterms,
engaging it like I'm not American. I can shit on
We're
these
watching
people. I'm going to.
WhickTV panel.
In particular, as long as they keep talking about Ukraine and keep talking bullshit about Ukraine. That's my plan for the future.
Oh, so what?
I mean,
once I get
question,
situated,
like
I'm going to begin aggressively debating
what's tactically effective for
every night.
There's no tactical effectiveness here because the people that are claiming to be tactically effective don't actually think the other side is that bad. Like the
Soypill means I definitely need to.
What they're saying,
I'm sorry.
What's a huge of a deal.
Hold on. I like Emma, which I not fucking.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
The fact that I can't believe if you go watch like the Majority Report now, I feel like you'd agree with like 78% of what Sam Cedar's saying. If you disagree with that, I think we should go test it. Like maybe I'm wrong, but I can't believe that you wouldn't.
Well, one of the issues with this argument is that even if we said that we agree with 70%, if the 30% that we disagree with is fundamental to like liberalism and like the things that we value as like the local
it's not even fundamental to liberalism. We can move away from ideology. It's a one-way street. That's the issue. All of these things are one-way streets. They will never ever come out and ardently support like a moderate Dem in the general. Like a lot of these people. Sam might, maybe, but whatever amount he does is completely and totally destroyed by all the people he's around. Dude, when there was that election, the series of like special elections, it was like 6 months ago, I thought that Emma was legitimately gonna kill herself on stream when all the moderate Dems were winning because you could tell how fucking hyped they were to see all these Dems lose because they weren't as fucking wacky far left as they wanted them to be. Like this girl, it seemed like she had to like triple up on her Prozac to survive that night. I'm not even joking. She was so upset. Like these people are not.
If that's true, I have to readjust my 70-30. But to be clear, I know they don't like moderate Dems, but I'm pretty sure they'd support them.
You can't. This is a dumb argument to have because everybody knows I'm intuitively correct. I don't know why I'm expressing this.
I don't. I'm not doing it because of that, but I genuinely don't get it.
You do because
I don't
apply this lens of thought to anybody else. I know you wouldn't. If somebody says, I want to get their healthcare,
I mean, Japan
public option. Okay, we're gonna fight it out in the primary.
Is already
we just can't come to an agreement. I'll support them in the general. That's a position that is believable that a person can take and can advocate for their audience. If your position is this person is pro-genocide, they're a pro-genocidal Zionist, ethno-religious supremacist supporter, pro-genocidal, pro-apartheid state piece of shit. It doesn't matter what your words are. Like you guys would have used all these arguments against the neo-Nazis in the past. Oh, we're not racist. Oh, we're not anti-Semitic. LOL, because we said it. We can self-ID as not being this thing. If you spend the entire time attacking the left from the frame of like they're genocidal apartheid supporters, it doesn't matter if you pay lip service to supporting them in the general. It doesn't matter.
Wait, if I say that I think that Kamala Harris
just real quick,
is promoting
what is
a
it that
genocide in Gaza, but I think it's absolutely imperative that we
I
vote for
agree.
Trump, is that an incongruent position?
If what?
If Kamala Harris is pro, like, destroying Gaza and genocide based on the policies that she's promoting, and that said, I think it's imperative that we vote for Trump, do everything in our power to stop Trump, because it's 100% going to be better. How are these
like the discourse and the way
how
it
the fuck are you
works,
going to vote for somebody who's pro-genocide? That's an insane position. At that
because
point,
it's impossible to look at the totality of America and its policies around the world and say, I'm going to purity test based on one thing, and recognize that there are better options no matter how bad you think someone is.
All of these people, Ryan Grimm and Emma and all these other people, is literally what they do.
Isn't this like a solvable question though? We just need to know, like, to what extent is the audience of Sam Cedar and Emma Vigeland, will they basically fundamentally always refuse to vote for like the broader party, or are they going to gripe? And I'm not saying that the griping and complaining again, because all that matters to me is tactics, right? Which is making sure that the left wins all of the upcoming elections and all these sort of things. And I agree with like kicking a lot of these people out of group. I've been a pretty staunch like kick the far leftists out. The question is tactically. For example, if you're a canvassing group, okay, so you're a DGGA and you're in Illinois canvassing for some moderate Dems. What if there's a socialist chapter locally that is willing to support you and canvass for your candidate? Will you work with them or do you cut them out?
This doesn't happen. I don't know why. Like, I don't even know if these people were willing to. Did the DSA pull their support from Abdani?
let's
like
just,
this idea.
I don't know
all
if
these
it's true.
far-left
I
people that
don't,
are
I
willing to
don't
go and
know.
hardly support general people. It's like
Hello?
like it's
I
fucking.
suspect it probably does happen some of the time, right? That
I don't think so.
that they will show. Yeah, I think even in the federal election, we had a number of people that came out that were like socialists who were still willing to get in behind.
No, we're talking about like the bigger figures, though.
We're talking about the leaders. Like I'm sure the liberals can get these people involved, sure, because some of them will, because the actual people, the audience themselves are not as radical sometimes as some of the content creators, or are willing to support another candidate.
I agree.
Like,
so then, is there benefit of? Are there some content creators that masturbate on being anti-America that essentially could be utilized as a way to pull them towards liberal causes that would be tactically beneficial for liberals? Does that exist?
No.
Whatever trade-off you're paying there, you're losing it to the whole like having all of your conversations held hostage by the same tired, retarded, fucking anti-billionaire corporate Dems. Both sides are the same anti-genocide Gaza talking points over and over again.
And if liberals actually get their shit together and start making major movements and start making major waves and having bigger political media figures that we can actually get behind and work together, I'm all for that. The question is tactically, as we're building that thing, is there going to be a point in time where you do get Soypill on more leftist spaces?
Those houses won't be built because all of them are owned by tankies that everybody's willing to work with. So those spaces can't even get off the ground.
The problem is we have a limited amount of time, energy, and resources to spend. And if we appeal to the Emma Vigland's audience or to Ryan Grimm's audience, for every person we might get, right, from appealing to them, we're going to lose 10 who see us appealing to them and are disgusted by it. These people are a cancer. They will.
It depends on what you mean by appeal, right? Because that's implying that I'm saying we have to like yes man their crazy policy.
Well, they won't work with you otherwise.
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily true for every single like leftist essentially content. I just don't know if that's actually true. I would assume that that's true for the large ones. I would just grant you that, right? But I'm asking for like the minutia. What if you've got a 120k leftist account that is willing to get behind the Democrats in the general election and is willing to talk with you, and you don't have to kowtow to everything? Are we able to?
I have to see that first. I'd have to see that first because that is not something that is out there right now. I do not see anyone out there who's willing to, like in that space, concede even a millimeter.
Can you think of one?
Hey, bud.
Off the top of my head, no, but I don't consume leftist content.
Yeah, I think all of
that's
us.
Well, hold on. But that my
have the
lack of finding
same
an example.
I understand.
point of
evidence
view
that
on
this
this
cannot exist,
particular
right?
issue.
Well, hold on, but you could probably name like 10 leftist content creators off the top of your head. It's problematic. You can't think of a single one, even if we don't consume leftist content.
There are a lot of things
I
that have
already
potential to
granted.
exist.
No. This has already been granted by me. I've already granted that I think the biggest ones are kind of write-offs. I think that this is a legitimate problem. This is why I would never work on an event that includes this. Not that he would ever work on one with me either, right? Like this, I've already granted. What I'm asking is like when you're getting to the minutia of like what this actually looks like, there is a tactical question where you go, if you're doing an event that is supporting a moderate Democrat and Sam Cedar is willing to come out and support that moderate Democrat in the event, do you allow him to come through or do you block him principally?
This is like a question that is beyond some doors that have yet to be opened, which is why I don't think it's worth considering. Like, if this is a good problem to have if we have socialist groups that are willing to campaign in the general that are pushing for more extreme stuff in the primary. But that's not where we're at. We're at in a primary. It's over and over again. All of these like socialist types saying you're going to lose every single time until you fully endorse our platform because all you are pro-genocidal, pro-apartheid, and that's why the Democrats keep losing and fuck Gavin Newsom over and over again. That's all these people are saying. Look at the response to the hypothetical that Hassan got over. No, it wasn't Hassan. It was between Hutch and Pisco or whatever. Over like, would you vote for what was it? Like Gavin Newsom or who in the general? Gavin Newsom or Hassan? It was like fuck. What was the origination of this? It was JD Vance versus Gavin Newsom. I don't remember who got asked this initially. This was Hassan.
Because we're talking about Hassan's thing, and this like, okay, Hutch, are you going to have the same position if it was Hassan versus JD Vance?
Yeah, like these are GED level political commentator questions. You obviously would support Newsom regardless of how progressive or socialist you are. If you have trouble answering that question, then your opinion and your participation in any Democratic movement should be wholly discarded. Democratic Party movement. You're just not part of the same team. Like the sooner we realize this, we'd just be so much better off for it. It's such an easy question. Like if you're having, there will never be elections or questions as easy as it is right now. And if you're genuinely stumbling on them, you're just like a fundamentally different thing politically.
And then you're gonna be drowning, and you're like, "Why'd you sting me?"
How much? So my confusion is
because
that
it's in my nature.
They don't really have true power. They never get political movements off the ground. Their candidates mostly fail unless they're in super safe districts. So if all that's true, but they are able to have massive audiences and are able to throw support behind moderate Dems, if they do, that's the big if, then why is it worse to include them? How much more are they harming than they're helping if they're not powerful enough to actually support it?
That could be politically effective.
So if Vox is willing to throw, behind Rokana, is that good or bad? And do we work on a Rokana event?
I don't care about Rokana. Rokana's on his own little island. Okay, that's like he's like a snowflake Dem. I'm just saying that in general. I'm just saying that in general. I'm just saying
willing to throw behind Pete Buttigieg.
100%. That'd be cool. That'd be great. But what I'm saying is that the way that these people work is they just overwhelmingly they hijack the Democratic Party's messaging, so we have to talk about shit that they care about, that the broader electorate doesn't care about, that overwhelmingly slants like younger, whiter, more affluent. And then even if they're not like, it's not like they're so powerful that they can win elections, because if they could, they would go and fucking have their own candidates in places instead of trying to leech off the Democrats. But just because you're not powerful enough to win your own races doesn't mean you can't dramatically negatively impact.
I agree,
the races
and I just realized a
socialistic
socialisty type of person that will throw in behind Dems and consistently does so. I think ContraPoints is a good example of a type of person who's probably more socialisty coded.
But this is the worst example you could ever give. Because ContraPoints would agree with every single thing I'm saying a billion times over. ContraPoints' entire online existence has been holy fuck. Leftists are fucking terrible. Excise them from your movements.
So is your line just agreeing that leftists are evil? Because that's fine. I agree with that. Okay, I have no problem with that line necessarily.
My line for the
but I don't know if
people that aren't going to ardently support your candidate in the
No
general.
way,
but ContraPoints is an example.
No
you asked for
fucking
a
way.
socialist content creator who would throw in behind the general. I'm saying ContraPoints is that type of person. So will we work with ContraPoints? My answer is obviously fucking yes.
Of course. Because she passes my simple test of will they support their candidate in general? Yes.
Okay. FD Signifier. He threw in hard behind Kamala. Do we work with FD Signifiers to fight the fact that he's actually, I think, an ML, if not further? I think he might be further than an ML. I'm not.
I would have to see if he actually threw in hardcore behind Kamala.
Sure.
I don't even know what that is.
A large content creator on the left, RedTuber.
Okay.
And I agree that there are very few ContraPoints, right? FD Signify might not count. But what I am saying is that it's really important that our tent captures the ContraPoints and doesn't chase them out. It's really,
That's
really
super
important.
easy to do. Yeah, but ContraPoints is an incredibly rare cupcake snowflake. Like, if you watch her Twitter and shit, it seems like most of the time she's just getting shit on or hated by other leftists.
Sure, but when you ask me for example of this.
No fucking way is this going to be the Trump presidential library. No fucking way.
No. That sucks.
Have y'all ever been to a presidential library? This is insane.
I have not, but that is grossly retarded.
This is huge.
Yeah.
Is it as disgusting, like very, what is the word? I'm just gonna pull up your stream. I can't think of the word. Gaudy look to it.
Just for comparison.
Wait, what?
This is what the Obama presidential library looks like. Okay? It's good. It's like a quarter of the height and size. All right? I've been to the Nixon presidential library. Okay?
If all this shit doesn't get tore down when the next president comes in, just absolutely fucking flattened, I will be very butthurt.
Oh, I missed the statue? Hang on. I was... Oh, holy shit, dude. Oh, that's how he had to justify it, by putting an entire 747 inside of it. Are you fucking serious? Every president gets a library.
Yeah, that's pretty normal.
And all the Christians are gonna go worship this idol. Holy shit.
How ironic.
Huh?
Huh?
You're a fucking idiot, dude. You're a fucking idiot. Why are people so fucking stupid? Yeah, Nixon. You got one too. Huh. Nice. Oof. Truth drop. Let's see. Where are you from? No. Where are you from? Nice. True, Daniel. Oh, I love it when this happens. See how many of these. Okay, Anita Brown. MAGA _ AJ Brown. Let's see if you're for real. Oh, Eagle as the profile picture. Uh-oh. Nope. In the United States, okay. This is a fun game. Let's see if this is real. Husband, father, grandpa extraordinaire. Okay. This could be real. Yep, based in the United States. He's just totally sucked in. Okay, let's see what else. This is fun. A Dem turned Republican due to idiots in politics and Hollywood. Count based in the United States. Nope, you just suck.
A based person. What? So based.
The Doge Dispatch. Oh, this is going to be sad if this is a real American. Uh-oh. Oh, it doesn't show where. Behind a VPN.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Good lord, dude. Bro mogged him. Oh, you suck. Look at you. You suck, dude. This is really cool to see swing in a Cat 5 hurricane. In this ugly ass building. Oh, he's so mad. Destroy globalism. You need to destroy the globalists. They're coming for you. Bro, these people all hate globalism, and then they wonder why their shit gets so expensive when you have an actual anti-free trade president.
I'm gonna
Like,
come.
why are you going? Thank you. Thank you.
Don't come.
Oh boy. The greatest traitor ever to hold that office, Obama. God, these people are just so full of shit. They just parrot whatever they're told. They have no clue. No clue. No clue whatsoever.
Type of creator, it took me a bit, but that would be one example of this type of person.
I
And
think
so
you
they
have to go that
That's
level.
true.
Because, like,
We of course
Destiny brought up earlier,
right?
like, okay,
Trigger.
someone who thinks that Kamala's position on
Obama.
You're an SJW.
I'm such an
When you
SJW.
fail to understand over and over again.
Okay, well, I failed. Please tell me. I'm sorry.
If you're
Too, it's
constantly
okay.
like, if you're screaming that a person is pro-genocide, pro-apartheid over and over and over again, you remove that person from the conversation of being able to actually support this person in general election. There's just most people just won't be on board with that. It's just not possible. That's you have to recognize that there's some your audience is never gonna be able to turn their nose and be like, oh fine, I guess I'll vote for the pro-genocide, pro-apartheid candidate.
No, I'm aware that that kind of rhetoric can absolutely turn a good chunk of your audience away. My question is how you think this is completely incongruent from that person saying, hey, like, if you think your entire audience is willing to accept everything you're saying about them, as nasty as you're being, but then completely ignoring you, and you say, look, I think this is abhorrent, however, obviously this is materially right, correct, moral thing to do, and you all need to go do it, and they're dick-sucking Kamala during the general, like, how are these things proposed? Like, these are things that I know the majority report did. Obviously Hassan and I don't know Vaj, like, those people won't, absolutely not. They've already signaled that they won't. They definitely didn't last time. But, like, there's people like me who can say, yeah, I think this is abhorrent. I didn't shit on Kamala nearly so much as some of these other people did. I didn't even have a platform at the time. But the idea that this is like, oh, and therefore, like, going out and throwing your material weight and telling your whole audience and mobilizing them to go door knock and canvas, like, that's not enough. Like, I don't want those people to be excised from the movement. They're clearly going to full throat support the people that I need to get elected when it comes to shove.
Yeah, the line definitely can't be
Bro.
totally anti-leftist, because I think a lot of like performative leftists that are soft leftists would be turned away from something like that we could otherwise like absolutely work with. Tilly is another. I know that Tilly's not American. Yeah. So like that's why I'm saying like, what are the rules of thumb? This is why I typically say like, I don't know, the policy that I feel like you can kind of somewhat test people on is, do you want to get rid of private property? Do you have another one that you would like to use instead as a rule of thumb? That's fine. But I don't think it can be you are vocally aggressively anti-leftist. I don't think that that's the line necessarily, right? Because then we're excluding Tilly's. We're excluding potentially slay the GOPs. Instagram has a lot more of these types of content creators that are going to be leftist coded because they're not that deep in their political philosophy and they're born in LA, but they're actually liberals that just don't really know it yet, essentially. And if you say I'm anti-leftist, you're going to lose them because they're going to be afraid of losing their audience.
Just real quick. Dev, you sent me this.
Yep.
Am I reading this wrong? Here, I'll show it on screen. Give me a second. And you sent me something too, Soypill, if you want me to still show that, we can. But here's FD Signifier, and he's basically saying he didn't campaign for Kamala.
Oh,
yeah, this is an exchange from a month ago where he's getting blasted by a far lefty for supporting
But
the
there
Dems. He's
keeps
like, no, I
some
didn't do
booty
that
thrusts on
Nope,
to
you're
the
just
Please
yeah.
link me to the video where I campaigned for Kamala Harris and
But that
low-key
guy,
throw slides.
yeah, he's also one of the people who wrote about it, but not about it.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this. The weird Drake obsession sounds like a you thing, and being mad about switching thumbnails is so petty it makes me mad that I responded to this. Crying face.
Then not FD Signifier, that's fine, right? But then we've got Tilly's, we've got ContraPoints, right? I especially suspect on Instagram, you're going to find a lot more of these kind of like, even like people like Naima's, for example. If we say we're anti-leftist, Naima would never join. But when you talk to Naima, she's pretty much a lib. Like, she's definitely not a communist.
I mean, like, I think
she's
this
just
is,
in
like,
LA.
these types of obsessive conversations, I think, are the reason why even as Republicans plummet, Democrats are like always just like fucked when it comes to popularity or approval. Because on the Democratic side, we're just constantly asking these questions of like, can we please bend and kowtow as much as possible to these people who fucking hate us and trash us constantly and shit on all of our candidates and call us pro-genocide, like all these horrible things over and over again. What can we do to appeal to these people? That's like what the Democratic Party is just
Yeah,
always
why?
so
Why do we
Because
care?
we constantly eat our own. Yes, it's because we constantly eat our own.
We don't.
Yes, it
They
is.
do.
No,
they do. The people on the far left do, and you want to keep including them. They're the ones who are eating your food constantly. Yes.
You're inviting Hannibal Lecter to the dinner table and wondering why everyone's getting eaten.
I agree. I have been swatted and doxxed and attacked by these far leftists just as
So
much
keep
as
them out.
probably more than almost anyone but Destiny. Probably more
Kick
than
them out.
Destiny on his channel. So you're preaching to the fucking choir when you're talking about like the problem with these type of people. The thing
So
that I'm
kick them
pointing out is what is tactically effective here. That's all I'm talking
It's
about.
not.
I don't think just
They don't help us
spite-driven
in any
lines
way. They
is
don't
effective.
vote.
We're not spite-driven.
I'm not
saying
They don't want power.
I'm saying it's not spite driven. It's that you need to have strong like.
Kyla usually has really good positions. Not on this, man.
liberal things that like liberal people, that people are advocating for. And that once you create them, you don't agree. You don't agree.
Yes, of course I fucking agree. What?
Okay,
all of my career is supporting you and supporting liberal content.
That's not what we're talking about. It's not just about you. I don't know. That has nothing to do with anything.
Here's the thing.
The most relevant thing in this conversation right now. What I'm saying is that if I want a leftist candidate, I can find leftist influencers that are big, bad, awesome leftists. They're shitting on all the Democrats, they're shitting on all the Republicans, and it feels good. You say all these people are on Instagram and TikTok. Of course they are, because they're allowed to be there and they're allowed to talk about how horrible the genocide is and everything else. But as liberals, you can't create those people to those spaces. You constantly have to run further left to deal with those people.
Yes,
and it becomes a self-perpetuating problem.
I am trying to
just
real quick,
I am trying to parse
quick.
out. Hold on. No, I'm making sure my position's clear so that it doesn't get like turned into something else. I am trying to parse out what will work most effectively. That is all I am trying to figure out here. I'm not actually
that's what I'm saying,
right now. I'm actually poking holes and questions into positions that are stronger so that I can decide for myself. Because I think, for example, one of the big issues that you're pointing to with the leftists is that they're eating our own. They're eating the liberals. They are constantly attacking it. And I think one of the big issues that liberals have is we don't support each other very much. I suspect right now that your audience right now is fucking shitting all over Niels and shitting all over me super nicely, despite the fact that we are literally aligned, right? And so this type of behavior, I think, is a leftist problem. And
I'm not shitting on you. In fact, we're saying you usually have good points and that you're surprisingly not
you're asking the right
on
question,
it right
and I don't
now.
disagree with your question, Erudite, is what is most tactically efficient? What should we be doing in order to win? The argument that I am making...
I shit on Soypill because of his stupid hat and his usually bad
takes.
takes.
Their followers, even some of the, like, some
Check
of
for a
them might work with
goatee
you,
as she
and you might be
replaced by
able
Star
to
Trek
have some of them vote for you.
Universe.
There's going to be negative externalities, or negative things will happen because you do that. They're going to hurt you more than help you. Let me fucking finish, okay? They are going to drive away other voters. That's more moderate voters, or centrally voters are going to see you appeal to these or working with these people,
but sometimes makes her
not going to want to work with
I think this is
because they know how they operate. There's going to be a lot of these people in their audiences that are going to come in that don't have the same morals as their streamer person that they're following, that are absolutely going to behave like the evil Hannibal Lecter leftists that we're talking about and just destroy any kind of sense of unity within whatever organization you're trying to make. And the argument is, hold on, just real quick, Kraut, and then we'll let Kraut go.
Do we work with Tilly's?
No,
go ahead.
She's not a leftist, but she's British. There's a British person.
Let's see. Awfully familiar. A few others from around the world. Oh no, bro. Nothing useful here. Nothing. You said nothing useful. That's where they are now. They've just been like relegated to making shit points, and everyone's tired of it. Like, it was fun for people in the beginning. Now everyone's just like, oh my god, I can't hold on to this. Now everyone's just like, dude, this is boring. It's played out. Nobody thinks you're funny. You're just annoying. Let's see. Are you an American? You are. That's even worse. Just memes. No real substance. Just memes. Look at that.
It's all memes, no substance.
It's all they have is memes. I think Soypill's mindset is MAGA are the greater threat, so he's willing to work with anyone that's anti-MAGA. He's trying to work with communists to defeat Nazis. Yeah, but the problem with that position is that they're trying to fuck us over too at the same time. So, like, what good is it working with them to defeat MAGA if they're also doing work against us? They hurt us as much as they help, which means in the net, it's not good. It doesn't help at all. The blue check rage post, okay. Normalization of apartment rents back to their pre-COVID trend line is an underreported story. Combo of stimulus, wealth effect, home offsetting, and desire to ditch roommate in 21 create a massive demand shock. Just the time to build a new supply. Yeah. Yeah.
I know. Use the example of Tilly, because I've given ContraPoints, I've given Tilly's. I don't know where Slay the GOP is exactly on Newsom, so I'd have to vet that one out. Naima might be an example. Do we work with these people who will identify as leftists and won't want to work with us if our position is doggedly anti-leftist?
I actually talk with a lot of leftists. I associate with some of them, and one thing that they all have in common, those at least that I associate with, is they all got chewed out and purely tested by Hassan Michael. So I think a great place to tactically start, if you're going to build bridges into the far left or into leftist corners or whatever the fuck you want to call them, good place to start is to go for those to engage with those who got purely tested and chewed out by that monstrous fucking abomination that's building up over there.
A lot of them went right, unfortunately.
The way to tell is, do they support the
candidate? Well, that's a MAGA tactic. That is a MAGA tactic that has worked perfectly since 2015. It's.
What are you doing?
Content.
No.
I'm here too. I'll play the game. I will. Okay, I will.
I want you to play some games.
I will. I got done. I did like the.
Who says Aurora should be playing Red Dead Redemption on the new rig I set up?
You like that's what people like.
I agree.
Saga and Kobo, they always go after the people who would shoot out by their own. So yeah, we go after the people who we build the bridges to the people who got shoot out by people like Asada.
I agree, but the issue is a lot of those people now have unfortunately like landed
apartment
on the right
owners.
in such a way that I think a lot of
because we didn't catch them.
I agree.
And then we're gonna, you know, like if they win, and then it's like 10 years from now, and nobody can afford an apartment, period. And they're still gonna be raging against them, but now they have no one to rage against. And we're stuck with another crazy populist Republican. I don't want to hear a peep out of these fucking retards.
Welcome.
Agree with you. I totally agree with you, right? I totally.
It doesn't mean that, yeah, like saying, oh yes, but this example, therefore let's not do this anymore. That's not exactly something that works.
Yeah. So what I would point out here, and all I would say here, is that if the line of thumb of who you do and don't work for is their vocality of being anti-leftist, I think it's not sophisticated. I'm just trying to parse out what's tactically effective, because I think you lose people like Naimas, like Enemy Charlie, who is a leftist.
Why do we keep repeating this point? I'm saying that you just don't support people that aren't like valiantly support the candidates in the general. That's it. It's not about
but these people might not. I suspect
then you don't have them on your team. Then they're cancer. You don't work with them.
What if they're critical of Gavin? Well, the issue is which candidate do they have to support right now? Ardently. What if they say What if they say something like, I of course will support Gavin Newsom? Say he wins, okay? It's Gavin Newsom for president, all right? That would be
they won't. They're not going to say that.
Vote for Gavin Newsom over.
I already see them trying to torpedo Swalwell because he takes APAC money. I'm already seeing it. They're gonna fuck us over in California. It's like they won't do it, Kyla. I'm sorry. You're living in a dream world, Kyla. You're tripping balls.
JD Vance, but they go, but I would have had
W Quick Farm.
Is that okay? Are they out too?
What do you think?
I would.
I'm with it.
No, what do you think my answer to that question? I mean, that's such a ridiculous question. If their position was, I would have supported somebody different, but I'll support them in the general. Obviously, this is the person included. This is not 99% of the people we're talking about, though.
Okay, but what if you have people right now that are further like this, that do become like this? Like, what if instead of Gavin Newsom winning, Pete Buttigieg wins, and so suddenly Sam Cedar is willing to throw in behind Pete Buttigieg? I'm not saying he will.
Sam would also throw behind Gavin. I'm pretty sure.
Sure. Regardless, do we work with them now, or do we not?
But here's I mean, okay, fine, and yes, Cryptic, that may be true, and all of that.
Oh.
But it doesn't fucking matter, because they don't understand lobbying anyway. They don't understand lobbying anyway. It's not you're taking AIPAC money so you support Israel. AIPAC gives you money because of your position. That's how lobbying works. They donate to your campaigns because you're already on their side. But they don't understand any of this. They don't understand any of this. Look, if he, I don't, that's not neighborhood. Like, you're probably right about that. That's not my point. Like, that's not the point that I'm trying to make here.
Because they've been so caustic, because they have.
No, we can wait and work with them in the general. If they want to support us in the general, we work with them in the general. But we're fundamentally misaligned in the primary, so support other content creators.
Well, okay, hold on, let me ask
what
you
if they're willing to vote for Gavin Newsom, but also vehemently critical of his connections to AIPAC? So they say, I would vote for him because he's better than fucking JD Vance.
But he's still a genocidal maniac.
More tongue-in-cheek, but he's still a genociding AIPACer. But of course I'm going to vote for him over a fascist. What if that's their position? Do we work with those
we can find, I think we can do better. I think we can do better than that.
Yeah, there are other lines. Like, even if they're willing to give lip service to our general candidate, if the whole time they're saying, you know, all these candidates are corporate shills who do not have your best interest at heart, that will just sell you out, that they're the Epstein class, they're the fucking, you know, they're AIPAC shills, all these things. No, we don't want you. We don't want to work with you. We want people who support us.
So that's where we probably disagree. It seems to me less tactically sound, because if they're willing to like work together but still be super critical of Gavin Newsom, I'm broadly still going to just be willing to work with them. Right? The people that I'm not going to.
It's not just being critical; it's how they're critical.
I don't know why we're playing. The word games here are really funny tonight. I don't know if this is intentional or not. Like, I don't understand you and Soypill keep this. If they're going to be critical, who the fuck is talking about being critical? We're talking about calling somebody a genocidal supporting Zionist freak. That's not being critical. It's being unhinged. There's like a different kind of like. There's not a single person.
Cryptic. I'm just saying, like, when it comes to, my point is that, like, they don't understand how a lot of these mechanisms work. My point is that they rail against, like, lobbying and all of this stuff. They don't understand how lobbying works. They're like, oh, he takes AIPAC money, as if him not taking AIPAC money means that, you know, or them taking AIPAC money means they're being paid to have a position on Israel. They have it all backwards. They just don't understand how lobbying works.
Here. And if there is, then fuck them. Whoever is saying this, I don't think anybody here is saying this, who's saying we can't accept people who are critical in the primaries of our candidates. I don't think a single person in here is saying that or has ever said that or will ever have that position.
When I
It's
say
whether you're being
critical,
unhinged
I
about a
mean,
person.
sure, when I say critical, I mean the level of nuance and sophistication that I expect from the majority of these, like, I'm a leftist because I don't know much more and I live in LA type creators. That's about what I expect. And I do expect them to call him
From
a
Sam
Democrat.
Cedar, from Emma Vichman,
I'm not talking about Sam Cedar anymore. I'm talking about people like Andy Farley and Nina and these types of creators. Like, they're going to be less informed.
Yeah,
they are
basically.
leftists, but they're leftists because they're in LA to some degree. And they
The
probably
problem with your
don't go
hypothetical, though, is that it doesn't really correlate with...
Not really. I mean, the way lobbying works is not, it's not like bribery. It's, there's a candidate who already aligns with your views and you donate money to them in order to help them boost their chances of getting elected. Like, how often do you see candidates like suddenly changing their views like that? It's pretty rare. True, Cryptic. I mean, there's not really that much more to it, to be honest with you. Lobbying is what's done when you're trying to get a person who supports what you support elected. They pay money into their campaigns. Not to mention the fact that most of the time, when lobbying money is going... What day of the week is it, and who's the person asking me the question? Not to mention, most of the time, like, when it's about time that lobbying money is getting pumped into a campaign, if you're changing your position on something at that point, like, it's going to be abundantly obvious that you're doing it. Like, Americans have this entirely warped view of how lobbying works. Because of populist rhetoric, because of Bernie Sanders, mostly because of Bernie Sanders. None of these motherfuckers are talking about the billions China and Qatar spend on U.S. universities or the CAR. Well, no, because they agree with them.
Reality, that's not what happened in the last election. It's not what happened.
That's the point.
But we didn't have these far left people come around and like, oh yes, Kamala is the, like, in the thing that you described, where they begrudgingly supportive of a candidate. That's not what they did.
I agree.
Like,
I agree because liberals
genocide Georgia, do not vote, third party, blah blah blah.
I agree with you entirely because I think that there was literally almost no media community social structure.
Oh, do you think it would have changed had liberals been like, but we really, really want you, please?
That's not what I'm advocating.
Yeah, no one's
for,
advocating
so,
for capitulating
no.
these people.
I'm not saying lick the boots of people who want to destroy America and hate Democrats and want to destroy it. I'm not saying that, obviously.
No, I'm not saying you're saying that.
Well, that would be the conclusion of that, right?
No, I don't think so.
What?
Bootlicker.
Please, Hassan, will you let us on? It's like, that's pathetic behavior. What I want mostly for liberals to do is support other liberals and rally around each other. The main thing that I want to make it clear is that we are a soft landing place for people who like call themselves leftists who do use things like
What do you
genocide
mean
or
with support other
because...
liberals?
What?
What do you mean? What do you mean with, like, this is like the third or fourth time I'm curious.
You mean the German dude, Kraut?
Ask, what do you mean with liberals then support liberals? What do you mean with that?
For example, engaging with one another positively in content, trying our best not to...
Wow! I can't believe that got auto-modded. Cryptic said, Kraut, he is Austrian. Unreal. Because Kraut is apparently a slur for German.
We are doing right now.
Try
to build
random memey things, but
these aren't memey things at all. I don't know why
we're
you
not
keep
critiquing each
producing
other
them.
liberalism right now. The question is whether
I don't... Yeah, but... Barcode, that doesn't inherently mean the money is dirty. Like you're never gonna see Planned Parenthood pumping lobbying money or any other group that has lobbyists. Like the oil lobby, you're not gonna see them pump lobbying money into somebody who's like pro green energy. Because it doesn't make sense. Because they're not gonna get them to change their mind. You're going to see them pump money into people who are already pro-fossil fuels because they want to help them get elected. Nobody else have a silent gen, greatest gen grandpa that used the term crowd a lot. Wow, it really does not like crowd. What? That's so fucking weird. That's so weird.
Good
People in
thing.
the movement that say they want to destroy the movement. This is not a critiquing of liberal
It is
policy.
a good
or
thing
liberal
that we are not
But
this sort
again,
of
I'm saying,
cohesive
what
thing.
the fuck does that mean?
Fuck you,
Well,
Daniel.
no, ardently support the candidate in general because they didn't get their way in the primary.
Sure. Okay, so
You
what?
don't need to be for something. You just need to not be on the other side. I mean, if you're not going to change the status quo for a lobbying group that, you know, has a certain agenda, then yeah, they'll probably back you. But the point that I'm making is that people have this idea that politicians support certain causes because of the lobbying money that they get, that they're like beholden to them, when realistically, the order of operations is more that because they're already supporting or in line with the status quo, they are pumping money into a campaign that will help them get elected because it's what they want. It's not usually like, it's rare, if at all, will you see them pump money into somebody in order to change their position on a particular topic. Oh my neighbor Rooney.
Oh no.
Neighbor Rooney.
Oh no.
You're gonna get me in trouble, dude.
Yes, yes. How dare you?
Delete that. What are you doing to me?
Getting back in there.
Called Dark Woke,
How
we say
dare
slurs now. True. Doesn't matter, Daniel. I'm not saying it. You can give me the pass all you want. You can give me the diamond permanent pass with fast pass, and I'm still not gonna say it. You give me 25% off all food in the park, and I'm still not gonna say it.
Do it.
No. You want me to say the N-word?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
It was just the right audio for it.
Oh.
Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
Do you think we would be better without lobbying? I don't know if it's as simple a question as that. I think in some cases yes, in some cases no. It's like hard. It's kind of hard to say in a blanket statement, because I do think you should be able to, like, as an organization, donate to political causes that advance the thing that you care about, right? Like, that's a form of free speech. But also, you know, there's certainly a there's certainly an advantage that certain groups will have simply by virtue of the amount of money that they possess versus other groups. I mean, like, if there were like some sort of cap, maybe, but I don't even know how you could do that like the right way. I just don't know. It's hard to answer that question.
I have officially fixed the stream, buddy. Okay, sorry. Anyways, back to what you were saying.
Nice. Also,
We are
it's
up and
no words will get you in
running.
trouble. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, like, maybe there should be some sort of cap. I feel like super PACs and stuff are a little sketchy. I would like better, more like clear disclosures on certain things about, you know, who's paying for an ad and stuff like that, just so you know. People against them because they're thinking just an Israel group. That's it. That's literally it. And then there's the conspiracy that AIPAC is making people actually support Israel, that otherwise they wouldn't support Israel, but they're dirty because they're only supporting Israel because they accept APAC money. There's an undercurrent of conspiracy there, which is like typical leftist slop thinking.
No, it's just so true. They're right for their concerns. No, I'm just kidding. That's cringe shit.
Yep. They're a pro-Israel pack. No, there's nothing wrong. No. Didn't think you were saying. You were just asking. Yep. Mostly Jewish American people. And it's just a pack for that that lobbying, that interest group. Just like there's packs for like all kinds of other interest groups. And you guys know this. I don't know why I'm saying it to you, but for the record, you know. There's a lot of bigger packs than a pack too. Right? Let's see. Yeah. I mean, it's not even like one of the top on this list, top 6. Not in the top 10. Okay. In 2022, it was the 4th largest. And in 24, it was the 5th largest. And that makes sense considering the current situation. But prior to that, they didn't even crack the top 10.
That's what a Jew would say.
Uh-huh.
No, I think it's all cringe.
It is. So number 5, number 4 in the last 2 cycles. How'd you know that? Number 1, National Association of Realtors. By the way,
Ooh.
I want us to look at these numbers here. Okay? Look at these numbers. Yeah, and in front of APAC, okay, the 4 largest, number 1, National Association of Realtors, Blue Cross Blue Shield, American Crystal Sugar, and National Beer Wholesalers Association, okay? And I want us to look at the amounts. Please, everybody take a good look at these fucking numbers.
Hot damn. It's the new pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah, the pharmaceutical industry was like a tiny little percentage. Now, super PACs. Let's see.
Cinderella.
Hey.
Oh my.
So we look at this money, right? And then let's look at super PAC money. Thanks for the follow, Gay Mouth Love. Wow. We support you.
Wow.
Alright.
Alright.
Hell yeah.
We all needed more of that.
Mm-hmm.
Just what we needed.
Let's see. Okay. Now let's take a look. All right. At super PAC donations. All right. So these are the PACs, right? A PAC donated a total of $2,572,500 in the 2024 election cycle to federal candidates. Okay? Okay. The biggest PAC, the National Association of Realtors, donated $3.751 million. Okay? The top 10 PACs in the 24 election cycle donated a total of $25,995,526. Okay, so I want us to keep this in mind. APAC donated about 2.6 million, a little less. Okay, a little less than 2.6 million. Meanwhile, the top individual contributors to super PACs, all right, Elon Musk, in the 24 election cycle, donated $290 million, 419,587. Okay? Do we understand the fucking gaping hole of differences here? Also, take a look at this. This is very interesting. Of the top 25, there wasn't a single person of these top 25 donors who did not donate to conservative groups. Out of these top 25, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 out of 25 gave no money to liberal groups. Okay? Just so we're clear about the differences in money between a group like APAC and super PACs. Also, here's another little tidbit. PACs tend to stick with incumbents. This is 24. I mean, look at this. And, yeah, it's about even. Look at this. Never Back Down Inc. I don't even know that. They didn't list that one. Why didn't they? What is that? Single candidate super PAC which supported Ron DeSantis. Okay, that's why. That's why. Because it was just for supporting Rhonda. And look, most of these are just half and half. About. And like just, yeah, the amounts of money are just minuscule. Like Elon Musk, okay? Let's look at that amount. Elon Musk alone, okay, in 2024, donated about 11.2 times than all of the top 10 PACs put together.
Be illegal.
We're not really debating so much Cinderella. I'm just putting on a bit of a clinic about lobbying and how lobbying is not like as big of an issue as people try to make it out to be. Individual contributors are putting so much more money into it than fucking PACs are. And APAC, which is the big boogeyman for the anti-Israel group, in 2024 donated a total of about 2.572 million. Okay? 2.572 million. We round 2.573. Elon Musk donated 291.5 million using SpaceX. Well, but that's just the nature of how elections are run now, Barcode. They're done in a way where you need money to pay for ads and shit like that. Yeah, I think it shouldn't. I think, you know, there should be some caps. There should be ways to make it without spending that much money, but isn't there real power in lasers? True. Why would they care about actual mega donors? As the saying goes, no Jews, no news. Well, Miriam Adelson's a Jew. They like to talk about her a lot. They don't like to talk about Soros, though. Isn't that funny? Like, I'm fine with Soros. Like, I think he's cool. I just think it's very funny how selective they are with which Jews. They're like, oh, she donated all this money and she's Jewish, so it must be because of Israel. But they'll never mention that about Soros. Which, by the way, he's not even like top 50. That's classified. Let's see where he is. Even on this list, he's got to be on this list, right? Nope. I mean, these numbers are like the gulf in these numbers is crazy. And nobody takes the 2 seconds to look this up. Well, Hungarians are fucking nuts because of Orban.
So dumb.
So dumb. Debate Soypill, message him on, so tell him about you on lobby and pack. Oh, yikes. Why does he think like there's a shit ton of money here? Why hasn't Destiny brought this up? Destiny, I've heard Destiny make this point before. I don't know if he's gone as granular about it as I have, but I've heard him make like this general point before. All eyes on Hungary.
About people who are not very sophisticated but do some level of political content, like Enemy Charlies and Naimas. What do we do with these leftists who probably do call Gavin Newsom a genocider because they live in LA and all their friends are doing that, but probably could be polled and probably would be willing to rally around and behind certain moderate Democrats? Do we work with them? That's what I'm trying to ask.
No.
What does that have to do with
Why?
liberals supporting liberals?
Why? Because you don't have to.
Well,
The right
I'm
never did
moving
this. The
away
right
from
never
the
ever had to think about questions like this. Like, do I bring somebody on who says they're not going to support Trump? Like, they didn't do this. They just don't work with those people, and they pick people who support the candidate.
Yeah, get on the team, right? If you want to be on the team, you can be on the team. We'll accept you, but you gotta come to us, right? Is that what?
Yeah, these people don't even have real political power in terms of they can't get any of their candidates elected. They don't go and win primaries anywhere outside of like the deepest, bluest, most Democrat prepared places. I don't understand why the conversation is capitulating to them. It should be them saying like, well, how much
They
we
have
saw
a lot of
Trump
social media power
to be
because
excluded
our
them.
politicians want to work with them, right? That's
Because
the reality.
we
that's
keep
a
accepting
mistake.
these people into our movements because nobody's doing anything to audit these people and because there's this weird acceptance on the left of having to work with tankies and shit. It's never happened on the right. They don't do
How's
that,
it
right?
How do you hold the Naimas towards the
I
liberal
just
side
got
effectively?
blocked.
I don't know. I don't care. I'd rather create more Mucklers and more Luke Beasleys and more Luke Beasleys people than try to figure out how to appease.
What?
Oh, I just got back into Rockstar, and it's just now starting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was it giving you problems?
I couldn't figure it out at first, and then I realized it was that. Found the right program that was after.
Gotcha.
Finishing up some other stuff.
Okay.
Thank you.
Fucking Rockstar launcher. Yep, barcode.
Or appeal to people that don't
I
seem to be
know.
supportive of the party.
Come on,
It's wasted energy. Like, look, I would
It's,
love
hold on,
people.
Erudite. I'll put it like this.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll tell you one thing I'm fucking livid about still, that in 2026, Rockstar and Take-Two are still making us, are not developing a PC version alongside the console version, when consoles are essentially just adapted PCs nowadays. It is unacceptable and such a clear money grab. And honestly, the fact of the matter is that the market is moving completely towards PC, and I think they're going to realize that that was a mistake. Yeah, people are going to buy it, but it's not going to be like the crazy console launch that they had with GTA 5, and they're going to realize that they could have made so much more money if they put it on PC as well. Yep. And now that like PS6 is like going to be crazy expensive, and Project Helix is going to be crazy expensive, like for some people who are PC gamers, that means you're paying like $1,000 maybe just to play one game. You fuck off, dude. I'm just going to wait for it to come out on PC. I don't care. I could do that. I won't have any shit spoiled for me. Like, I'll just enjoy the game when it comes out on PC. Like, PC gamers are gonna vote with their wallets. And console gamers, like, console cucks are living in the past. And, like, everyone's laughing at them. And they still think, for some reason, that it's a better experience when their consoles are literally just turning into PCs. Yeah. Which is crazy, because if they launch it for like the next Xbox and it's not on PC, when Microsoft is already like, we're trying to put everything on both Xbox and PC at the same time, like, what are you doing? This will, by the virtue of that, be the last time that there is a console exclusive that is across on both PlayStation and Xbox and not on PC, because of the way they're setting up that ecosystem. But it's like just it's so obviously greedy and blatantly greedy. And then Sony trying to like pull away from adapting their stuff over to PC, also greedy. And like over time, it's just gonna hurt them, because PlayStation, especially if it's more expensive, it doesn't have the same appeal as something like a Nintendo Switch. They just don't have the library. Let me tell you, they don't have the cards. They don't have the cards. They don't have them. It was one thing when they were competing with Xbox. Yeah, and the PS6 is going to be like $8, $9, maybe even $1,000 from what we're hearing. It was one thing when there was like the Xbox and the PS6 competing against each other. But now that the Xbox is basically becoming a PC, and Nintendo is like the only one with like exclusives that are like must-haves, that leaves Sony in a position where like they're gonna do PS3 mistakes all over again. They are not gonna have any real competition. They're gonna overprice everything, and they're not gonna provide really games that justify doing it. And it sucks because there's a couple games on PlayStation that I really want to play. Like, I really like the Horizon series, but like the way I see it now is just like, well, if these are their tactics, that's going to fuck them over in the market anyway, and they're just going to have to change their mind eventually, so I might as well wait. And everybody who's a PC gamer, which is now becoming the largest market, is probably also thinking the same thing. And so it's like they're shooting themselves in the foot. But anyway.
Okay. The neocons invited MAGA in, and then they got destroyed. The liberals shouldn't do the same with the far left.
None of this. No, I'm no longer talking about the far left. I think I don't know where. I'm not going to put words. My position has never been.
Liberals again? What?
I am talking about this space between somebody who is actually a tanky, who knows what they're talking about and means their positions, right? Like a Hassan or a Vosh, versus people who their politics aren't overly sophisticated. It's mostly a result of their culture. They happen to be probably an LA socialite, and so they're in this socialist progressive camp, and they probably identify as a leftist. I'm asking, what do we do with these people? Because I actually think that they have a lot of value.
If it's somebody that's not even strongly committed to anything, then fine. You do events with them, I guess, sure.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
wouldn't know any
I will
specific
disagree, and I'll
examples
say
of the
why.
person.
Right? I think that,
How's
like,
it
well, if they
playing,
want to
dude?
work with you, that's fair. I
God,
don't
I
think we
can't
should
hear it,
try to
though.
appeal to them.
You
I don't think we
can't?
should try to kind of reach out to them because I think that
And I'm really,
the
really
people who
bad
are
at it, so I don't know where to go.
Wait, you can't hear it.
No.
Are your headphones not connecting?
They are. You don't have to do that right now.
No,
okay?
I got you. It'll take me probably 2 seconds.
Okay, thanks. They're coming to get me. I'm definitely gonna die though.
Hit escape.
Don't even look.
Okay. Sorry guys, just 2 seconds. Right, sound. You hear that?
No.
You don't hear that?
No. Hands free? Stereo versus. Oh, wait.
Oh.
I can hear that they're on.
So you're not hearing it go like, bing bong.
Right.
Were you able to hear me when you were?
Yeah, but now I don't.
Can you
so-
hear this? No. Alright, try turning them off and on again. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta turn a fucker off and on again.
Basics. Just seems too stupid, but I guess.
Is it connected?
But it is on and connected. Ooh.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Do
you
you hear
can't
this?
do both at the same time, I'm
Are
pretty
you
sure.
hearing this? No? Okay. Are you still hearing that? No.
Took it. What the fuck? What's going on? It's probably just these.
Why don't you try like plugging them in to the computer directly?
Yeah, if I had the cable. No worries. It's good. The graphics are really good.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be able to hear it. You were able to hear me, right?
I might restart the whole
Wait,
story because
is it?
could be.
Yeah, you gotta do that.
It's okay. I got it.
I don't like it.
Don't hyper focus. The world misses you. It's really just these, I'm pretty sure. Better than nothing.
Okay. Can you hear it?
No.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on there.
I'll bring the plugins.
Yeah, we gotta get you some better headphones.
I have some. Thank you, by the way.
You have some?
Yeah. the
Oh,
plug-in
like the ones with the
Yeah.
microphones. Yeah,
Those
yeah,
are
yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah. True.
going to give us more
Good point.
value.
So
And what I mean by that is
soon.
votes, to be clear. Votes. I don't care about clicks on social media. I care about what, only in so
Glad
much
I
as it
got
translates
to
to actual
borrow
votes
you.
on election day, whether that be primary
What'd you say?
I'm glad I got to borrow you.
Yeah.
election day for my preferred primary candidate or in the general election. We reach out
Give
to people
Aurora a
who
mic.
have a
She has
history.
one, but if she
I got
turns it on, we get an echo.
Yeah, you don't.
So I have to do some audio magic at some point to stop from us like doubling up. But can you not hear her when she talks right now? Like, baby, say something.
So I have to say something or you'll give up on me?
Like, can you hear her?
I love that song.
If
Okay.
the video's not playing, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
of voting, right? Who have a history of
Just
participation.
We'll
who
be
are
working
gettable.
on it. These
And
are
we
just
do that
some
by sticking to
some
our liberal
pains
values. One of
to
the problems that
fix.
we have, and one of the reasons we look weak, is because we're constantly
No
trying to
playing
appeal to these people who
games.
aren't going to give us anything.
Where's this constant appeal I'm seeing? If anything, it seems like the opposite is happening, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, by the way, but like I'm not suggesting we appeal to these people. It doesn't seem like a lot of people are. The only thing I'm seeing is that people want to go on platforms that are big, that happen to be run by leftists, but they're not appealing to those leftist like policies. They're not
Okay,
trying to
you can
ship
go
them
on
out.
any
They are appealing to them because those leftists are controlling the conversations. That's why we just had a PV thing where 90% of the conversation was about Israel-Palestine.
Okay, fair enough.
And that's the thing that when people are watching it, that's a both sides issue. Like both sides are equally bad on Israel-Palestine, and the way forward.
Yeah,
is...
and so when Wick says, and this is something I'd agree with, when Wick says, if
that's
you partner with these people, if you're a politician, you're on that panel where it's on, and they're saying some unhinged shit, and they're like posting this with like all the clips of the song saying more unhinged shit, that probably will lose you more support with voters than it would gain from you working with a person like that. And that's why I'm like, yeah, that's probably bad. Versus, hey, this person said, I'm going to canvass for the general person. I'm not saying this has happened yet. Let's just say this is the case. I don't see any reason to reject that help.
Yeah, I guess. Just the examples we're giving up are things that have just never ever happened. So I'm not even trying to like evaluate these examples.
We just saw that PV is throwing out fucking help for the person in the general that they don't support. As sardonic as it might be, they generally care.
PV threw out a tweet for the other person that we did see that.
A tweet that was a call to the phone banking event that helps get them elected.
Okay.
That's good, right?
Okay. It's a magnitude question. You would understand this in any other circumstance, but for here we're pretending we don't.
Oh,
I don't know why you always accuse me of shit like that. Like it's like at worst I don't understand. I promise you, I'm not like purposely fucking like obfuscating this.
Before I forget, let me read some of these super chats so we don't have another incident. Okay. And then we'll
There we go. Super chats. Waking his fucking super chats. Ugh.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I prepared for a completely different kind of conversation.
I know.
This...
on in different.
No, it's fine. It's fun.
Are you also streaming on your
Me? No.
channel?
No.
Why?
But Destiny is Destiny is, I think.
Make money.
I keep telling him to co-stream these, but he never listens to me. Anyway, let me read.
I'll upload the VOD for sure.
Yeah, let me read some of these. Okay. Riz, what the fuck for 2 months? Tier 2 membership. Dev, Kraut, and Wick Heart. Thank you. $2 from Chris History 101 says Kraut. Will you review the new Ralph tape with PPP?
Oh God, no.
Nice.
No. Okay.
Have you actually kept up with Ralph, Kraut?
Yeah, he's in Mexico now, right?
Fingers crossed.
I think he got arrested in the States a couple weeks ago. He came back.
Okay. Yeah.
$5 from Zontar to say, tomorrow, can you guys do a stream watching the Artemis 2 launch? It'd be really cool seeing the first man lunar orbit mission in our lifetime.
Fuck that.
I don't know if anyone's going to do a stream on that. I'm probably not.
Oh, good.
$5 from Riz, what the fuck?
Then
Say,
me.
I've seen both of you get into usually ugly pile-ons
I'll
on
do
Twitter,
it.
and you both handle it really well. How do you deal with that without getting shook?
It's really fun.
What do you mean?
That's really it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
so when you're
okay.
fighting online.
Look, the thing is that this thing that people say, where they say that it's only online, it doesn't really bother people. That's not true. It does actually bother. It's just the extent to which you let it bother you, and over time it can build up. I mean, I guess in online fights like this, it's when you get dogfight in particular, it's always important to just take a step back and some fresh air before you respond to anything. Always important to do that. To think about it, it's even worth responding.
And just remember on the other side of the screen, everyone's a fat loser, and you're
no, that's not true. That's not true. That is not true either. That's actually not necessarily a healthy way to see this either.
So I think maybe like 5 years ago I would have agreed with you, Kraut, but something happened in the past couple of years where now I just really love all the fighting. Something changed in me, and I'm just like, yes,
I hate
let's
it. I
let's
hate
fight
it.
with everyone constantly.
Hopefully,
I hate it.
Hopefully, you guys don't get too much pushback from this panel. I worry about that sometimes. That people get a lot of hate for just talking about Hassan and talking about leftists in general.
There are many Hassan supporters, by the way, that are trying to dig through Kraut's old stuff to find videos of him with worse stuff.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Dude,
I'm just saying that's what that space does. That's what these like far left people
Well, yeah,
do.
like I criticized Hassan like yesterday. And my
Oh,
mentions
we
all
lost
day
Lama.
have been like, you fucking suck, Wick. You are the worst, right? And so anyway.
That's why we're doing this stream. I don't know how we got detracted into this. It's become genuinely uncomfortable to be a liberal creator online.
Yep.
I mean,
because
I think
of people like Hassan.
I think people like Hassan, but also I think like liberals do a bad job of supporting each other. Like I think liberals constantly don't feel like they have a space that they're allowed to occupy.
What do you mean with support? Like the thing
Really
about
simple.
this is
Okay,
we're
really
very
simple.
disconnected. I don't really often talk to Destiny and stuff, and I actually see this as a good thing. I don't like. I appreciate the fact that we're not like the MAGA social media sphere where some figure gives out marching orders on what should be said, and everyone is like "Jawohl, mein Führer" and goes out and spouts the same nonsense. I don't like that. I don't want this to be like
The
Hassan.
reason why it's hard to support liberals is because of the type of people we're talking about inviting into this thing. The reason why Hassan watched it's one of the big reasons why. Like Hassan doxed every.
What?
What time does she get her dinner?
After the stream,
Yeah.
I walk her. Yeah.
Every single person he put in PV because of their association with me. That was the only reason he did that. Hassan calls Dylan Burns a war tourist or jumps on and shits on fucking Lonerbox, who's literally been on an island for like 12 months of content. Like Hassan has almost single-handedly tried to destroy this guy's career because of any resemblance to being pro-Israel or being associated. Like that's what these people do. And then the
I
conversation.
agree. You don't have to explain leftist doxing to me. I've personally experienced it and working to it. What I'm talking about with like liberals supporting each other. Yes, I agree. The left is trying to destroy us is one of the biggest issues. Liberals always have it coming from both sides at all time, right? At all times. And so I agree with that. But I think one thing that liberals could do better to be proactive, rather than just being like, the fucking leftists are destroying us, is being more proactive at supporting each other. This is actually I think something that that Destiny you're uniquely good at, right? You allow anyone to come on your platform. You typically try to support smaller content creators, right? But like, I think it's really important, for example, that like in liberal spaces to have slightly soft landing places. Like me and Soypill disagree on certain stuff about like how to interact with things. I disagree with Josiah. I disagree with you. But we should like broadly try to do our best to like have criticisms for each other, but also have a decently soft landing place for one another and give a lot of grace to one another in a way that I see progressives will do with one another.
You mean that we have a corner where we check each other off? I don't necessarily see that's...
This is not, what you're talking about has nothing to do with soft landing places. You're talking about inviting people, like soft landing spaces are where you have areas to de-radicalize people who are more or less disavowed like the political ideology that they're coming from, or like are on the verge of doing it. You're talking about accepting people who see themselves as utilizing you to energize and supercharge their political ideology.
No, you're misunderstanding what I'm talking about right now. I understand why you're saying that. I'm not talking about, right now, just I'm not talking about like the socialists at all. I'm excluding them. I'm only talking about people actually who identify in the liberal camp or are in a liberal camp. And when I say soft landing place for liberals, I'm not talking about converts, but I understand why you're confused. I'm actually talking about other liberals. Like for example, I typically try to go out of my way all the time to give other liberal content creators as many opportunities as I possibly can to like get into other spaces. And when progressives on Instagram started thinking I was a progressive, I started getting a whole bunch of offers, and I very quickly to be like, oh, like, you know, like I'm not really. I got a lot of Gaza offers and stuff, and I'd be like, oh, respectfully, I'm probably not the person that you're looking for necessarily here. But on liberal spaces, I see us doing very little of this, right? We very little. Like Course is probably the best example that liberals have done, but it was very nepotistic. What, Kraut?
That's part of who we are. That's part of our principles. We like pure pluralism. We embrace pluralism. We're also disconnected. There is no such thing as a liberal community online. There's a liberal space because we embrace difference. We embrace doing things.
I agree. This is why we should be able to unify better. Like you should be going and engaging with Short Crowd Talk and just like promoting and like, retweeting and promoting some
maybe
of his
coming on
content
a panel together to talk about our issues with leftists in the space and others. Maybe something.
Well, but also like if you get hit with an opportunity from a candidate that you actually think another liberal content creator would be a better fit for or should be pulled along, see if the candidate will work with this other liberal content creator too, right? When you see, for example, when I see any liberal content creators' content, I try to like and retweet and like create a little bit more engagement for their content so that we can like win the culture war, right? So like maybe this is an inherent nature to like what liberals tend to be like, but at the same time, we should try to counterman it so that people want to stay in this space and we're supporting one another and we like build something because we're getting it from all sides all the time.
I think people do want to stay in this space, but the thing is also, how do I put it?
It's not other liberals that are driving them out.
Bro.
Do you mean in people staying in this space?
Dude, earlier said I could fucking sleep in here. Why is everybody fucking?
Yeah, like I said, I don't think to piggyback off Kraut. Maybe Kraut has a different answer. It's not liberals who are primarily driving others out of these spaces. Again, the reasons why it's sometimes hard to get people. If I have a show with Destiny, I have to make sure everyone knows that Destiny's going to be there because there's certain people who won't go on because they know that if they go on with Destiny, that they're gonna catch hell.
That's the thing that I've had experience for like the last 8 years of my life. Basically, every creator I publicly associated with instantly gets barraged with this guy used to be an anti-SJW YouTuber. You should not. Yeah, you should not. Like it's like that's true. Now that you're pointing this out,
and I think that's like the biggest issue.
We're not even purity testing ourselves. It's outsiders who come in who do not hold themselves to our fucking principles and then try to blackmail us on the basis of our principles.
I agree, and I think it's why in some ways we need to be a little bit more gentle with each other because we should recognize that we're like getting it so much from like one another. Like I just dominantly. Yes, like for example. What I don't know.
The problem is that we barely engage with each other, and I think that is a good
thing. That's the problem. It's like pluralism doesn't mean
antithetical
community. Yeah, this is maybe the problem, right? Pluralism should not imply anti-community. But what we kind of have for liberals right now is a bit of an anti-community. There isn't like this large community. Chorus was the best thing that we have, but like it's getting attacked by leftists again, right? But also it was like pretty nepotistic. There wasn't like the people that were involved in it are the people who were like already friends with a lot of these types of content creators. And I think that like this stuff has to pull together a little bit better if we're ever going to pull people towards our sides. For people who thought like Hawes, for example, like or Sonsol back in the day, they thought that they were leftists and socialists, and then they interfaced more with like liberals and stuff, and they're like, oh no, I'm definitely liberal, right? Like we need to be more effective at having this community space. Otherwise, nobody's ever going to rally behind each other because unfortunately, you need numbers to change and move things.
Okay, $5 real quick. Let me get through a few more of these.
The problem, like when I think of like online communities. Sorry, no, you do go ahead. It's your stream. Sorry.
No, you're fine. No, well, you're my guest, buddy. $10, 10 pounds, I should say. Sorry, 10 pounds from Riz. What the fuck to say? Recommend checking out Neil Kinnock if you don't know him. When our party was being taken over by these people, he famously said, "It's our party, damn it," and refused to let them win. I'm not sure about Neil Kinnock. I don't know him. Maybe you guys do.
He was the leader of the Labour Party during the Thatcher era.
Fair enough. Bogsy for $2 at Kraut. Read the old days. Do you still talk with a layman?
No.
Okay.
Oh, well, didn't he have cancer? Like he left for a long time, didn't he?
You're literally, I think you and Izzy are the only people from the old days. Okay, this is.
Wait, Kraut, can I ask you a question actually? Because you can speak to this better than anyone because I only have vague knowledge of German electoral politics. But like when they build coalitions to have the German word is mad majority in the parliament. Like, when was the last time they did like a Jamaica coalition with the Green Party, right? Like, when would they like work these progressive or even like not Didinka?
There was one in the state. There was a Jamaica in the state before it. There was a Jamaica coalition in the state.
And like some of these people's policies are principally anti-liberal or at least fucking stupid to the degree of like, hey, let's dismantle every nuclear power plant, let's institute like more communism. Like,
the Greens are some of the most based liberals in Germany right now. Their entire foreign policy is basically burn Moscow to the ground. The most based libs there are.
Okay, I got the impression that the Green had a little bit of a more delusional lefty take, but again, I trust you more.
Some of them, but they're really like ever since the Russians invaded Ukraine, they've become very based as a party.
Okay. Enough. $10 from Dirty Deeds to say, if not soy, then why does it increase my testosterone? I don't know. Thank you for $10. $2 subscribe from Patrick to say, subscribe to Kraut. I like the cut of his
want to fucking sign in.
5 gifted memberships from the same individual. Appreciated, sir.
Yeah.
$10 from Dasville Danya. If Soypill doesn't think Hassan
Fuck them
isn't a
for
big deal
that,
yet,
dude.
fine. Best
That's
time to
so
deal with it.
shitty.
It's better to deal with a problem early than let it grow too large. Do you want to respond to that?
I hate
That's mistaken.
Hassan
Obviously,
anymore.
I think Hassan's a big deal. He's one of the biggest voices. He's constantly shitting on the Democrats. I don't think that we shouldn't address like the insane things that he says to try to tear them down.
Or
So.
Nicaragua?
$5 from Patrick to say, I'm voting for Mills in the primary, but I'm voting for Plattner if he's a nominee. Collins has been my senator since I was 3 years old. He gives $5. $5 from Alishness to say, doesn't Hassan just say anything for views? No matter how bad it gets, he can just up and leave to any country. His level of detachment fuels his words.
Guatemala?
For now. I know some Polish people
One of
who actually
those.
like, they're like, basically they plan to do like a dossier of sorts. They want to like, they know members of the Polish Senate and they want to investigate if there's a possibility that Hassan could be banned from traveling to the European Union because of his continuous Russian propaganda. This guy shouldn't go on luxury holidays in fucking Italy anymore. If he praises an invasion of Europe, he shouldn't be fucking coming here. Fuck that guy.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's an extreme step.
It is an extreme step. I don't know if I agree with that, buddy. I think that's maybe a little too far.
No, I agree with that one. Fuck him. That sounds basic.
No,
Yes.
I think we
That's
should.
based.
Well, I understand.
Yes.
I don't like Hassan, but banning someone simply for having a different position than you do on a.
Don't just ban him. Throw him in the stocks.
$5 from Patrick to say, do want to shout out Soypill's old video on the good people on both sides.
Nice.
Great watch and level intellectual rigor. Really libs.
Don't NPM install anything right now.
Thank you. $5 from Real Determinatus. Soypill. These people are bad for us long term. The more we tolerate them, the more we are conflated, and the more votes we will lose. And
I don't disagree with their long term. Again, if this is what I was trying to get into Ask Wick, and it's like there are certain cases where you can show me it's like associating with these people is
holy
absolutely
shit.
more harmful than not, and I would 100% agree.
I
just
thought
don't
you
know if
were
that's always the
just
case, and I don't know
like
to what extent I should
clowning
use their
on
help if
the
they're really helping
LinkedIn
something that
signing.
So just to
I
respond to that
did
real
not
quick, I don't have
realize.
I'll just grant you that in certain cases it might turn out well, it might turn out positively. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't perfectly predict the future, but I know that in 9 out of 10 cases it's going to hurt us. So just because there's a
How do you know
1
that?
out of 10 because this has always happened before. Like I can put to you to the last few elections where I think we have done
Yeah.
less good than we should have.
NPM kind of always was a bit of a weak point in a
Because
sense
we've
if you could
appealed
get in
to these
there.
people, and I think I can.
But isn't part of the problem we didn't just appeal to them? We tried to pretend that we were like them, like we adopted their
no,
ideas.
You got the cart before the horse there. They like took on our labels, right? Like the label progressive, right? If you'd asked me 5, maybe 10 years ago, like, hey, Wick, are you a progressive? I would have been more likely to say yes. But since people like Hassan have absconded that label and have worn that label, even though they are not progressive, they are something else entirely. But they are seen as progressive. They say they're progressive. They act like they act like they are the progressive movement. I think that word has become like a cancer, right? Does that make sense?
True.
Yeah, but in many ways we also adopted a lot of their language. Like I think a lot of Democrats, for example, got extremely woke in their language and got extremely concerned
That's
with like
true, too.
much more like
Medicare.
intersectional stuff that wasn't really part of the liberal brand because it like felt good and they could like wear capes and be like, I'm actually for the people too, guys. Look at me, I'm a revolutionary. And I think that it was really damaging. Like for example, there's this
Yeah.
question of essentially like if we view this as like armies, is there an army that we can work alongside while fully recognizing the entire time
What the
that we will be
fuck?
diametrically opposed on a certain number of areas, despite the fact
Bro,
that we're
what
be
the
unified by common
fuck?
enemy like right now.
I
I think
think
that
we
like
bring it up because it's brain dead, not analogous, but that's literally what we did in World War II. It's like, yeah, as soon as this war's over, we're going to fight to the death with these people, but if we don't, then we're going to lose. But this is not analogous.
the
to it.
hell?
It's not.
Why would you use this sort of? Why would you view politics of war? The purpose of politics is not to be war.
Right, that's
I think it's
fine.
analogous to
These-
align like incentive structures. Like how do you mobilize people with aligned incentive structures while acknowledging? I think the issue that we had with like the left from 2016 to 2022 is that standard libs and Democrats pretended that they were much more like the MLs. They took on a lot of the language and had some others robbed, right? But they in many ways didn't excise, didn't go, actually, we're not quite like these people. Like you guys can fuck with us if you're for like helping us like further
Here it
like,
is right here.
antitrust policies. But we're not gonna fuck with you if you're like trying to just like fixate on like let's say extreme like non-binary gender absolutionism or any of this stuff. Like we're not really vibing with that shit.
And just to-
and I think that we sold out in that way. But the question is, can you at sometimes work with socialists who you understand you're disaligned with and not lose all of your values and principles in the first
Yeah,
place?
but the problem with that, as I was saying, like you're exactly correct. One of the problems that liberals and just the left in general has had is we feel a knee-jerk response to defend crazy people takes because they're on our side, right? We will see
do that.
someone getting called out by libs of TikTok or something, and they'll say, "Look at this liberal doing X, Y, and Z. Aren't they crazy?" And because people see, well, hey, that guy's on my team, I have to defend him now. They'll do this weird thing where they defend things that they should just not. And it's a in that way, it gets mixed into kind of like what a liberal is in a way that hurts us. Does that make sense?
in the way that moderates are like, oh, I don't want to fuck with that shit.
Yeah,
And it's like,
exactly.
most liberals aren't like this, right? Like, so this is to the point of, is there a way that liberals can stand on their own? And as we're like building this up, there are certain people that were socialist coded that we might need to work with that fundamentally will actually align with us. That's like the tactical question exclusively.
Okay.
Right? Are they sabotagers? Some of them will inevitably be, but some of them might just be like
Well,
converts. that
like
don't
I
realize
said,
it.
I do stand by my 9 out of 10 rule, right? Like, and I think that yes, you're right in certain cases, but 9 out of 10 times it's just going to be worse for us and it's going to hurt us. So we shouldn't. $5 from just Das.
I don't know if that's true though, right? Like, Lauren, somebody in your speaking of a super chat, just to give this
Okay,
some money.
not bad.
Somebody brought up Lauren P. So Lauren P has worked a little bit with Unfuck, which is not part of Unfuck. She's leftist coded, right? And she says that she's a leftist, but she's definitely a type of person that I wouldn't be surprised that if liberals were just a little bit more socially cool and a little bit like bigger in like the rhetoric game, that she would just basically be a liberal, right? I think that she broadly is gonna appeal to what she views as what the left dominantly holds. These are the type of people who chase away.
This is either Portugal or Brazil.
Socially cool means, are we just not cool enough? I guess I don't know.
Liberals? No, I wouldn't say liberals are very cool. No.
Republicans party harder than liberals. Look, I'm not the
probably Portugal, right?
I guess I just fundamentally don't understand that mindset of someone who just wants to be cool and will go along with that crowd. I understand it exists. It's just something I'm not.
Oh, I understand it. It's on the internet all the time. Yeah.
$5 from Das Vidania to say the Republicans made that deal with MAGA. That's what Soypill is saying when he says he'd work with Hassan to further his own aims.
No, they didn't. They actively opposed them, and then MAGA won in the primary and then took over the party. It wasn't like, oh, we'll work with you. They were adamantly anti-MAGA.
They immediately started working with him.
They won. Yeah, they won the primary, and it's like, well, okay, we're not going to like tank our whole election because Donald Trump is our candidate now. Like that's a different story. If Hassan is like promoting fucking tankies in the primary, like, yeah, we need to fight back. And at that point, if he fucking wins the Democratic primary, if people like that win, I think we're fucked, just like MAGA's fucked.
€5 from T-Jill to Soypill. How many times was Ukraine mentioned on the No Forever Wars panel? Next
not enough, which is why I really appreciate that Dylan was there and didn't completely write it off just because Hassan fucking tried to dox them and send his mob after him.
My worry is how they would be using Dylan.
NPM is like
I think they may
everything
try to
for
turn him into a token,
JS.
but I know that he won't be willing to be used in such a way, at least from what I know him to be like. So yeah, they might be disappointed. I wouldn't be surprised if they purge him in a few months, maybe even weeks.
I would bet that they wouldn't, but if I'm wrong, rub it in my face when it happens.
Fair enough.
Oh, I don't do that.
$10 from the chat
I was
box.
told by Erjude.
You're so true. I love that German guy. Like, it's just simply a matter of fact. I do not have to tell you twice. Like...
The chatterbox for $10 says, speaking as someone who loathes Hassan's entire sphere of orbiters as a far lefty, I appreciate Mike from PA being the thumbnail for this stream. I've never fallen out with a lefty influencer harder. I think we can all agree. Fuck that guy. I hate it. Well, anyway.
Hell yeah.
$5 from Lost Coyote. If your ideology requires you to kill all the bad people to achieve utopia, it's probably bad.
Just once. Just one little purge. Right?
One purge. $5 from Chatterbox. Question for Destiny.
What's this look like?
Is there room in a lefty coalition for good faith actors?
30s, 40s?
Like I try to be, or are we all awash?
Well, it just depends on how ardently they support the candidate in general.
Oh no, of course. God, I suck at these old ones.
Is anti-Semitism prevalent among the lefty tanky folks not disqualifying on its own? How could reasonable Democrats ever work
I feel
with
like you're close.
Sorry, Jews, you guys lost your lost cause. You should have got a better handle on Israel. Now we throw you to the fire as we try to save our country. Good luck.
It is something where
we survived the fires in the 40s. We'll do it again.
There was
Can't get rid of us.
there was an article written recently that I responded to because it was just horrific. It was like horrifically anti-Semitic. It was talking about how the title of the article was "Yes, All Jews." Okay, so just to give you an idea. Okay.
Wow.
No, it's not a Jew. But basically, it was purportedly a Jewish author and a Jewish anti-Zionist who just basically said that the Jews are entirely responsible, that her people as a whole were responsible, not just the ones in Israel, but all Jewish institutions everywhere. It was horrific, and that in order to be anti-Zionist, you couldn't just hate Israel; you have to cheer on Hamas for the miracle of October 7th. Just the most.
This is essentially Hassan's position, but there's nobody that will call it out. So that's just a fight that I don't give a fuck about anymore.
I think he's a little more careful about how he talks about Jews.
But that's a
barely.
Yeah,
barely.
So I criticize this, right, in a tweet. I quote tweet it and I criticize it, and I have people in my message saying, well, that's just anti-Zionism. That's not anti-Semitism.
Then the article started.
1920.
Yes, that's exactly. And so to the super chat point,
Nazi just
like
I'm wearing
the left, the far left especially, a vast majority of them would have fallen to this anti-Semitism. And I think if we care about anti-Semitism, and I do, that's one more reason, even if it might be politically effective in the short term. No, we don't want this cancer with us.
Do you think? Wait, I'm curious. Soypill, do you think it's fair to say that Hassan Piker's rhetoric is
Street.
Oh.
So wait till he undeafens, and then you can ask your question again.
You should ask him Hassan versus Mitt Romney. I'm so curious what he would say.
Spoiler alert, he's going to say, no, I think maybe Hassan is a little bit yikesy, but in general, I wouldn't necessarily say Hassan is anti-Semitic. He mainly focuses on anti-Israel stuff. He's going to say something like basically that.
No one cheat and type in his chat the answer there. I want to see. Oh,
I am curious the answer.
Go ahead.
Would you say that? Do you think Hassan Piker, is it fair to say that his rhetoric has crossed the threshold into like pretty big anti-Semitism?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
oh.
Okay, wait, Hassan Piker or Mitt Romney? Who are you voting for?
Who, me? Mitt Romney.
Oh.
Okay, $5 from Romney.
Hey, look, he invented Obamacare to an extent, you know.
Now everyone.
You don't have to justify it, Soypill. We agree.
L's in chat right now.
True. $5 from Romney for the two Canadians.
Wait, how does that? If you think Hassan's rhetoric is expressly anti-Semitic, then even further, how do you justify working with him?
Because the degree to which he perpetuates it is masked enough that I don't think it's the same type of shit that Nick Fuentes is doing. Even it's fucking horrible. It's like, all right, you can, like, every time you call him out for his anti-Semitism, there's a reason why his audience and anyone who is a useful idiot will come and be like, well, actually, I think he's just being a little, anti-Israel here. And don't get me wrong, this still spreads like actual real anti-Semitism. I'm sure to like the same kind of shit you see that Wick was just talking about.
I'm gonna say my prediction. Because
I literally
give you your flowers. You get it.
Than explicit anti-Semitism, it's more masked. Like, yeah, like I'm sorry. It's
so they just hide it.
I don't I don't even know if Hassan is masking. I'm not gonna lie. Every time I tune into that motherfucker stream,
Do you
which is
think,
not very often.
the anti-Semitism that Hassan does, which he absolutely does, I'm acknowledging that, is just as bad as Nick Fuentes'?
It's worse.
It's worse.
No,
it's worse.
And
I'll tell you why it's worse. No, I'll tell you why it's worse.
And we need to
I tell
kill
you
them
why
all.
it's worse.
What are you
No,
talking about? It's so obvious.
stop.
I have never heard. If you could find that, I've never heard Fuentes say that we should kill them all. That would be a position that's more
Literally, go to
likely.
the fucking, go to the speech where he's got the big screen behind him. And he's talking about we need to like go to war with the Jewish people. Like, what are you talking about?
You understand why it's worse. Even if Fuentes did say that, what Hassan is doing is worse because it's normalizing it and masking it, and it's much more insidious.
No, if you think that Nick
because
Fuentes
it gives people an excuse. It gives people an excuse.
No, please wait. No, this is insane. If you think that the
hold on, how many minorities you know that you say that you would hear say, I just wish they would just come out with it. It'd be much better if they just called me the N-word.
No,
I don't agree with
that's ridiculous.
No, I know it's much more when they mask
it. Do you think that Hassan's audience and like per capita is going to be more pro Holocausting the Jews than Nick Fuentes' audience?
They would use different words, but they'd be.
I think a lot.
No, one of these is so much worse. I don't care that they're both bad.
They would be more pro Holocausting it because for the neo-Nazi position is and has been Jews control all of our country. We want all the Jews out. They are in charge of things like rape replacement, etc., etc. But neo-Nazis never follow Jews to Israel. Hassan advocates for a project of the destruction of the state of Israel. He would support military action to do it. Much the same.
Hassan would say nuking Israel's base. This is terrible. It's fucking anti-Semitic. I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying it's so much fucking worse.
Go ahead, Kraut.
I do genuinely believe that a substantial amount of Hassan's audience are just. They would believe anything that he tells them. That like if he told them that the sky is yellow, they would believe it or something like that. I think a lot of his audience are also just lonely, horny housewives, if that makes sense. Like it's debatable to what extent.
This is so ridiculous. Okay, so Nick Fuentes is a neo-Nazi who says Jews have no place in civilization, and you're comparing this to Hassan, who is anti-Semitic, who is conflating Israel and Judaism, and is saying a bunch of horrible shit, and saying these things are.
Oh, I hope
worse
Hassan is watching this.
Oh,
I hope he's watching this.
They're both bad, but like
Hassan's the neo-Nazi anti-Semitism doesn't extend past the borders of your country. It's because Jews are interested in destroying whatever the fabric of your country through mass migration or whatever else. But Hassan's anti-Semitism comes from an anti-Western, anti-imperialist place that would follow them to the Middle East, where he would want them to be removed from Israel. That's why you're never going to hear from a neo-Nazi like go back to Brooklyn or whatever else, right? If anything, neo-Nazis would be happy if every Jew fucked off to Israel. Whereas Hassan wants the country of Israel to be destroyed. They think that they literally say it.
No, neo-Nazis are also anti-Israel.
No, they're anti-America working with Israel.
No, you're thinking of like Christian nationalists that are specifically looking at this, but they're so neo-Nazis.
I don't hear neo-Nazis talk. When you say anti-Israel, Israel, insofar as they exert influence over the United States or force the U.S. to get involved with wars. That's why they say like America first, not Israel first, because Israel thinks it's going to war with Iran.
Yeah, but they also want to kill all the Jews because of that. Like that's what I'm saying. But why does that matter? If they're like, well, oh, they want if the Jews left them alone, yeah, but they think that the Jews control everything and are evil. Like what is this distinction?
If we're not drawing a distinction there, then there's even less of a distinction between Hassan's perspective, which is that Zionism is inherently like a, what did he say on CNN, an ethno-religious supremacist nationalist project, like and 90% of Jews are Zionists, so he would call for the elimination of 90% of Jewish people. Like what did he say before? What was it, 2 days ago? He said they should all go back to the Russian Oblast for Jews, like way off in the east. Like
I don't know. Show me it. I'll grade it next to the Jews don't belong to Western civilization, and maybe they are.
Maybe midnight. So the statement I just said, right? So like Soypill's chat literally agrees with this, right? How is that wrong? That's true, right? So your chat even agrees with these.
What are they agreeing with?
That all Zionism is an ethno-supremacist, religious supremacist project, and that the state
isn't Zionism ethno-supremacist?
No, it's not. Only if your understanding of that is a child's notion of.
Well, you've read a lot more in Israel than I have.
Did he really just fucking say that? Bro, fuck you, Soypill.
I can't say.
No,
but
how is it saying
that...
it's not saying it's a supremacist is by ethnically protecting a country? It has to be an ethnically supremacist position. That you can't cash it out.
If you're an ethno state that purges all non-Jews out of your area and then treats them differently within your society, I would say that's kind of ethno-supremacist, yeah.
No, ethno-supremacist is different than protecting the ethnicity of a country, right?
Yeah, but in protecting it, you're expelling another peoples, and your explicit mission is to like get all the Gazans out of the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. This is ethno-supremacist and religion supremacist.
If I can't. If that's your perspective, then that's fine. They're just not.
Well, tell me why it's not. I mean, that's how it sounds to me.
It's not about one religion dominating another. It's about people feeling like they want to protect the ethnic group in their country. That's
but this is like, oh yeah, they don't want to expel black people. They just want to protect the white population, right? Like you can phrase it that way, but like it seems to me that this is prioritizing.
That doesn't make sense.
And Zionists want to expel the Gazans and the Palestinians, right? Like that's kind of the whole mission.
You don't have to expel black people in the United States. There's no reason for that. They're not a threat to the white people, so it wouldn't make sense in that sense. Whereas for the Middle East, Jewish people are a huge minority in the Middle East, so there's a different rationale for that.
Yeah, but now you're justifying it. But it's not true.
I'm just saying that the desire to protect the ethnicity comes from a different place than ethno-supremacy. It comes from a place of there's an ethnicity that a country wants to protect.
This is a distinction without a difference to me. If you're having a pro-ethno fucking position and expelling a bunch of people that are not of your ethnicity because it's not because I'm better than them, it's because they're dangerous to me.
We can have a
black people commit too much crime. That's the only reason.
We can have a Israel debate.
If there was ethnic Jews in Israel, but those ethnic Jews all flipped against Israel and were also like working with terrorist groups to attack Israeli civilians, do you think Israel would want them out in the same way that they want like Hamas out?
I don't think that disproves what we're saying.
Well, potentially in this case, right? They might be willing to like try to barter.
In the same way, you're a terrorist white that's willing to work with the minorities, and you've betrayed your country and your peoples. Like, yeah, but I don't think that means they're not ethno-supremacists.
Okay, we can have this Israel debate another day. $5.
Well, you have to establish a Jew.
Dude, shut up, Wick. Fuck. Why do you always do this?
By definition,
He's so annoying. Jesus. It's like debates are starting to get good. It's like, okay, we'll do this and we'll do this and that. Shut the fuck up, Wick. You're a mod. Your job is to sit there and let them debate, and if it gets out of control, calm them down. What a fucking loser.
What the fuck, dude? What do you think birthright is? That's what they're constantly trying to do.
Alright, we finally
Birthright is literally
have
exactly
problem
that.
solved.
Yeah, they want to
Hell
and
yeah.
they try to make them more culturally Jewish and more religiously Jewish. Like,
What is the
I
birthright
was
birthright
talking to
stand for?
Cinderella about
they want them to.
going in the politics server, getting a little jiggy with it.
Okay.
Just letting you know.
Go for it. I'm in the middle of watching this debate, but
Yeah, I figured.
next
Yeah.
time. Well, actually, next time I'll be covering the Artemis launch.
Heck and yeah. Not a
Um,
problem, man. Just figured I'd
but
let you know
possibly
what was
the
going
time
on.
after that. I think I'll be down.
Let's frickin' go.
Yeah.
Sweet. Awesome.
You guys have fun
We will.
though.
Sure
Alright.
can do. I'll definitely let you know how it goes.
Sounds good, buddy.
Sweet. Talk to you in a bit. Goodbye.
Bye.
Become more religious. That's like, dude, come on, like,
No,
you're
they want them to
Jewish
join the
slaves.
country. They don't
What
care
the
about the
fuck?
religion.
Yeah, not just join the
But they
country.
don't
They want
want
them indoctrinated
non-Jewish
into the culture and the fucking religion. They do this all the time.
This is a leftist
They
talking
literally,
point.
no,
It's
dude,
you're
Jesse,
talking about
please,
this
no,
example.
no, Jesse,
Judaism is
I'm
nothing
literally
to do with
Jewish. They
religion.
literally do this. They
It has nothing to do with
pay
religion.
people to go to synagogue in Israel and even here because they want them to become part of this Jewish cultural movement. This is just a thing. I'm not even saying this is a bad thing, but the idea they're not promoting the religion is ridiculous.
The point of
Of course
birthright is
they
to bring Jews back to Israel so that they can disrupt their demographic majority so that they can absorb more Arabs if they have to.
It is a
I'm
nationalist.
not
Just to
disagreeing
be
with
clear,
this.
it is a
This not
nationalist.
It's not about
order.
going to
This is
temple or
not
synagogue. Birthright is about
they
getting.
do that. They promote this as well as part of birthright. They literally promote religious teachings.
Okay.
This is true.
Hold on. You guys can debate this another day. $5 from Gronman for the two Canadians. So this is to Dev and to Erudite. Who do you think is more extreme, Hassan or Avi Lewis, the new head of the federal NDP, in terms of policy and how they act?
I don't know anything about Avi Lewis. I know that he's fighting with the Alberta people, but I don't know anything about Avi Lewis. I can't
60s?
answer this, sorry.
I mean, I know a little bit about him. Well, because to be honest, the NDP is just fucking irrelevant. Hassan is probably more irrelevant than anything happening to the NDP in total.
Yeah, he's probably a more existential threat to democracy than Avi. I would assume. I don't know who the. Yeah, I don't know anything about Avi.
€2 from Avi from Saxon to say Avi Lewis for the wind. Lex loves Wick? Question mark. I don't know if he does anymore, but. $5 from Real Determinatus to say Soypill. It is unironically better for you to sit on that money or donate directly to candidates than give it to PV. Hell, invest it. Anything but PV.
I'm not talking about like money. First of all, I do not have the money to like change elections. I'll donate like $20 to a candidate that I like. What I'm talking about is like, hey, a bunch of my audience is like, what do we do? What do we do? We're looking to you. And so when I see Destiny or Vosh do the shit where it's like, let's get all of you guys out here and try to flip this fucking seat that matters is going to help us get the Senate majority. I want to do that. And apparently there are other orgs that are not PV that are doing that. So I'll hop on there if they're the ones who aren't working with us on. So.
Okay. $20 from Oda Shara to say Soypill. Which group of creators and
fallen
political
off.
projects would do more advocacy for the Democrats in general? Progressive Victory or Digital Ground Game? There is your answer.
Sounds like
Yeah, like
$5
when
for
everything
Nazi,
starts
all those
getting
points.
really good, he's like, oh no, yeah, we
$100
do this another time, and they never do.
$10
Bro,
from Oda
Wick,
Shara.
you piss
Quote,
me
who cares if they
off,
want to vote,
dude.
end quote. You should care.
Let him
This type of rhetoric will
fucking
create
talk.
unenthusiastic
Let him
voters or
play,
third
damn
parties.
it.
There needs to be enthusiastic support for Democrats. I think we all agree there. $5 from Audacity says, I feel like I'm watching the dudes who don't shower accuse the dudes who don't wear deodorant of sneaking up the joint. And then $5 more from Audacity say, Hannibal wins though, Wick. Fair enough. $20 from Metalworks. After watching the mini combo FD Signifier has had with Sitch and Adam and watched vids of his basically promoting black socialist movements and associating assimilation in the US to promoting whiteness, I don't think he's with us. Okay.
Yeah, he's ridiculous.
$5 from Ovi. Erudite. What is working is exactly what Steven is doing with Adam Kissinger. We need the left to fight against evil.
What is he doing with Adam Kissinger? I don't know.
I don't know, but he just owned you. That guy just owned you for sure.
Yeah, because he's against me, even though we're
Yep.
basically
Yep.
aligned. Even though we're basically aligned.
His Dono called out your name, so you're owned.
$5
Deal for
from
me.
$5 from Straight Shot to say liberals cede Israel, tankies cede communal property. What the fuck are you talking about? This is an easy win. I guess if we liberals give up
What?
Israel, then they'll give up communal property.
Israel
That's
was promised
so
to liberals 2002, so we're not giving it
stupid.
up.
$10 from Naturius Stoa. I live in Los Angeles, and none of us normies think Newsom is a genocider. Most of the normies I know like him because he's standing up to Trump. That seems like a bigger factor to me.
Yep.
I guess this is reference to the enemy Charlie thing that you were saying earlier. Right?
Sure. It's just like there just is a lot of like socialist. I don't even want to speak for enemy Charlie because I don't know their exact specific positions. I don't know if they've ever talked about Gavin Newsom. They're just like I don't know. Just in LA, there are just a lot of these types of socialite people that are like socialist, Sampradine socialist types that can easily be moved in one direction or the other based on which.
Charlie took
Also,
some
I
time
think
to
Gavin
witness
Newsom is
it,
based,
but
and
she's on board.
I'm gonna call
Yeah,
cap
true.
on that tweet because every single person I knew in California fucking hated Gavin Newsom. So I'm calling super mega cap on that.
Did I
tweet.
get it?
I don't know
I
anyone in
think I
California.
did.
I was gonna say all the LA people I know hate Gavin Newsom, but maybe that's still a select crew of LA people.
Gavin gets a lot of shit for his like homeless policies and his inefficiency, but like he's
And just
he's
because he's
a
the
fight on
governor,
50,
so if there's anything you don't
Okay,
like
I'm
about
gonna
yeah, you
speed through
can
these.
take
so
all
we
of
can get back to-
California's bad stuff onto him too.
Yeah, I'm
so.
going to speed through these so we can get back to the discussion. $5 from Mr. Gene. Milground probably is going to move away from genocidal power-hungry people. That's just as bad as Republicans. $5 from Vishy.
You're too quick
One,
on
I'm
the
getting
draw,
into my mind
neighborhoody.
is if that ContraPoint's critiquing power quote applies to a creator, they're out of the coalition.
Oh.
3, huh?
Hell yeah. That one quote
Based.
destroyed like the
What was the
leftist
quote?
movement forever. It's they don't want power; they just want to endlessly critique power.
I don't know what I'm
which is
doing.
Usually true.
It was a good quote.
Yeah, the issue is
It's
there's
a
probably
slight
going to be a lot of
modification
leftists that
of-
agree with that we definitely don't want in the coalition. If I'm
Fair,
being-
but
a lot of
it's-
leftists also like to hate leftists, so.
No one.
It's a
hates
slight
leftists.
modification of they say firebomb a Walmart, but then don't.
Yeah, well, that was the kill shot tweet to their entire ideology. Okay, $5 from Tauntaun. Dev, I sent you an email about a commission. Please respond. You guys can do that.
Okay, sure. Yep.
$10 from Kid H regarding unsophisticated LA leftists. If you're convinced they can be won over, then win them over. Only then consider events with them. Regardless, your time would likely be better spent elsewhere.
I could get Charlie on board in 10 seconds. So
Do it.
It's just so not, it's just not a zero-sum game. It's like you can obviously just do both things. You can try to bolster liberal voices and invite like LA socialites to liberal events and collab with them. Like it's just obviously you can do both of these things. It's just obviously if I'm interfacing with somebody who is further and further left, my collabs with them are going to be increasingly caustic because we disagree about everything.
Okay, $10 from Dirty Deeds to say the answer is always very simple. Ask yourself if X creator explains a worldview and you are willing to fight and die to prevent what they want, they are not your friend. $10 from Niman Abedi. When is Unfuck America? When is Unfuck America going to make college chapters to challenge the Kirk Jugend and YDSA losers?
They already are. I'm pretty sure, right?
Don't know.
They're
trying to make college chapters.
These people are far more effective in organizing the groups than anything that left-wing or liberal people do, to be honest. Like, Dave and I probably remember some of the shit. Like, they're far more tight to organize in terms of, like, the groups they do. And it's literally, like, orders that people follow.
Well, yeah, you guys used to be part of, like, that kind of, like, scene, if you will. What did they do that liberals don't?
From what I remember,
From an organization perspective, yes.
We had a chat
That's
group
kind
where
of
something happened,
annoying.
basically came together to have our talking points that we would use prepared and ready.
Yep.
Marching orders, out we go.
$10 from Ben
There was
Riley.
like 20 of us in there, I think, at the height of it.
I mean,
Yeah.
if they get kicked out of the party, they may not vote for Dems. Also, progressivism developed as a critique of liberalism in the 1800s with two people, or with people like Teddy Roosevelt. And finally, $10 from the Shaggy Horse. Liberals have no motion right now. You guys are so culturally stagnant, stuck in millennial sadness. Culture has lapped you guys so badly, and instead of trying to improve, you guys lash out. Not cool.
Gotta say, Gen Z's culture is just stealing millennial culture and thinking it's theirs. Like the amount of like emo and punk, it's just true. Just look at the major social cultural movements of like fad and trends that Gen Z has made. Baggy pants.
Okay,
I don't know.
millennials are more
They love millennial
Dude,
shit.
the
They
way
love
this is
millennial
done,
missed a
it
bunch,
makes
Wick.
it
There's one
really
answer.
fucking
Oh, which one?
annoying
Yeah.
to actually.
There was one that was directed to
Draw it.
Erudite. It was directed to Erudite and I.
How am I supposed to do
Wasn't
that?
it the Avi one? There was one to
Nope.
me and you. It was about, okay. What was
It's a
it?
different one.
Do you remember it?
It was something about
Yeah,
Kraut
but how
being
am I
more
supposed to
Kraut
draw
than vice
it?
versa.
Hold on, I'm
Yeah,
looking.
duh.
Oh, I missed a couple, yeah. $5 from O.
You see?
Say anyone that likes One Piece and yells "but the genocide" every day to be excluded from the movement. Okay. $5 from Straight Shot. Can any of the panelists name an anti-Zionist that also happens to be a liberal?
Tony Judd.
I'm kind of an anti-Zionist, I think.
Oh,
But
probably-
it sounds like that's like a poison word now. Maybe I don't fully
Well, what
understand
does,
it.
like, I don't like anti-Zionist is a mask word in a lot of ways.
Well,
And,
Tony Chad was, sorry to correct myself, Tony Chad was more of a social democrat, but he was anti-Zionist.
That's
Democratic
weird.
liberal wing, I guess. I mean, you could take the position
Oh, that means it can be
nationalism is bad, and in
any.
particular the European liberal position
Gotcha.
that nationality should become a choice, that what nationality you are should be as simple as learning a language. And from that perspective, you can make an anti-Zionist liberal case, definitely. Yeah.
Boo Woomer says for $5, are liberals able to assert that people who immigrate to Western countries should assimilate to the culture of said country, language, beliefs, etc.?
Okay.
Yes, I think so.
Preferable.
To some level, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's just like what
For all the
everyone
ones that
means when
don't,
they
their
say
kids inevitably
assimilate
do.
is what a like a MAGA groiper means when they say
Oh.
assimilate, and what a like a left liberal means when they say assimilate. It's just like obviously not the same thing. So you're gonna get into
Yeah, and on that,
language
I have
issues
more
there.
in common with an illegal immigrant who doesn't speak English but came to California than I do with a fucking MAGA groiper in like Tennessee. So like, it depends on what level of assimilation we're looking for.
$5 from Ove. Can we get a collab and get Lauren Peretra and Monte Madre? I have faith that Kyla can bring them on our side. I don't know those people.
Lauren P is the unfuck girl that I was talking about before.
okay,
That's
okay.
kind of like LA, kind of yeah.
I don't know who Monte Madre is.
Not sure. Not familiar.
$5 from Granite Hard. Erudite keeps conflating any interaction with working with a creator on a political project. We interact with leftists by disagreeing with them.
I don't believe I've ever conflated these two things, but good luck to you in watching content.
Chavakia for $5. Question to the entire panel: do we all agree that the critique the far left makes against Gavin is bullshit and should be ignored regarding trans stuff?
Okay, sure.
He's
I'm
like
not sure. I don't
explicitly
know.
pro-trans in like several different ways and passed a bunch of pro-trans legislation. It was literally like ahead of the curve on LGBT issues than any other person in California. Not any other person, but for the most politicians. And the idea that
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
they
oh yeah, but he'll throw trans people
Oh,
in the
is
bus
this
because
because he went on a podcast with
He said
the...
trans women shouldn't be in sports. I'm pretty sure, which is like
Yeah.
true, obviously.
I don't even know if it's that. He said like there are questions
Hold
of
on, this is
fairness,
a
right?
good
Like-
example of why appealing to leftists is just a fool's errand. Because as soon as you say something that's off script, it doesn't matter what
Nobody,
you've done in the past. You're done.
respectfully, could you point to the person in this call that wants to appeal to leftists?
I'm saying it to the audience, who in my chat there are plenty of people who are disagreeing with me. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, no, I had a recent dust up with a very big left-wing VTuber named Niara who basically said the same thing. Because I'm not pro-trans women and women's sports, I was the same as someone who was far-right and wanted her detrans. And I'm like, this is fucking insane. This is the most retarded conversation I've ever had.
It was just like weirdly like privilege. Like it's just like it's either privilege or you're lying. Like you don't actually obviously mean that. Them. If you think about it for like 3 seconds.
$5 from Fancy Teeth. Why is this so hard? These people are saboteurs. Why are we helping them? True. $5 from Real Determinatus.
Wait, pause on that one. Wait, so like, if anyone's asking me like, hey, should we like capitulate to like a Hassan point, or like, should we prop up Hassan's movement? The answer is obviously fucking no, because I think it's insane and terrible and harmful, and there are saboteurs. The question is, should we let them help us if we think that would benefit us more? Not, are we propping them up?
Yes.
In what?
Correct. This is the question. This is the practical question. But we work with
way
them.
would we let them help us? Like I said, if they are willing to come and work with us, I think that's a different question than if they get together a political movement and say, we want liberal creators to come out and help us with this. I think those are two separate questions. Does that make sense?
Okay, probably in part depends on what they want help with.
Yeah,
if what they want help
These are
with is
fact-based
like,
conditions
yeah,
that I have to see.
it's always going to be policy. It's always going to be the question of like, well, what are we doing?
But
right?
again,
If you want me to
rule of
support
thumb
your
still
leftist candidate, no. If you want me to support a Democrat against a Republican every single time, yes, of course.
But the rule of thumb here still stands for me is that 9 times out of 10, it's going to go badly for you.
I'm gonna source somehow. Like,
how? What do you mean? I don't really
because
understand that.
You being seen working with these people is going to be so cancerous. It's like they have a stench, and that's going to rub off on you, and you have to take that.
I feel like moderates are so much more like they're just like less animal-like as an audience. Like I feel like if I spent a lot of time with progressives, and like leftists, but I'm like sufficiently pushing back more or less on all the things that we disagree on or whatever, I don't think anyone would be like, oh, I mean, I like that Kyla girl, but like she talks to FD Signifier. I think as long as it's like, yeah, I mean, I disagree with FD Signifier on significant enough things, right? The real question is, do we help them in like political campaigning in areas where they're like robbing and stealing us of our culture, and do we let them take our language, and more importantly, do we take on their language? And the answer obviously has to be no. Liberals should have a backbone and a culture and a community and stand by it and defend one another and protect each other and support each other and blah 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 blah.
I don't think so. I think a lot of moderates are turned off when we work with leftists and things like that. I think that a lot of them will just abandon us if they do that.
Really? I feel like they'll abandon us if we say.
No, but that is.
They'll abandon us if we say gender doesn't exist and we should abolish gender. But I don't think they'd abandon us if we like.
And that's capitulating to a leftist narrative. That's not working with a leftist. And to be fair, if you're leaving my movement because I'm working with someone who I don't agree with, who says I'm supporting you, then you don't support my movement. And
I'm not even sure about that. Like I've embraced like the pronoun thing entirely on my channel, in my community.
Not even.
I don't see liberals. I don't. Well, yeah.
Okay, I'm not talking liberal. Okay, I'm talking moderates and center right.
I've completely adopted that because there are a significant number of what is the word, genderqueer and trans people in my community, and to make them more comfortable, I said, yeah, fine, I'll adopt this for you. I didn't see all the liberals running away.
Well,
it's like such a minor fucking thing.
Moderates and liberals are two separate groups to me.
Yeah.
I think that there's some overlap.
Conceding to that thing, people didn't run away.
They're kind of fall under the same. Like a liberal could, depending on how you're defining it, could extend all the way to like neocons, obviously.
Wait, I'm gonna be aggro now. Wick. I need to ask Wick. To what degree are you willing to work with people who will drop your entire movement because of some stupid lefty cultural bullshit? Tolly,
I'm not.
For
I'm
example,
not.
Where it's like, oh, you're gonna vote for fucking Trump because you got annoyed by the wokes. Like, this is also someone where it's like, okay, you clearly don't give a shit about these like movements. You don't give a shit.
Yes, and I don't think I'd invite. I would if Tolly invited. Like, I wouldn't work with her on like a political project to collaborate.
Like a podcast that you host about.
But I would have her on my show.
Wait. I just want to say real quick. Wait. Because Soypill, you're very good at like you speak very honestly without realizing how honest you're being. Every single time you were challenging my position earlier, you kept saying like somebody that was like slightly critical or somebody like, oh, I guess the sun does some bad things. Like your words are very like couched. But for here, you actually just restated my position perfectly, in which I could have answered you perfectly. You said, would you work with Talia or whatever? This is that one. Is she that Jew girl who hates fucking trans people?
Yes.
You said, would you work with her if she wasn't willing to support your candidate? No, that was so easy. But you perfectly, with absolute clarity stated my position there. It's interesting that you could state it so clearly there with regards to her, but seem to obfuscate or soften the language when it ever had to do with anybody else. That was very interesting.
And if Tolly is willing to raise money for my candidate, if Tolly's willing to promote a candidate that I support, then I would work with her. That's the point. The instant Hassan,
again,
clearly
when we say work with, if we mean have her on the show, talk with her, yes. If we mean work with, as in put together like a coalition, right, to kind of like.
Yeah, obviously. That's what everyone means, obviously.
Yeah.
Soypill, also to your earlier thing, the pronouns in my bio are a joke. It's
I'm not actually shitting on you for it. It's fine.
No, like you know who Viktor Orban is, right? The Prime Minister of Hungary, the right-wing one. So he frequently goes to CPAC in the US, and they give speeches in English where he tells you Americans that he saved Hungary from gender pronouns. Hungarian is a gender-neutral language. There are no gender pronouns in Hungarian. That's the joke. There's only the pronouns that's it. Like it's literally a grift. He's saving Hungary from something that doesn't exist. So that's why when you find Hungarian libs and left-wingers on social media, they often put the pronouns in their bio to make fun of that fact, because he would never give that speech in Hungarian because it wouldn't make sense.
Sure.
That's basically that.
Here's the one that you wanted to answer. I found it, Mr. Dev. This is from Shuo. Kyla once implied Trudeau was as bad as Trump and equally corrupt.
No, I didn't.
As Canadians, do Dev and Kyla both believe that? Would they have voted Trudeau over PP?
So would I have voted for Trump over
Trudeau? Over
no.
PP.
Of course not. I mean,
PP was the conservative leader, actually.
Okay.
No, obviously not.
Fair enough.
The fuck?
Well, see, Trudeau was really fucking corrupt, though. Trudeau was not a great.
Thank you. Every American that gets so twisted about one joke that I made to an ailing old man, which is I love black people. What's his name? Peterson? Jesse. Yeah. Is so obnoxious because every Canadian will tell you Trudeau's super, super corrupt. A lot of Canadians don't like Trudeau. Typically, I voted NDP actually, so you're welcome.
Yeah, there was a lot of.
The last guy I voted for.
There were several high-profile scandals in Canada. There was the We Charity scandal, the SNC Lavalin scandal.
Huge.
Yes. Oh my God.
Fucking mind-blowing, huge.
Canadian
Which is
stuff.
why when fucking Americans are like, I made one joke where I was like, oh man, it's tough between Trump and Trudeau. It's not actually Trump tough. Obviously, it's still Trudeau. But Trudeau sucks. That's the joke. Welcome to the joke. Trudeau sucks and Canadians don't like him.
What Trudeau did in the SNC Lavalin scandal is Trump-like. And
it is. It was horrifying. But nobody knows this. Nobody cares.
And then also, it was a few months ago, I think, the Canadian Supreme Court ruled that the emergency powers Trudeau used during the trucker protest was unconstitutional. Like, Trudeau was a terrible prime minister.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that liberals in Canada are terrible, but he was just uniquely bad for the Liberal Party.
Fair enough.
He just had his reputation saved by Trump.
$2 for the One Hero HQ to say Wick is right. We should just prefer you to say it. Okay, well, thank you for that. Appreciate you. $5 from Real Determinatus to say Soypill will unironically support the second worst person on a topic by virtue of them not being the #1 worst person on a topic.
Support them? I think that's doing a lot of heavy lifting there for support.
$5 from Autoshara to say Soypill, yes or no? Channeling his inner peace.
Yes.
If the
Oh, wait,
Jews
is there a
became
question?
the minority because all of Israel was taken over, do you think there would be a second Holocaust?
Oh, yeah, probably. I mean, they're surrounded by people that want to kill them.
Tectonic for $10.
Wait, how can you be anti-Zionist? How does that make sense?
Because Zionism is like, well, Jews need a homeland, and it has to be in the specific place that's going to cause constant war and turmoil, and I don't know if I support that. I think that, yeah, there should be a place that Jews call their home, given the fact that they're kicked out of fucking everywhere, and there's anti-Semitism everywhere. But the idea that the only solution to this is to establish this historical homeland that is never, ever going to be solved, it is constantly going to be having war, fought back and forth, and killing millions and millions of people, I just think is ridiculous. I think this is a stupid religious dogmatic.
Wait, where should they go then?
They should just spread out to other countries.
PP, he'll always rise to the occasion.
Zionism is that the diaspora is constantly genocided against, which is why they want this, right? Because Jews
give them Manhattan Island, give them Brooklyn. Do a Native American thing. Give them a fucking reservation in America somewhere. I don't know. Like the idea that it has to be in Israel. Make him answer.
You're advocating for the full ethnic cleansing of Jews from Israel, right?
No.
Just say yes.
No, because obviously this can't work anyway. We're already in too deep at this point.
Just say it. By the way, the position
I don't want the full ethnic cleansing of Jews from Israel.
This is what I mean when I say leftists have a more anti-Semitic position than that would cash out into a more anti-Semitic position than neo-Nazis do. What do you mean you don't? You just said you want them to flee Israel and go to all other places on the planet. That's an ethnic cleansing from Israel.
Clarify. Obviously, this is not available now. They've been established there for 80 years. Okay, now I don't know what the fuck you do. It is. If you snap my fingers and teleport Israel, like lift it up like a big island and drop it next to fucking Manhattan, I would. And that would be ethnic cleansing. But they don't really need to travel into Libya and Egypt and all this shit. But like, no, I don't want to like expel them. I don't think we should kick them off their land. Obviously, there's too established. This is like saying like, yeah, I don't support the genocide and the expelling of Native Americans. But guess what? It's been fucking like 400 years. I don't know how you rectify this at that point. You need to find a way to like, I don't know how to fucking solve Israel-Palestine. But no, obviously, what I mean is the project of Zionism to establish it in Israel and the way that they did this, I think was destructive as fuck. I think it's led to all these problems. I think they should have chosen something different at the time. And so the idea,
when you're saying anti-Zionist, as in you don't want them to be the majority in their country anymore. So then what is that?
Is that what anti-Zionism is? I'm not saying that they can't be the majority, unless being the majority in their country.
Zionism is where you have a Jewish majority in Israel because it's an ethno-protected majority. Yeah, so
if the way that you are establishing this ethnic majority is that you expel minorities and like steal their land and kill people, yeah, then I'm anti that.
So
they've already done that.
Realistically,
wait, because nobody ever has to answer this question on level. They say they're anti-Zionist. I know why, but I'm just curious. Like, so what is the solution then? It's the ethnic cleansing of Jews from Israel.
Is the so the argument the dichotomy between first of all the idea that I can solve Israel Palestine is ridiculous because I'm fucking retarded. But second of all, if you're asking me the dichotomy between what they're doing in the West Bank and Gaza and not doing that, I think there's probably a better thing to do. And just because I don't know exactly what they should do doesn't mean I'm anti-Jew or anti-fucking like.
I never said you're anti-Jew. I'm just saying this is why I hate that the whole leftist people have decided to purity test on this one issue because the position is totally untenable. No, I'm not saying you are, but all the other people that you listen to or that are on the far left that purity test on this position. Like when somebody says they're anti-Zionist, I just don't know what that means. What does it actually?
I'm anti-Israel's project of ethnically cleansing Gazans right now.
Project.
I
hate, bro. Whenever they call it a project, it's such a weird little dog whistle.
Just real quick, hold on. If they stopped in Gaza today, stopped in the West Bank, but still kept their ratios for how many ethnic Jews are in the country versus how many other ethnicities are in the country, you'd be okay with that?
How do they enforce their ethnic ratios?
By only letting in ethnic Jews and expelling, if it goes above a certain amount, the other.
And if I say I'm not okay with this, does that mean I'm pro-Israel being ethnically cleansed because
well,
there's
because the thing you have to contend with is that on a realistic level, that's what would help.
If it's freshly established
people from West Hollywood,
freshly 18 people.
Okay, wait. To be fair, like I know that was a meme, but do you actually like when is ethnic cleansing justified? Like Chinese Exclusion Act type stuff, or oh we can only have this ratio of like this type of people in this country. Is it ever justified?
Yeah, probably is.
It's never. It's never justified.
The reason why it's hard to have this conversation as an American is because we get to take our ethnicity or national identity for granted because we're never threatened by anybody because we have way too many fucking people. So it's not a question for us. But if we had countries to the north, if Canada had 10 billion people and Mexico had 30 billion people, we would be having questions about what the American ethnicity is and how we need to protect it all the time. But we don't. We don't have that many immigrants.
But I wouldn't support that. I would say, look, if it turns out that we just get a bunch of Canadians and Mexicans and this transforms our
country,
every single
person in Canada, every single person in Mexico is a Nazi, and we live in the United States of America, and we have 300 million people. Let's say that 500 million Nazis from Canada wanted to immigrate into the United States. You would accept that unquestionably. You wouldn't have
I wouldn't promote an ethnic cleansing. No, I wouldn't. And yeah, I think we have a far different problem if you have an ideology.
Oh, we do love Scarecrow.
Democracy and coming in like.
But do you not know where the freshly 18 meme comes from? Because it doesn't come from Scarecrow.
You're
Wait,
sounding
okay,
like
well,
the
you
fucking
just
people
made me
talking about.
talk
No, no,
Wait,
no.
no,
You're talking
I
like the
know you're
people
gonna
talking
wait,
about.
wait,
Okay,
wait,
Muslims
wait,
want to destroy the
wait,
democracy.
wait,
Muslims want to destroy the democracy. So we should ethnically cleanse Muslims
We
from
don't,
Europe.
we
Is that
don't
what
have
you're
that many
saying?
Muslims coming here. It's not how
There's millions, but
No,
there's millions
there's
of them.
hang on. See if I can find it. Pretty niche meme from within Tiny's community, but what was the name? Super Mega, that's right. Trying to find it. Where is it? Lex, right? Okay. Oh, there was an update recently. Okay. Um. Trying to find it. Fuck. Supposed to be
named
around
Don,
here.
who was since like 2017, maybe 2 years total. It was pretty scattered, but he's a Twitter artist like I was since like Super Mega, and Don, who was
Oh, there's a link. Okay.
realized that it was too late to do anything, like, for me, to help myself. I hope what I'm saying is making sense. I don't know. Maybe talking about it will make me feel less alone. Try not to joke about it too much because I don't think because it feels like complete. You may, I don't know. I'm all of a sudden do too much here. I talk like see that. By the time I did realize that it was too late, I think that inspired me. It went out that and a half. But if you have else that you didn't.
Okay. Says 52.
Maybe I've been talking about it will make me feel less alone.
No. Okay, let's see.
It's like I met him when we weren't dating in 2018, the same time I met Matt and Ryan in November of 2021. Like G Fuel Lounge, and that night was when I met Rav. I met him while babysitting Matt, basically. Here's a picture with them. I posted a cute picture and being like, you see her and Rav essentially become his like babysitters because
I don't know why I can't find it. Well, I'm not going to spend too much more time on it. Basically, she uses the phrase freshly 18 and it just became a meme in Tiny's community. 432?
to know someone, like, I feel like I'm a pretty direct person, and aside from what this situation is like turned me into,
It's not about Tiny's personal life at all. It has literally nothing to do with him. It was other drama that he was watching and it just turned into a meme. Anyway, I just like don't care at this point. So.
We have 330 million strong. Millions is nothing to us. We're 330 million.
Should Germany ethically cleanse Muslims or like a population of 80 million? Well, okay, but you said it's justified.
No, hold on, let
80
Destiny
million
go.
people. There's 14 million Syrian refugees coming in,
It's such a
right?
worthless position. You can't even engage critically with the position. We are not. If there were 10 billion Muslims to the north that wanted to destroy democracy in America and 500 million wanted to immigrate, I think I would have some questions about that. I think most reasonable people would. We don't have to worry about that. There are 7 million Jews in Israel in a region surrounded by a billion Arab/Muslims. They do have another question about that. A lot of these Arab majority states literally have their ethnic identity protected in their constitution, but they just don't deal with it much because there's not a billion Chinese people trying to immigrate to fucking Pakistan. You
Well,
can
they
be
do know
against
that
that.
they just-
Wait, no. Okay. You can be against it, but it doesn't matter that you're against
Yeah,
it. Doesn't
it's
matter
like
the doesn't cash out
the
anything.
law
They don't
prevents.
enforce the ethnic majority of fucking
Hold on,
Afghanistan or
hold on, no,
fucking Pakistan
Soypill.
or Iran or Iraq.
Soypill. The law prevents rich people and poor people alike from stealing a loaf of bread, right? That law's obviously going to only affect the poor people in a realistic sense. What you have to engage with and what anti-Zionists have to engage with, and they're, I'm not asking you to solve Israel-Palestine, but if these protections for the ethno-state, and it is an ethno-state, of Israel went away, they would be under massive threat. It would.
Right, and if you're giving me the trolley problem of either support ethnic cleansing or your country is taken over by neo-Nazis, like, yeah, I guess, but like I don't know how you map this onto reality when there are potentially infinite solutions in between those of making a project that doesn't involve ethnic cleansing that solves this, and going to extreme hypotheticals of, yeah, if there were 10 billion Nazis in Canada and they're all coming in, well, yeah, obviously I don't want Nazis in my fucking country. This would suck. But the idea that like, okay, therefore you support ethnic cleansing, it's like this isn't what we're talking about necessarily. We're talking about specific situations that. Okay, go ahead.
You're saying support extreme hypotheticals, like Hamas is not an organization that was supported by Hezbollah, that lived to the north of Israel, that was supported by Iran, that was basically the largest player in the region, that was tangentially, peripherally supported by the Houthis. You're like hypothetically, like I can never even imagine this to be the case. But this is like the reality.
The hypothetical is either you ethnically cleanse or you die.
Oh, I get it.
No, the
that's the hypothetical you gave me, right? Either ethnically cleanse.
Why are you restating it? Why are you just filibustering? The hypothetical was, do you protect the ethnic majority of your country, or do you become an ethnic minority and then die? That's the hypothetical.
Okay,
but that's the reality for Israel.
Logic, should Germany expel all the Syrians?
How many Syrians are
like
in
10
Germany?
to 14 million. And an 8 million.
That's a million.
14
million. Wasn't it 10 to 14 million?
Wasn't it like 14 million people that all left Syria? Like the entire Syrian diaspora was 14 million
maybe I'm
people?
mixing up the numbers. Let's say it's a
Wow,
million in Germany and a population of 80 million.
Typical leftist tactic.
No, I was just wrong. I'm admitting that. I got the numbers mixed up. If it's a million and 80 million, should they start ethnically cleansing them if more and more people are coming and they're subverting the culture?
No, it won't get to that point because those countries protect their immigration. They don't accept that many people, so they don't get to that point.
And typically people assimilate.
But it's either direction.
We're not
Right.
concerned about Muslims coming to
But
America.
that's the point, is that it's not a dichotomy between ethnic cleansing and death.
Yes, no, I agree, because they protect their
It is for
immigration.
but it is for
Israel.
Israel.
Time. Yes.
That's the dichotomy, because for the one-staters, for all the lefties now that are pro-Palestinian, they want Israel to be a single state that accepts every single Palestinian as an Israeli citizen, and then all of the diaspora Palestinians as Israeli citizens, so that the Jewish people will be like 30% of the population there.
And then they will vote to have a theocracy that will likely want to.
It will wipe them out.
So walk me through this then.
They will
I
want to
oppose Israel's ethnic cleansing. I acknowledge that there is a world in which the population gets to a point where Israel would, the Jews in Israel would be ethnically cleansed by the population that hates them that they allowed in. That both of these things are potentially completely plausible, right? Why is it bad for me to oppose the ethnic cleansing if I believe there could be, even if I can't give you the solutions, ways to get around this that are not, let's just keep ethnically cleansing people and supporting ethno supremacy?
If you have a better solution, I'm all ears.
Well, the issue is that people seem to be hardcore against the Zionist project, so you call yourself an anti-Zionist. But then, on the flip side of that, if the anti-Zionists were to have it their way, you'd probably see, my guess is, another like mass expulsion, if not a genocide, then at least some kind of mass ethnic cleansing of the Israel state. But I don't think any of the pro-Palestinian people are not going to stand up and say anything about that. So they're basically just like expelled from their country.
Sure, but this is why it's frustrating, because the Project of Zionism said, we're going to establish this country here, and it caused
I hate
effects that are now putting us in this position.
The Zionist project is such dog
We're
whistle.
between a rock and a hard place. And I'm saying, this fucking position sucks. I hate that you are now making me choose between ethnic
Between
cleansing
Iraq
and death of every Jew
and a
and
hard
ethnic cleansing
place.
of Israel
Yep,
and all the Jews
yep,
of Israel.
yep.
And therefore I oppose the project that established it this way in such a way that would give us all these problems. Like,
no one is saying, when you say you're anti-Zionist, that doesn't mean you oppose the project. That means that you oppose the state of Israel today.
but I still do because of the way they're doing it. Like, it's like, yeah, I don't think this is like, okay, is the solution just forever we're going to be this, ethnically cleansing thing and we'll never ever not be
Hopefully
at war with everyone around us?
I don't know what the solution is today, but when lefties say that they oppose Israel with their chest. They want to defund it. Maybe they want military action for regime change there. That's their type of opposition. But if Arabs were to become the majority in the state of Israel and then were to start massively expelling Jewish people, I don't think lefties would have shit to say about it.
I also have a problem with ethnic cleansing if Arabs are the Jews. So
that's fine, but
it seems as if the Zionist project right now, though, is specifically and hinging on, correct me if I'm wrong, ethnic cleansing, right?
That the what?
The Zionist project necessitates ethnic cleansing right now. It cannot exist without them continuously ethnically cleansing people.
It depends on if you consider the existence of Palestinians in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip ethnically cleansing. Technically, it depends right now on an indefinite occupation of the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. But
occupation, ethnic cleansing, kicking people out based on their race.
Not kicking people out, but keeping them in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip.
Okay.
There's 2 million Arabs that live in Israel proper, that aren't in the West Bank or the Gaza Strip.
Yeah.
That they're not getting kicked out of Israel.
Okay, gang.
So Bill, can I ask you one last question? If the people wanting to come into your country or like have political power in your country all want to kill you, and if you don't want those people around, is that supremacist?
If you're doing it on a race-based, like, discrimination thing, like, yeah, like, yes, but no.
Bro.
If you're just like, hey, well, I don't know, do we ideologically
What if
test
all of
people
the
coming
dominant
in?
ethnic groups wanting to move in want to kill you, so you don't want any of those dominant
No,
ethnic
he's just kind of an idiot who's been sucked in by
hypothetical
leftist points
yes,
of,
because by necessity,
like,
your
far
race is the
leftist
one that doesn't want to kill your race, and your race is better, but not in the same way that it's like, I think white people are superior to black people.
Wait, you deciding that your race is better is not them being supremacists. That's kind of you being supremacist, right?
No, but yeah, if you think every other race is awful and they all want to kill me, I'm the good one, then like it just by necessity is supremacist, right?
Dev, what did you want? William? Oh, he muted himself.
I don't even recall anymore, man.
No, sorry. Okay, we are gonna wrap this up a little soon because I gotta eat and do
Oh no, I got it now. I got it now. Right, okay. Kraut, I think you know more about this than me, so just fill me in.
Nobody cares about
was
you,
there a
Wick.
project in the Soviet Union to make like an alternate Israel in the far east of Russia?
Oh yeah, that was a failure.
Project to make them. You mean a place where they were all like shoot off to? That they all left as soon as the Iron Curtain fell? I mean,
Sure.
Yeah, probably.
$5.
No, I recall that they set up like
the thing. You mean the thing
some-
that we talked about a year ago? Sir? Because
Maybe.
the thing that I did was like anti-Semitism in communist regimes, and most of what I studied was like Czechoslovakia and Poland, and East
Right,
Germany.
right.
Okay, let me
No,
get
no,
this
no.
last
What I
one.
recall is in the very far east of Russia, they set up like a specific oblast.
That was,
they
like,
said,
that was like the early Stalinist period, sort of Stalin's answer to like Israel existing, I guess. But like in most communist regimes, like in East Germany, communist party members who argued that Jews should receive reparations and that Holocaust survivors should be welcomed back, they were put on show trials for Zionism and shot.
Oh,
wow.
So,
yeah. Let me read the last couple super chats and we're gonna end. I love you all. $5 from Mamba Cloud. Say Stephen points out how Mills is supposed to support the Platner if she loses. That's how the leftists poison our candidates with a smear of genocide. And then $5 from Snardigan. Is rising populism generally due to institutional failures or an easily deceived public or both? I'm tired of seeing a crumbling and incompetent left. But gang,
both.
thank you for being here. I appreciate all of you for coming out. Last words from everyone. We're just gonna go around. We're gonna let Kraut go first and let Destiny go last. Kraut,
wait,
last
I'm going
words.
first because I love all of you very much.
Okay,
I need to
I
fall
love
asleep
you.
and talk.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining. I'm sorry we're all being
Same
so far. I love you. Okay, be careful.
Kraut, go ahead.
Yeah, same. Have a nice day. Thank you for having me on. Maybe in the future again. Bye bye.
Yeah, hope
Okay,
so.
nice to meet you.
Yeah. Soypill, last words.
Yeah, we spent 3 hours infighting. I think we could have done like a whole panel on how to like organize against like ICE and No Kings and Trump
or perhaps
and
a
it
debate
feels.
on that on Wednesday, right?
Yeah, God, I hope I have the energy for it.
Is there another
I
debate?
bet
Back
you're
up just in case
upset,
my brain will explode.
Soypill.
Yeah, this just feels like it's like I agree with like 90 to 99% of the criticisms of the left, and it's like okay, and now the little Israel thing at the end, but it just feels so fruitless. Like how much time? What do we accomplish here? Who are we excising? Is anything going to happen? Have we found a way to effectively excise, even if we agreed on it? Probably not. So why not spend this time, or majority of this time, actually fighting against the people who are fucking me over every single day, unlike the Hassans who do fuck me over, but luckily don't have nearly so much power to do. So that's all I'm saying.
I get like it's just this like isolated demands of productivity. If I have a debate on how bad Trump is, how much am I actually doing? I don't know, right?
Well, you're not
But it's
debating
helpful to
MAGA
talk
about how bad
helpful
Trump
to get
is.
these
It's how
ideas
can we
out,
effectively fight
right?
back against it.
Like,
That's
but
what
we never
matters.
ask these of those conversations, but we're always asking it of conversations about Hassan. It's just like an isolated demand for productivity, and it's like okay. But anyway, thanks for being here, Soypill. Appreciate you hopping on.
Love you, baby. Bye.
Dev, last words.
Wow, it's just us. Everyone just left.
Us.
They all said it in peace.
Well, it's been like 4 hours, man.
Yeah, it has been. Yeah.
Long
No,
time.
I came prepared for a different kind of conversation, but I mean, it is what it is.
We
This
went,
shit happens
we went
sometimes.
off in different directions, I guess.
Yeah, because this was supposed to be something along the lines of, less about Hassan or recent drama specifically, and more about why the far left is a parasite on democracy, which is a more general thing. And it kind of got like pushed into Hassan because Kraut really doesn't like Hassan or really doesn't like Bada Banana, and then everyone started showing up. I don't even know how Destiny showed up. Did he just like DM you? Was like, let me on.
Well, he jumped backstage, so I did tell
Okay.
him what we were going to talk about. So yeah.
Oh, all right.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, there are a few interesting things that we should have got to that we didn't get to, unfortunately.
Well, luckily, we have
just didn't
other
happen.
opportunities, I'm sure. So, but
Yeah,
thanks.
I guess that's true. I guess that's true.
We will get Kraut back on. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had fun. I know it was a little long and it's late for him, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I'll DM him.
I mean, Kraut is kind of cut from the same cloth as I am, is that we're both primarily video essayists and not debaters.
Yeah, but he seemed to want to get it off his chest, right? Which he did. So.
Yeah, but there's like, I guess when I was taking notes, while listening to, at least at the start of everything, like, I was wondering, how much is the fascist friend-enemy distinction, how much is that related to when you have socialists that have different moral standards from the oppressed group?
I think that's about it, guys. All the interesting people left. I'm going to end it there. All right, guys. It's been fun. Wednesday, as of right now, I'm planning to start the stream, not doing an early stream, but starting the stream at 3 p.m. Pacific, because the Artemis 2 launch is planned for around 3:26. So make sure you guys get right on in right as soon as you see that. So I'm running. Make sure you all get in right when you see my notification, because the launch won't be very soon after that. Really excited, guys. First time humans are going back to orbit the moon. And then, of course, hopefully, if all goes well, in another year or two, probably landing on the moon again. So, very exciting. Can't wait, guys. Until then, everybody have a beautiful time. Bye-bye.